What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 10 hectoseconds chapter 196 Kageyama Shigeo is also known as a passerby and a dragon sleeve. His appearance is unremarkable and his physique is very weak. But he has extremely powerful superpowers. Note that his superpower is not just an ability, but an omnipotent superpower, collectively referred to as psionic power. Through walls, teleportation, mind reading, King Kong is not bad. Only what you can't think of, nothing that Kageyama Shigeo can't do. He is so powerful, but he has no sense of existence in reality. His personality is gentle and honest, innocent and enthusiastic, and even a little cowardly. When he was young, he lost consciousness due to the violence of the punks and caused a superpower accident, which caused his younger brother to be injured. Kageyama Shigeo sensed that his own ability was an unusually dangerous existence, and since then he has had a psychological shadow on the use of superpowers. Gradually unconsciously suppress his feelings and refrain from using superpowers as he pleases. When the emotional depression accumulates to the limit of 100%, extremely powerful superpowers will burst out, which can be called an invincible existence. Shigeo Kageyama didn't like his superpowers, so he found a mentor who changed his life and asked questions about superpowers. His life mentor is called Lingguan Xinlong. Lingguan Xinlong seems to be using dragon sleeves on the surface, but in fact he is very concerned about dragon sleeves in life. Always give pertinent advice and encouragement. When the dragon sleeve is confused, he also points out the direction for the dragon sleeve. Although some words are verbal, but to a certain extent, they are indeed the life mentors of the legend. Senju Chongsheng took a deep breath and selected the Wukong who claimed to be my grandson on the chat group record and changed his nickname. Ding! Monkey King was changed nickname by the group owner, Monkey King. Ding! Monkey King was changed nickname by the group owner, Kakarot. Tony Stark. I finally changed my name, and it looks a lot more comfortable now. Kakarot. Huh? Who is the owner? Actually no, my name is Kakarot. Ha ha ha. Kakarot. But I prefer to call it Monkey King, Monkey King. Ha 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 ha. My grandson likes this group leader, my grandson is the Monkey King. Monkey King. Who is the leader of the group? Why haven't I heard that Heavenly Court has this name? Is it a new god? Senju Chongsheng. I am the leader of the group, but I am not a god. You can read the group announcement. Monkey King. Go 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 go. My grandson sees you as pleasing to your eyes, so let's see your so-called group announcement. It is actually very easy to tame a monkey, that is to praise him. Senju Chongsheng gave Sun Monkey the title of Chishin Great Sage, which is a recognition of him, so Wukong is very happy. When you feel better, you will naturally be obedient. Sha Jiju Shiyu. At Tony Stark, Mr. Tony, please come and help me see how this is going to be the next step, I really don't understand. Picture. Sha Jiju Shiyu sent Zhang Shaoqing's technical drawings, the dense lines and values, and the group members were dazzled. It can be vaguely seen from the shape that this is the drawing of the Common Rider Drive, or the Golden Drive of Emperor Qi. Everyone is a chat group, naturally there is no need to hide it. And if someone can understand it, that's a good thing. Senju Chongsheng. Aren't you in Tony's world, why do you have to ask online? Shajichu Shiyu. No, Mr. Tony ran to Kamatage to learn magic, so I also returned to my own world. Tony Stark. I'm very sorry, I don't have time to think about it now, my mind is full of magic, and I feel that the end of science is magic. Sakamoto. I seem to understand a little bit, if I want to, I can help. Suddenly, the rookie Sakamoto took the initiative to speak out, attracting the attention of the group members. This is a black technology blueprint, even beyond the black technology, can a newcomer understand it? Edward Newgate. The newcomer can understand the drawings, isn't he also a black technology boss? True Angle Dagu. Manyashi. Good fellow, can my drive be cracked so easily by you guys? Tony Stark. Can newcomers understand? Congratulations, welcome to join the Black Technology Park. Shajichu Shiyu. Huh? Can you really understand it, then you can help me see it. Sakamoto, who was in high school, pushed down his glasses, his whole body seemed to be shrouded in light, which caused the girls to exclaim. Sakamoto. I'll take a look first, and I'll get back to you then. In fact, he can only understand part of it, but as a super student, he only needs to study a few more times to fully understand it. After entering the state of study and research, the light on Sokka himself finally dissipated, and he changed back to the ordinary high school student. Monkey King. Hey, my old grandson is back, and I watched your battle scene by the way. I didn't expect that your strength is not bad. Limru Pest. Ahahaha, so, BB Dong. Look at Limru for fun. Ains Ul Christine. I want to be called Mr. Immortal, not the owner of the group. Monkey King. Almost, Mr. Immortal, right? I wonder if you can come over and do my grandson a favor? Doryashi. You're really welcome when you come up and ask for it. Saitama. Did the newcomer encounter any difficulties? Monkey King chuckled. It's not a big deal, but my grandson was crushed by a mountain and couldn't get up. He wanted Mr. Immortal to come and help me move. Yun Yun. A mountain? I heard that you are also very strong, why can't you move a mountain? Yifan. It's not an ordinary mountain. The mountain pressing on Sundasheng is the Buddha's five-finger mountain. Monkey King. Hey, your kid knows quite a lot. That's right, I just want Mr. Immortal to help me open the five-finger mountain of Lao Buddha. I have been suppressed for more than 300 years, but it is uncomfortable. Izumi Sagiri. 300 years. So pitiful, aren't you hungry? Monkey King. Hey, it's okay, my grandson doesn't need to eat anything, nothing will happen, just a little thirsty, and very boring. Shajichu Shiyu. Is there anything different about Wujishan? Kakarot. Is it a mountain like a finger, or I will go over, I can blow it with one punch. Rin Tosaka. Oh my god, are you all gods? Saitama. I seem to be fine too. Beatrice. Please remove the seam. Wuluki. What kind of group is this? I'm going to make up for the rest, and I'm starting to be stupid. Zhang Jue. Ha ha ha, you are wrong about this. Zhang Jue. Wujishan is sealed by Buddhism, and even immortals can hardly move it, especially this Wujishan is the method of the Buddha. Zhang Jue. Even if it is as powerful as the Monkey King, it was suppressed by the Buddha with the palm of the hand. You must be able to break this mountain by yourself? Monkey King. Ba ba ba. That's my grandson's carelessness, there is no flash, if I do it again, my grandson will definitely call the Buddha grandfather. Izumi Sagiri. Wow, it's too powerful to be suppressed with a palm. I'm afraid that only Mr. Immortal can beat the opponent, right? Yasuo. It seems that in Monkey King's world, the power system is even more terrifying. I hope I can have the opportunity to experience it in the past. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 197 Open the Mountain, Heavenly Buddhism is coming. Sitting at home, Senju Chongsheng touched his chin. It has been suppressed for more than 300 years, and it seems that there is still a long time before the Western sky learns the scriptures. In the original journey to the West, Monkey King was suppressed for more than 600 years. To rescue Monkey King from the Five Elements Mountain, that is, the Five-Finger Yamanaka, you only need to open the seal. Of course, with Senju Chongsheng's current strength, it is also possible to directly explode this Five-Finger Mountain. But after he exploded, what he had to face next was an attack by an army of heavenly soldiers and gods. If the situation set by the heavenly court and the Buddha is moved, revenge is bound to be met. Primordial Realm, placed in the world of Journey to the West, can also be regarded as a god. As for which level he reached, Senju Chongsheng didn't know himself, after all, he hadn't compared it. The difference in the power system also leads to different levels of improvement in each realm. It's not that the more realms, the stronger the cultivation system. Of course, the lack of a cultivation system does not mean that the strength system must be strong. Although Senju's immortal cultivation base is among the gods, it is not clear how powerful it is. But once Senju breaks through to the next level, he will definitely beat all the gods. Senju Chongsheng. Yes, but if I shoot, I have to pay corresponding compensation. Monkey King. Hey, my grandson has nothing but this ability. If you can save my grandson, I will teach you the 72 changes. Senju Chongsheng. I will do the 72 changes, and I don't need you to teach. Monkey King. Then I will teach you the great skill of heaven and immortality. Senju Chongsheng. I'm sorry, I have 8 or 9 profound arts. Monkey King. This. As a wise monkey, he learns online languages very fast. He scratched his head and felt embarrassment for the first time. Monkey King. How about invisibility and fixation? Senju Chongsheng. Come on, these small spells cannot be used when facing the same level. Monkey King smiled awkwardly. How about this? As long as my grandson comes out, I will help you go to the heaven to grab some flat peaches and add some golden pills, how about? Since the exercises are not good, then use the flat peaches and golden pills of the heavens to exchange them. It doesn't matter if you don't have any good things, you can grab it. If it still doesn't work, just grab some magic weapon to the other party, it will always be worth the reward, right? Senju Chongsheng thought for a while, and felt that the remuneration was okay. The flat peaches and golden cores of the heavenly court are still very good and can assist him in his cultivation. Senju Chongsheng. The deal. I will pass now. After agreeing, he activated the group crossing function on the spot. Because of the new permissions, now there is no need to obtain the coordinates of the group members, and you can directly travel through the past. Passing through the purple-black space channel, a predominant aura hits his face. The aura mixed with chaos is stronger than all the worlds Senju has ever been to. One day of cultivating here can reach the world of Hokage for 10 days. Mr. Immortal, this way, a somewhat hoarse voice came from not far away. Senju Chongsheng searched for the source of the sound, and saw a monkey with golden hair all over his body, half of his body pressed down under the mountain. He was waving at Senju Chongsheng, motioning him to pass. Hey, Mr. Immortal is really amazing. He actually came. Hurry up and save my old grandson. I will get you a peach and golden pill. Sun Wukong said with a look of excitement. Well, let me see. Senju Chongsheng Evil King's true eyes were activated, and the entire Five Elements mountain fell into his field of vision. This place is shaded by green trees, and the mountains and rivers are of different heights. The thorns blocked many roads, and there were many wild beasts running rampant. If a mortal comes here, it can be said to be difficult to move, and it is no wonder that so many people have not seen so many passing by for so many years. The five-finger mountain that suppressed Monkey King was even more than 1,000 feet tall. Through the true eyes of the evil king, the golden Buddha's light was faintly visible. The mountain looks like 5 fingers, but in reality there is a big Buddha sitting on the top of the mountain to suppress it, reciting Buddhist scriptures. Without a seal, it is pure Buddha's ability to suppress it. The so-called seal posts are all deceptive. Tang Sanzang's ability to open the post and save Wukong was purely because the Buddhist power dissipated the Buddha's power by himself. Senju Chongsheng took a deep breath, blood surging in his body, and a chaotic vision appeared all over his body. A punch hit the Wuji mountain. Boom! In an instant, the earth turned over like an earth dragon, and the mountains and rivers trembled violently. The deafening sound spread across the clouds, echoing in the mountains and forests, shocking a large number of creatures to flee. His punch was not just a simple blow on the Wuji mountain, but also on the phantom of the Buddha. In an instant, the Buddha's light was released, like a big Buddha awakening, with powerful power radiating from his body. Sitting cross-legged on the top of the mountain, the Buddha suddenly stopped chanting. He raised his giant Buddha's hand and slapped it down at Senju Chongsheng, creating a cloud of dust. Call! The big hand fell with a strong wind whistling. Senju Chongsheng retracted his fist, punched it again, and faced the golden Buddha. Boom! At the moment of the encounter, the giant golden hands of the great Buddha exploded on the spot, turning into the sky of Buddha light and scattered. Without the suppression of the Buddha's shadow, Wujishan also collapsed, and the rock rolled and fell. Monkey King yelled in excitement and bounced to a height of thousands of feet. With a punch, the Buddha's shadow shattered, and the five-finger mountain collapsed. Senju Chongsheng didn't use much power, it was just a phantom of a big Buddha. Because the five-finger Yamamoto body contains the power of the Buddha's Dharma, this big Buddha phantom only needs to sit on the top of the mountain and chant the Buddhist sounds day and night to suppress the Monkey King. But once the phantom of the big Buddha is broken by the cultivator, the strength of the five-finger Yamamoto body alone is not enough to suppress Monkey King. As long as Monkey King can have a friend who is also a cultivator, it will not be mixed up like this. Ha! Thank you Mr. Immortal for your help, Lao Sun is grateful. Monkey King descended from the sky, clasped his fists in a formal way and thanked him. Don't be eager to be happy, I'm afraid the heavenly court is about to come. Senju Chongsheng told him not to be happy too early. Hurt. My grandson will never be fooled again this time. Wukong patted his golden-haired chest and smiled confidently. The two raised their heads at the same time, staring at the sky. With the collapse of Wuji Mountain, a mighty momentum came from the sky. The Buddhism forces and the heavenly power came at the same time, and the 9-colored dazzling light flickered in the sky. A gate stands tall in the sky, and the word of Southern Heaven is vaguely visible on the gate plaque. The figures of all kinds of heavenly soldiers and gods appeared in the clouds and mist, and the sacred sounds of the avenue came from the horizon. There is a pleasing sound of the pipa, the sound of the piano is pleasing to the ear, and the sound of drumming. Wow! In a short period of time, hundreds of celestial generals were already standing in the sky, with different weapons in their hands. On the other side of the sky, the major Buddhist powers lined up, and the golden Buddha light enveloped the audience. The sound of the Buddha turned into scriptures and floated, and the golden fonts seemed to have the power of relief, which made people feel calm and wanted to bow down and bow down. The Buddha is at the top of the group of Buddhas, looking at the mortal world kindly. Obviously, his mouth didn't move, but the sound of grating came out of his body. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 198 Fighting Alone Against Thousands of Immortals. Buddha. Heavenly Soldiers. God. With a soft shout, the Buddhist power and the heavenly soldiers and gods will release their divine power at the same time, presenting a vision in this world. 4 Uranus stand tall in the sky. Growth Uranus, Holding Country Uranus, Duo Wen Uranus, Guangmu Uranus. The 4 gods exudes terrifying power of merit, making people want to kneel and surrender immediately. In addition to the 4 Uranus, there are Neza, Yangji, Thunderfather, Dianmu, Toda Uranus, etc. The gods lined up and looked down at the common people coldly. The 3 sages of the west are located under the Tathagata, and the powerful power of merit radiates dazzling golden light. In the middle is Amitabha, Avalokiteshvara on the right, and Dashiji Bodhisattva on the left. The great Buddha's holy voice is universal, and the power of merit is stronger than the overall power of the heavens. The golden Buddha light vaguely crushed the heavenly court. Since ancient times, the dispute between Buddhism and the heaven has never stopped. In today's heavenly court, the interior is even more mixed, and some people may fall to Buddhism at any time. Now it seems that there is no contradiction in peace, but in fact it is secretly competing. Being able to overwhelm the heavens in the aura, the Buddhist forces are delighted in their hearts. The people in the vicinity of thousands of miles all saw this wonder in the sky. The mortals knelt on their heads one after another, murmured various blessing words in their mouths, feeling that this was a sign of the manifestation of a god, and they could get help from the gods. Lao Tathagata, and the lackeys of Lao Jade Emperor, come on, your grandfather is going to beat you all over the floor today. Monkey King rushed to the sky to show his fangs, his hideous face radiated with hostility, and he looked monster-looking. My grandson will come as soon as I go, Mr. Immortal, wait a moment. Go, I'll be watching. Senju Chongsheng gave a faint smile, and then clicked on the live chat room of 10,000 worlds. Boom. In an instant, Monkey King rose directly into the air, with golden flames burning on his body, and his eyes pierced with energy. On the skin covered with only golden hair, a set of golden armor suddenly appeared. The golden cudgel flew out of his ears, turned into a long stick of several meters, and smashed down instantly. Bold demon monkey, dare to be presumptuous in front of the fairy Buddha? Toda Uranus yelled, the demon town tower in his hand zoomed in the air, suppressing Monkey King. Boom! The towers collided with a loud roar, and ripples of divine power surged in the air. The strong impact blows the wind across thousands of miles, and there is thunder and lightning in the sky. At the moment when Monkey King and Toda Uranus were fighting, the other gods also offered methods at the same time. Wow! Sea water was spit out from the black pot, and flames burst into the red gourd. The green steel flying sword made a dashing wind, the dark sledgehammer smashed a purple lightning, and the sound wave impacted from the pipa piano. After a series of fierce attacks, the strokes were deadly, as if they could take the life of Monkey King in an instant. Monkey King pulled out a pinch of golden retriever from his body and blew it lightly. In an instant, golden hairs turned into thousands of clones. Thousands of Monkey Kings raised the golden cudgel at the same time, smashing them at different immortal Buddhas at the same time like a god of war. One person is hostile to thousands of immortal Buddhas. Rumble. Thousands of sticks were smashed down at the same time, and the entire Nantianmen gate broke out with a loud roar. The fairy gas was soaring, and the clouds and mist lingered. Welcome to watch the live broadcast of Monkey King vs Immortal Buddha. The monkey with Kamui on it is our Monkey King. Senju Chongsheng appeared in front of the live camera and slowly lifted into the air, raising the angle of view. The members of the chat group could clearly see that this spectacular battle scene, one after another exclaimed. Yifan. Great, go, brother monkey, do it, Zhang Jue. Ha ha ha, is this the legendary Monkey King? Sure enough, hearing it is better than seeing it. Shajichu Shiyu. So the Monkey King is a monkey? Yifan. I want to be called brother monkey. Boom. At this time, Monkey King's golden cudgel became bigger, sweeping away hundreds of heavenly soldiers and gods. Countless immortals and Buddhas were drawn directly into the mortal world by this stick, breaking through mountains and rivers, and smashing huge holes. Shiyu Shajichu swallowed. Brother monkey is awesome, dry up the heavens. Regardless of him, Niyubi is over. Saitama. So strong, is this a clone ninjutsu? Yifan. No, this is the change of monkey hair, not ninjutsu. Please don't use ninja things to insult my monkey brother. Tony Stark. Good guy, you actually became the monkey brother. Jin Muyan. Oh my god, is the second fan group finally born in the group? Shajichu Shiyu. I want to join, Izumi Sagiri. Sister Shajichu, Mr. Immortal once helped you a lot. Shajichu Shiyu. It's not just one fan, isn't Tony also crushing old bones in immortality? Ainzel Christine. Is the old bone in your mouth talking about me? Gojo Satoru. You are what you are, immortal bones, not old bones, ha ha ha. Was. There is another strong bubbling, I want to celebrate. Chiamon Tanjiro. This, don't you? Attention, viewers, Monkey King's hand is a golden hoop, which can be made bigger or smaller at will, so it's especially powerful. The one who is fighting against him is the great power of Buddhism, the leader of which is the Tathagata Buddha, with masterful techniques. Senju Chongsheng kept changing positions and jokingly explained in the air. There are also the 4 Uranus leaders from the heavenly forces, leading the gods guarding the Nantianmen, and launching a swift attack on Monkey King. Look! Sun Wukong alone. Ah no! A monkey flew thousands of heavenly soldiers and gods, who is worthy of being a great sage, and one person is invincible against the sky. Acedes. Become bigger and smaller at will. Beatrice. You are not right. Shajiju Shiyu. Tony Stark. It's so terrible, I don't even understand what you guys are talking about. Doryashi. Bibi Dong. Yifan. Watch the live broadcast seriously, don't drive a car, everyone. Gojo Satoru. Ha ha ha. Wu Luki. Wow, when I woke up, I found that I seemed to be crazy, and I actually saw the fighting scenes. Are those gods? Rin Tosaka. Good guys, so you guys are really gods. Kageyama Shigeo. Okay. So awesome, Ryuta Kageyama Shigeo. His eyes were full of radiance at the moment, and there was a touch of ruddy on his face caused by excitement. The wound in my heart seemed to be healed at this moment. Can such a powerful force be so handsome and move with one's heart? Journey to the west in the world. Monkey King single-handedly fought against the immortal Buddha, which can be called a sweep. For more than 300 years, although he was suppressed, he was not without cultivation. With every breath, he was absorbing the aura of heaven and earth, and he was now more powerful. Senju Chongsheng is located in the sky, and he continues to explain as a melon eater, and he has no intention of going up to help. But at this moment, a sound of breaking through the air came from the side. Boom! Senju Chongsheng glanced back slightly and raised his hand to block the opponent's coal-flashing spear. Come, Erlang Shen, Yang Jian. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 199 Transcendence from the Three Realms. Yang Jian's silver armor reflects white light and luster. A long spear pierced at Senju Chongsheng's straight, with a cold light on the spearhead, and the spear shot out like a dragon. If the sharp cold light could pierce everything, a shadow of a dragon appeared, roaring to the sky. But such a powerful blow suddenly stopped in front of Senju Chongsheng. The tip of the gun was clamped by Senju Chongsheng with 2 fingers. The vast celestial power and divine power impacted a white wave of air, and Senju's longevity robe was blown into a hunting noise. His whole body was boiling and surging, and the ancient sacred body exploded with all strength, transformed into a chaotic vision, and crushed it towards Yang Jian. Boom! Yang Jian's spear was directly crushed by Senju Chongsheng's bare hands, and the chaos vision shook it upside down. I really don't have eyes. Didn't you see that I was a melon eater? Senju Chongsheng said lightly. Yang Jian's upside-down body suddenly stabilized, and drew out a 3-pointed two-edged sword. You are the culprit who helped the demon monkey escape the Five Elements mountain. How can you let you go? Faith is like the earth. With a violent shout, his body grew in vain and went through the heavens and the earth, like a giant in the sky, reaching a height of 10,000 meters. Rumble. The terrifying power of immortality and divine power expanded, and Yang Jian swung a 3-pointed two-edged sword, and the storm whizzed up. Senju's longevity is still calm, and he also releases Dharma into the heavens and the earth. The other party knows 8 or 9 profound arts, and so does he. In a moment, he also turned into a giant of 1,000 feet, chaos haunting his whole body, mysterious and mighty. Kang. Senju Chongsheng used his spiritual energy to transform his sword and collided with Yang Jian's 3-pointed two-edged sword one after another. Under the clanging sound, the sky full of sparks was wiped out. The fire that collided was like falling meteors, blowing up huge pits, damaging many innocent creatures. To say that what Senju lacks most in longevity now is a good magic weapon. Like Yang Jian's 3-pointed and two-edged sword, it is a magic weapon that can grow larger with his method. But Senju Changsheng is different. His white sword day and black sword autumn water can't increase with it. Therefore, he could only transform the sword with aura and step forward to collide with Yang Jian's magic weapon. The battle between the two was no worse than the scene where Wukong next to him was fighting the fairy Buddha alone. Areas were annihilated, mountains and forests collapsed, the earth trembled, and the sky shook. But Yang Jian became more and more frightened. The corners of his mouth began to bleed, and the scars on his skin increased. Looking at Senju Changsheng's side again, it seemed that he didn't use much strength at all, and he released a fierce attack blankly. You know, Yang Jian now has the advantage of magic weapons, and is a full level 8 or 9 profound arts. In the end, he was pressed and beaten by the opponent, which really scared Yang Jian himself. Who is this guy? Why have you never heard of it? Boom. Yang Jian didn't have time to think about more things. The opponent's attack became more and more violent, and the golden flames drew an arc line on the sword. The breath of the sun, the shape of 3, the red mirror of the scorching sun. In an instant, Senju's longevity sword bypassed Yang Jian's defenses and slashed directly on him. The moment the flame sword pierced the opponent's armor defense, Yang Jian's body suddenly flew out uncontrollably. Rumble. The 10,000-foot-tall body seemed to be pressed by the sky, forcibly crushing the mountains and rivers in a radius of thousands of miles into big pits, and the smoke was billowing. Puff. Yang Jian's body gradually shrank and returned to his normal form. He vomited blood continuously, staining the silver armor on his chest red. Senju Changsheng took advantage of the victory and pursued. The aura sword swept across his neck, and the light flashed away. Between these lightning and flints, Yang Jian used 72 changes and turned into an ant, evading this sword dangerously. But Aftermath's aura was surging, and he still shook his head and almost fainted. Who are you? There is no you in the 3 realms, and there will be no problems with the suppression of the demon monkey. Why is there such a variable as you? Yang Jian, who reverted to a human form, covered the wound on his waist, bleeding from the corner of his mouth, and shouted loudly. Regarding the breaking of the 5 elements mountain this time, the entire heaven and Buddhism can be described as a great shock. The immortals and Buddhas pinched their fingers at the same time and found that there was a big variable affecting the 3 realms. In desperation, Heavenly Court and Buddhism were dispatched one after another, and they had such a vast battle. Yang Jian did not go to fight against Monkey King, but directly locked the source of the big variables Senju Changsheng. I thought that with his own grade 8 or 9 profound arts, no matter which way of immortal demon, he could suppress it with one shot. But as a result, as soon as he greeted him, the spear was crushed by the opponent with his bare hands. Then came a violent beating by the opponent, so that Yang Jian began to doubt his life. Because I don't exist in the three realms, I am beyond the world. Senju Jiangsheng grinned and stepped closer. Boom. The tall body lifted the soles of its feet, like a mountain stepping on Yang Jian. Nonsense, who can surpass the three realms? Yang Jian, who was lying on the ground and had not been able to catch his breath, yelled at the same time, causing a chi divergence, and he forcibly turned over and escaped. But just when Yang Jian escaped hundreds of miles away, the vast sword energy slashed across in front of him, with a scream, forming a wall of isolation. If you touch it a little, the blood will not stop. Ha ha. 3 consecutive wind walls rose up again, forming a cube wrapper, and Yang Jian was besieged inside on the spot. Goodbye. Senju Changsheng grinned, raised his foot and stepped on it, and Yang Jian was forced by the terrifying spirit to lie on the ground on the spot. Boom. The vastness of power instantly flooded Yang Jian, the earth shattered inch by inch, turned into dust and flew up, raising a huge wave of dust. Under the 8 or 9 profound skills, Yang Jian was trampled on the spot and seriously injured, and his body was stained with blood to become a blood man. The donor is too murderous. At this moment, the Buddha's sound penetrated the sky, and the mighty Buddha's light aura spread. Senju Changsheng looked back at the Buddha, and saw that one of his palms was shot, and the space was almost shattered by the shock. The space intensity of Journey to the West is extremely high, and under such battles, the space is still solid. There is also a swastika figure on the golden Buddha's hand. The golden light is bright and dazzling. Buddha's palm. Yang Jian's defeat also made Buddha Tathagata notice here. Tathagata no longer cares about Sun Wukong, he must suppress this uncertain factor in the first place. In the view of Buddha Tathagata, the danger of Senju's longevity is obviously far higher than that of Monkey King. The palm of the gods was shot, and the vast Buddha power rippled with bright ripples. The sacred sounds of merit resonate in heaven and earth, as if God was reciting Buddhist scriptures. My mouth is crying for mercy, but the murders in my hands are heavier one by one. Senju Changsheng shook his head in disdain and punched out with the 6 paths reincarnation punch. The 6 black holes merged into one and collided with the palm of the Tathagata. Boom. In an instant, the mountains, rivers and forests of thousands of miles around are all at this moment, and they are all dust. Even those fleeing creatures died instantly. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 200. The palm of the Tathagata slapped continuously, punching out hundreds of phantoms of large handprints, and Senju Changsheng's 6 paths reincarnation fist also continued to blast. The palms of the fists collided continuously, and the crackling sound was continuous. The strength of the Tathagata is definitely the top existence in Journey to the West, but even so, Senju Changsheng still does not fall behind, and even gradually gains the upper hand. He punched out one after another, and the 6 paths black hole seemed to contain the power of the abyss universe, directly blasting away the handprints of the palm of the gods. The Buddha's light in the sky is scattered, and the aura is like surging waves. Rumble. The ripples of the runes spread, and waves of immortal power and spiritual energy rippled out waves, flooding the world with a radius of thousands of miles. All the people in the range are kneeling and kowtow at this moment. The invisible pressure makes their bodies kneel and tremble. The golden light curse protects Senju Changsheng's body, and the golden emperor burning sky is burning on his fist. The 6 paths samsara fist broke the palm of the Tathagata and went straight to the Buddha. Boom. His fists were so fast that they dragged out countless afterimages, and the 2 fists touched one after another. The battle between the gods and the giant Buddha is so frightening, as if the end of the world is coming, it is frightening. Senju Changsheng punched the golden Buddha of the Buddha, exploding dense golden rune fragments. Buddhism's Vajra is not bad. Boom. At this moment, a slight concussion appeared on Senju Changsheng's fist. Several cracks appeared on the Buddha's golden body. The power of shock fruit can not only smash the void to isolate everything, but also smash everything in front of you. Known as the immortal body of King Kong, now Senju Changsheng punched several cracks. And the cracks were spreading at a speed visible to the naked eye, followed by a loud bang. The Buddha's incorruptible body shattered on the spot. Buddhism was dissipated by the spiritual energy, the golden light on the skin faded, revealing the flesh and blood. Under the Buddha's face, he is still human. Whether it is an immortal or a Buddha, you are human in the depths of your soul. Once the power of Shanli and Buddha collapsed, they would be beaten out of their original form. At the moment when the opponent's body protection technique was smashed, water waves flowed on Senju Changsheng's fist. In an instant, thousands of fists suddenly blasted out, and every fist swiped smoothly and smoothly. And behind Senju Changsheng, there is also a 10,000 Zhong wooden Buddha, 10,000 Senju's arms waved at the same time, blasting toward Tathagata. Sage art wood style Shinsu Senju. With the improvement of Senju's longevity strength, the sage art displayed is hundreds of thousands of times more terrifying than before. Boom 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 boom. In an instant, thousands of punches fell, and the Buddha was hard to fight, was beaten with a bruised face and swollen body, and his body flew horizontally. Senju Changsheng closely followed, punching him one after another. Any Buddhism, supernatural power, and merits are all broken. Under Shock Fruit's ability, any power is like a bubble, without any bells and whistles at all. Regardless of whether you are an immortal or a Buddha, you will all be punched. Bang! The body of the Tathagata fell to the ground, and the whole body's Buddha power was dissipated. The previously bright and beautiful Tathagata looked extremely embarrassed at this moment, with mud all over the clothes. The incorruptible body of King Kong was broken up, resulting in multiple blood holes in his body, the size of a fist. His giant Buddha statue was also smashed, like a mortal lying on the ground. Senju Changsheng slowly fell, with murderous aura on his body, as if Shira came to the world, with one foot on the Tathagata. Well, nay, ba, am I, hum. The 6 characters flew out of the Tathagata's mouth, turning into layers of golden light. While defending, they also suppressed Senju Changsheng. 6-character daming mantra, offensive and defensive integration, save the world. Boom. The explosion sounded again. Senju Changsheng grinned, and the soles of his feet stepped on gravity, stepping on the void cracks. The 6-character mantra was like broken glass, and his soul slammed on the face of Tathagata, exploding the vast pit and rolling up the dust. Suddenly, the whole person of Tathagata turned into a golden light and disappeared directly into the sky. The Buddhist powers were taken aback for a moment, and then hurriedly turned and fled. But some powerful Buddhists did not have time to escape, and were blasted into sludge by Monkey King, causing a large number of deaths and injuries. He. Tathagata is really stupid. He dares to provoke Mr. Immortal. Isn't this a foolish act? He. Monkey King laughed loudly, completely disregarding the gazes of people around him. Lying at his feet was a swath of heavenly soldiers and gods, half of the blue sky stained with blood. The more powerful gods are all suffering from injuries of varying severity at this moment, gasping for breath, and their expressions are extremely gloomy. They paid such a high price, but they were unable to suppress this demon monkey for a long time. Nowadays, the Buddhists even ignored their faces and chose to escape first. Now that only their heavenly forces are left, how should they end up? Today, whether it is Buddhism or heavenly court, it can be described as a faceless loss. The scandal that took place more than 300 years ago in Tiangong has not yet completely subsided. Is there a second Tiangong scandal now? Damn, what should I do now? Asked the Jade Emperor quickly. The 4 Uranus faces alternated with blue and red, and shouted at the sound transmission fairy. The demon monkeys can't be suppressed by these gods alone. It was originally intended to work with Buddhism, but the Buddha in Buddhism was blown up, and the god Erlang on their side was already in a coma. This is a fart. He. Without your notice, my grandson will hit your heaven today, pick peaches, gold cores, and magic weapons. Monkey King slammed down, with 3 heads and 6 arms growing out of his body, as if the god of Shira had killed the Nanshan Gate. The expressions of the gods from all walks of life changed drastically, and they offered magical powers and magic weapons to stop the monkey's footsteps. But all their methods are like chickens, swept by Monkey King, invincible. Boom. With a loud noise, the Nanshan Gate fell down. Sun Wukong soared through the clouds and drove the fog, rushed directly into the heavenly palace, and greeted the other heavenly immortals who hadn't descended to the world, killing the sky red. Senju Changsheng looked back at Yang Jian's position. Yang Jian, who was seriously injured, had been rescued by other gods during his battle with Tathagata. He didn't start to froze, and also used the technique of flying clouds and driving fog to rush to the heavenly palace. The celestial palace, where the celestial spirit is curled up, has corpses everywhere at this moment, and the blood has dyed the white fairy mist into blood mist. The splendid buildings have all collapsed, and the scene of broken walls is like a land of ruins. Monkey King fights all the way in the forefront, the gods block and kill the gods, and the Buddha blocks and kill the Buddha. All the energy of heavenly court is used to deal with Monkey King, so Senju Changsheng looks very leisurely here. A few timid gods did not participate in the battle, and when they saw Senju Changsheng coming over, they were so frightened that they gave up and dared not speak out. Immortals also have strengths and weaknesses, and they are also divided into civil and military. These timid gods are literary immortals, and they have almost no fighting ability. Senju Changsheng ignored them, wandering around in the palace, and silently said a sign in. Open black lens bracket ding. Journey to the West has successfully signed in. Congratulations on getting Chaos Qinglian. Close black lens bracket. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 201 Chaos Green Lotus. Open black lens bracket ding. Journey to the West has successfully signed in. Congratulations on getting Chaos Qinglian. Close black lens bracket. Hearing the system prompt, Senju Changsheng was taken aback for a moment, and then he was ecstatic. Chaos Treasure. The most powerful magic weapon in the prehistoric world is Chaos Treasure. And Chaos Qinglian is one of the most treasures of chaos. What Senju longevity lacks most is a powerful magic weapon. Now this sign in reward is really timely rain. At the beginning of the chaos, there are no living things, the world is connected, and there is a green lotus of creation, also known as the chaotic lotus. A cyan lotus that exudes a chaotic atmosphere appears in the palm of Senju Changsheng's palm. There are 12 leaves, 24 petals in blossom, and 5 lotus seeds at the heart of the lotus. It is said that the Chaos Qinglian has disintegrated and turned into several innate magic weapons. Among them, the lotus flower absorbs the power of the original wish and transforms it into a celestial tripod. The petals transform into 24 Dinghai beads. The rhizome absorbs the innate slaughter gas and transforms into a slaughter shinso. When the 5 lotus seeds were mature, they fell into the heaven, earth and immortal realms, and the human realm. A lotus seed, falling into the mountain, is nourished by the ancestor source of the earth, and turns into 36 good fortune green lotus. A lotus seed, dropped in the 8 virtue pool in the west, turned into a golden lotus of 12th grade merit. A lotus seed fell in the sea of blood in the Styx and turned into a fire red lotus of 12th grade industry. A lotus seed fell into the abyss of darkness and turned into a 12th grade black lotus. A lotus seed fell into the 3000 falling water and turned into Bai Lan, the 12th grade clean world. From this it can be seen that Chaos Qinglian is a treasure that can be attacked and defended, and can transform everything in the world. Now, Senju Changsheng has successfully obtained the complete Chaos Qinglian through the sign in reward. What form he wants the Chaos Qinglian to transform into is just a matter of thought. The power is far beyond any magic weapon, and it can be said to be one of the most powerful rewards since Senju signed in. As for the last most powerful reward, it was the immortal longevity Kungfu obtained by signing in for the first time. Chaos Qinglian and Senju Changsheng's consciousness were bound together, and the Chaos Qinglian in his hand suddenly began to shine. From a lotus flower to a long spear, from a long spear to a flying sword, and then from a flying sword to a great tripod. In the end, he was admitted to the sea of suffering in Dantian, bathed in golden aura. At the moment when Chaos Qinglian was sitting in the sea of bitterness, Senju Changsheng began to exude chaotic aura, looking even more powerful and mysterious. The realm of Sendai's 3rd floor actually began to loosen at this moment. Just as if it were all right, directly broke through to the 4th floor of Sendai. The power of the law lingers all over the body, and the 4th floor of Sendai is called a saint in the world of the sky. The level of life is sublimated and stepped into the realm of law. No thunder tribulation came. It seemed that Chaos Qinglian had concealed the secret of heaven. However, the baptism of heaven and earth after Lei Jia came back as promised. Senju Changsheng took a deep breath, and the surging fairy chi in the heavenly palace surged, all being sucked into his body. Every granule cell was cheering, and the meridians scattered a jade-colored shimmer. The chaotic breath flows in the body and blends with the aura. When Wan Kichai encountered the raging fire, he reacted strongly. After waves of baptism, Senju Changsheng's ear suddenly rang with a crisp sound. Click. The 5th floor of Sendai. The 5th floor of Sendai is still called a saint, but the strength is increased by penultimate. The arrival of a chaotic green lotus allowed Senju's longevity's sky-shading power system to break through 2 levels in an instant. He just stood in place, broke through continuously, absorbed 2 baptisms, and his aura became more and more terrifying. The surrounding gods backed down, pretending that they couldn't see this person. It's good that Senju Changsheng didn't distribute the fluctuation of cultivation base before. The fluctuations under the current breakthrough directly caused these immortals who had no combat power to walk away in fright. Fuck. Such a terrifying fluctuation in cultivation level, if it is as cruel as a demon monkey, wouldn't it be a disaster? Slipped away. Slipped away. ... The aura of cultivation was withdrawn, and Senju breathed a long sigh of relief, and walked leisurely into the palace. Under the exploration of the divine consciousness, he soon found the Pan Taoyuan that the world has dreamed of. No one stayed behind in the park, only an immortal barrier blocking the inside and outside. Senju Changsheng flicked his finger, and the barrier shattered on the spot. He walked in, filled with immortality and fragrance. The peach scent alone makes people slobber. Through the true eyes of the evil king, it seemed that these flat peaches had born spiritual wisdom, as if they were breathing and observing. Seeing the arrival of Senju Changsheng, they started to sway slightly with curiosity. Curiosity killed Tao, haven't you heard this sentence? Senju Changsheng smiled slightly, and then aura rolled out, instantly enveloping the entire Pantaoyuan. Many flat peaches realized that it was not good and wanted to escape, but were all involved in the system space by his aura. Both mature and immature flat peaches were taken away. Even the flat peach tree was taken into the system space by him. Senju Changsheng plans to plant flat peach trees by himself. With his resources and abilities, it is not a problem at all to cultivate a new flat peach garden. After harvesting the flat peaches, Senju's spiritual consciousness swept out again. He followed the aftermath of the battle and flew away. When passing by some halls, he would sweep around one side to see if there was anything valuable. Anything that can be used will be included in the system space. All kinds of immortals, magic weapons, elixir, fruits, talisman, etc. This trip can be described as a lot of money. When he came to Taishanglao Kun's alchemy place, Monkey King had already overturned the alchemy furnace and filled all the golden pills inside into the gourd. Mr. Immortal is here. Hey. Here, this is my old grandson's promise to you. Monkey King threw the gourd in his hand to Senju Changsheng without hesitation or reluctance. To him, this thing is just like peas, and there is nothing to be reluctant to bear. Once he had eaten enough, now it won't do anything anymore. Instead of eating it as beans, it is better to give Senju Changsheng as a reward. Why no one stopped you? Senju Changsheng smiled and took the gourd away, and asked casually. He. The group of guys went to rescue the soldiers, my grandson took the opportunity to come over and get the golden core. Monkey King said with a smile. In fact, he still has several clones raging outside, attracting the attention of many gods. Who said monkeys are stupid? You know all the idiots, it's not stupid at all. In the original work, Monkey King's many performances also fully demonstrated his very high IQ. If there is really only force and no brains, then he is a pure reckless man who has long since died on the road of learning from the West. Monkey King chuckled twice again and said, I will go to Pantaoyuan to get you some flat peaches. No, I've searched it. These flat peaches are here for you. Senju Changsheng smiled and took out a few flat peaches from the system space and threw them over. As soon as he smelled the scent of flat peaches, Monkey King suddenly slobbered. After thanking him, he picked up the peach in 2 or more strokes and ate it. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 202 Sakamoto Deciphering the Drive. Limruturn Pest. This is a house ransacking. Everything in the heavenly court has been raided. Gojo Satoru. Ha 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 ha. Worthy of being Mr. Immortal. Tony Stark. Brother Monkey is very powerful, but unfortunately there was no live broadcast just now. We can only see the picture of Mr. Immortal. Yi fan. It's really a pity. I also want to see the battle scene of Brother Monkey. Judging from the current wreckage, the battle just now was absolutely fierce. Saitama. There will be opportunities in the future. Doriyashi. Looking forward to it. My task is complete, it's time to leave, you should leave early, don't wait to be pitted by the other party again. Senju's longevity consciousness swept the neighborhood and found nothing of value. Tai Shang Lao Kun's refining magic weapons, it seems that they are not placed here, but these magic weapons are of no use to him. Because he already has Chaos Qinglian, a lotus can transform thousands of magic weapons. Is there any magic weapon for being too old? Kun is actually the same. Don't worry. My grandson will never be suppressed a second time. Sun Wukong smiled. Besides, there is no such thing as you, Mr. Immortal, and everyone in the chat group. The big deal is to ask you for help, hee. Beatrice. No, Brother Monkey thinks too much, we can't beat those gods. Zhang Jiwei. Heavenly Court is very powerful, and there are only a few people on our side who can compete with it. Yasuo. I will definitely become an existence that can contend with the heavens. Saitama. Oh, me too, Saitama. Is it the great saint? Just give me a while, so can I. Tony Stark. Maybe I can study the anti-celestial armor. Shajircho Shiu. Mr. Tony, didn't you say that you don't have time to think about these things? Burst tendons. Tony Stark. This. Sakamoto. Miss Kasumagaoka, I have worked out the drawings you sent. Here are my research reports and new drawings. Ding, Sakamoto uploaded a super large and super clear drawing content. Single quote. When I heard that the drawing had actually been studied, Shazichiu Shiu hurriedly clicked to download it. Even the trouble with Tony was forgotten. Tony, who was in Kamatage, became interested immediately, and he clicked the download curiously. He wants to see if this newcomer is really awesome or bragging. Senju Changsheng also clicked the download out of curiosity, and opened the pass-through function by the way. I'm going back, be careful yourself. Hey, Mr. Immortal, don't worry, my grandson will search for something for my monkey grandchildren, and immediately return to Shuiliandong. After all, this place is in the Heavenly Palace. Before leaving, Senju Changsheng still reminded Monkey King. Ding, Yi Fan uploaded the Taiyin Sutra Sendai Scroll. Single quote. Returning to Konoha, the 10,000 Realms chat group came back again. Have you finally got the Taiyin scripture? Senju Changsheng smiled and clicked to download. Is it harvest day today? So many good things, one after another. Master, where have you gone these days, please tell me honestly. When he heard the voice, he realized that Tsunade was also in the house. Oh, isn't this my dear Tsunade-chan, Konoha's work is done. Senju Changsheng smiled and sat beside Tsunade. Tsunade flipped Byakugan at him and snorted, don't change the subject, say. Are you going to play in other worlds again without taking me? Her first intuition told her that 9 out of 10 times in the so-called retreat of the master, she ran to other worlds. Sure enough, this time he sneaked in and found that there was really no one in master's house. In an instant, Tsunade suffocated. The world is dangerous this time, I can't take you there, Senju Changsheng shrugged helplessly. That's Journey to the West. What Tsunade could do in the past was just for being beaten. I don't care. I haven't been to other worlds for a long time. You must take me to other places to play. A few dozen years old, Tsunade is still like a little girl, holding Senju Changsheng's arm and acting like a baby at him. Seeing Tsunade's beautiful and royal appearance, Senju was sweating in his heart. Well, I will let you have a good time when I get the chance. Senju Changsheng's mouth twitched, helplessly said. Hey, thank you, master, moi. Tsunade changed his face extremely fast, so happy that he kissed him on the cheek, leaving a blushing lip mark. Senju Changsheng wiped his hands, and immediately took out the drawings and research reports uploaded by Sakamoto. Not to mention, there was a report that was half a meter thick, and the drawing was magnified several times by him. Many details are marked, whether it is material or structure, etc. Those who don't understand will only feel dazzled when they see it, but Senju, who is knowledgeable, is shocked by the drawings in front of him. Tony and Shiyu Shajircho, who are far away in other worlds, are the same. Sakamoto is simply an all-around genius, perfect to the ultimate man. Kamen Rider's drive was really cracked theoretically by him. Tony Stark. It's perfect. This is simply beyond human thinking. Shajircho Shiyu. Ah, it turns out it can be like this. Sakamoto is awesome. Yun. Is it really such an exaggeration? Gen Zhao Dagu. This reaction is too exciting, right? Tanjiro Chiaman. Another hidden boss. Senju Changsheng. To be honest, I was also shocked. Mon Yashi. No, even Mr. Immortal is surprised. Is my drive really cracked? Shiyu Shajircho. It can be said that your drive has really been cracked. This is a leap forward in technology. Beatrice. Isn't it said that the power of the drive is a combination of magic and technology? She remembers clearly that Mr. Immortal said before that the power of Kamen Rider is the product of the combination of magic and technology. Is it possible that Sakamoto also knows magic? Senju Changsheng. It is indeed a combination of technology and magic. What Sakamoto gave is that the drawings were not made. All of the above are theories, but they can be done in reality. Sakamoto didn't have materials to make an experiment, and he didn't understand magic. But he forcibly relied on his heaven-defying knowledge and unusual people's thinking to cleverly crack the power of the drive. Tony Stark. Mr. Immortal is right. I can't wait to go back and try to develop it. It's really shocking. Shajircho Shiyu. Could you please send me some materials, Mr. Tony? Kasumagaoka Shiba. And Mr. Sakamoto, thank you for your contribution. Kasumagaoka Shiyu. At Ben, let me give you a drive, made by Limru, quality guaranteed. Now Sha Zichiu is a big local tyrant. She has accumulated a lot of points during the 2 Marvel missions. It's okay to send a Kamen Rider drive. Shiyu Shajircho. Exclusive red envelope. Sakamoto received the exclusive red envelope of Kasumagaoka Shiwa. Sakamoto. Thank you very much, thank you very much. Shajircho Shiyu. This is what you deserve. You are welcome. You can talk to us for new ideas in the future. Sakamoto. No problem. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 203. Sakamoto, who was riding the drive, saw no waves on his handsome face. He is not arrogant, and he did not even retrieve the drive for the first time, but continued to write his homework. Kasumagaoka Shiba and Tony got busy one after another, and Kamen Rider Drive was too attractive for them. As long as he has the power of the Kamen Rider Driver, Tony will put all the armor he created into it, turn it into cards, and switch forms at will. When facing Hulk, use anti-Hulk armor. When encountering Thor, he draws out cards and transforms into anti-Thor armor. It is extremely exciting to think about it. The same goes for Kasumagaoka Shiyu's Gundam. After the Master drives her power, her Gundam can deal with different situations. Go to the sky, to the earth, to the sea, omnipotent. From now on, she can develop a Gundam for terrain and make it ultimate in every field. Have you seen the transforming Gundam? Close combat and long-range combat, light and heavy equipment, swords, guns and clubs, the limit of Almighty. Senju Changsheng did not continue to look at the drive drawings. This thing was nothing but a hobby for him. For power, he still prefers his own abilities, and doesn't need the abilities of Kamen Rider. Don't watch the gatekeeper Yashi got the Immortal Knight card, but the overall strength is not as good as Senju Jingsei himself. In addition, the strength of Senju Changsheng himself is constantly getting stronger, which cannot be given by the Immortal card. Mamayaji got Senju Jingsei's card so quickly, although he temporarily gained a strong power. But it also lost a more powerful force. If Mamayashi took the photo, it was Senju who was Immortal longevity at full level, then his Immortal Knight card would definitely be even more terrifying. Inside Konoha Village. After Senju branched out Tsunade, he extracted the Taiyan Sutra in the system. Only by practicing together with the Taiyan scripture and the Sun scripture can the strongest Sendai be cast. The lunar sun, the weak and the strong, the yin and yang help each other, and the world is the emperor. He carefully comprehended the Taiyan scriptures, and the Taiyan chi in his body became more and more intense. But the problem also followed, that is the violent conflict between the chi of the moon and the chi of the sun. While yin and yang complement each other, yin and yang also repel each other. If you want to integrate, you must have an understanding of the rules. The way of heaven and earth, the principle of creating life for all things with the two chi of yin and yang, and growing 100 skeletons with the two chi of yin and yang. Tai Chi said that before the heavens and the earth were divided, the vitality was mixed into one, that is, the Taichu and Tai. Senju Changsheng muttered to himself, deducing step by step in his body, evolving the lunar yin and the sun, making them work together and blending water and fire. The Taoist, the most refined, can't be the form or the name, and the name is the one that is strong. I am the one, my body is the Tao, I divide yin and yang, transform into two qi, and sympathize with creatures. The two groups of yin and yang qi revolved in the body, the speed intensified, and finally formed a yin and yang tai chi pattern. Boom. The power of yin and yang and tai chi burst out from his body, and the water of yin and the fire of the sun were breathed out from his mouth and nose. Tai chi moves to produce yang, movement to extremes and statics, statics to produce yin, static extremes to move again, one movement and one stillness, each is the root of each other, dividing yin and yang, and the two instruments stand in harmony. Senju Changsheng sitting is 1 year. The whole body and mind have entered the cultivation, and time flies by in the blink of an eye. Rumble. Above Konoha, a super terrifying thunder robbery suddenly appeared. The roar is deafening, the heaven and the earth become dazzling, and the colorful thunder lights are intertwined with each other, turning into a big hand covering the sky. Sitting withered, Senju Changsheng suddenly opened his eyes, and the black and white colors flashed from his pupils. His figure suddenly disappeared from the place, and when he reappeared, he had already reached the sky above the thunder robbery and greeted the giant thunder robbery hand. Boom. Loud noises ran through the world, and the indescribable thunder and lightning images exploded over Konoha, radiant and dazzling. As if the entire sky has turned into thunder and lightning, it is gradually being oppressed down. If it weren't for Senju's longevity to use the power of heaven and earth to block these thunder and lightning from falling, Konoha Village at this moment would have already become ashes. He flew higher and higher, and immediately rushed out of the earth. The thunder tribulation is still there, coming from the void, the dense thunder tribulation destroyed the nearby meteorites and stars. Senju Changsheng's body erupted in yin and yang, which turned into a Tai Chi formation to revolve, blocking the raging thunder. Rumble. Under the thunder, Senju was unscathed. After the thunderbolt lasted for a whole number of hours, his sky shading system cultivation base also broke through, and received the baptism of the backfeeding after the thunder catastrophe. The 6th floor of Sendai. At this level, he is called the Great Sage. The law cultivates the Zochin level, plus Senju eternal life is an ancient sacrament. Even without the realm of immortal longevity skill, he can still be called the Emperor Banshin at this moment. When I return to the Hokage world, I have to cross the catastrophe again. What's the situation? Senju Changsheng muttered to himself, he was a little at a loss. I thought that the good fortune green lotus in my body should be able to isolate the secret of heaven, so that there is no need to overcome any thunder tribulations. This is why he would sit in Konoha all the time, instead of choosing to go to other places. As a result, I didn't cross the calamity when I was traveling to the west. I returned to Konoha and broke through, but I was about to cross the calamity again. Could it be the difference between the worlds that caused the chaotic green lotus to be incompletely covered? If this is the case, wouldn't it be necessary to go to journey to the west every time the Zetian system breaks through? Forget it, just go, it's not difficult anyway. The Zetian mortal system has almost come to an end, even if it crosses the catastrophe, it can't be crossed several times. Senju Changsheng flew back to Konoha Village again. He couldn't make a breakthrough in the immortal longevity gong, he could vaguely feel it. If you want to break through to the next level, you need to break through the Zetian system again to be able to impact. During this time, Senju's breakthrough speed can be described as a leap forward growth. Especially the moment he signed to Chaos Qinglian, his strength skyrocketed too fast. If he has a deep background, I am afraid that the foundation will be unstable at this moment. It's time to investigate Uchiha's dream. I definitely can't ask Ace to help. It's too dangerous for him. What kind of existence is Uchiha's dream? He has also thought about it during this period, but there are too many directions. Senju Changsheng squeezed his chin and muttered to himself, maybe Limru can be tested. A Limru's ability, no one should be able to kill him. Moreover, he is immune to mental attacks, so he doesn't have to worry about being controlled. Only, let Limru alone, I'm afraid it will be difficult to find out what Senju Changsheng wants. Senju Changsheng. At Li Mu Lu Te En Pei Si Te, I will take you to the world of Ace to investigate a person. Do you want to go together? Limru Turnpest immediately returned when he heard that he went to play in other worlds. Limru Turnpest. Do you want to play in other worlds? Okay, but my world travel is not over yet. Limru is still in the world of Marble World Travel, and I haven't played enough here yet, and I am a little bit reluctant. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 204. Seeing Limru's playful performance, Senju's mouth twitched slightly. I always feel that Limru is unreliable. Senju Changsheng. Let's pause the trip first, then I will send you back to your current location and continue your trip. Limru Turnpest. Really, that's really a thank you to Mr. Immortal. Senju Changsheng. At Portgas d'Ace at Edward Newgate, Limru and I will go over to your side. When will we get together? Edward Newgate. Hula la la, Mr. Immortal is here. It is really welcome. The old man owes you a party that hasn't been held yet, and it happens to be paid this time together. Portgas D. Ace. Mr. Immortal is very welcome. Are you here to investigate Marine Admiral Jinfang? Senju Changsheng. Yes, it is not convenient for me to disclose the reason. Could it be said that the other party does not exist in the original work? It's better not to explain this kind of thing, so as not to get more and more messy. Both Ace and Whitebeard were fascinated and did not ask any more. The topic of the chat group was quickly brought to other aspects by the group members, and the group was hot. Senju Changsheng also withdrew from the chat group and asked Anbu Kisame to notify Tsunade to come over. Before leaving, he had to talk to Tsunade and others. The time flow of Pirate World is very slow. In the past, we investigated for a period of time. It is estimated that several years have passed since Hokage's time. If you don't get vaccinations in advance, it will easily cause unnecessary worry. Soon, Tsunade came to the house and asked aloud, Master is looking for me, is it going to take me to play in other worlds? Cough cough. Senju coughed slightly, a little uncomfortable. He really forgot to take Tsunade to play this thing. What should I do now? Take Tsunade with him. It seems to work too. Yes, I want to take you to other worlds to play, but the flow of time in this world is very slow. Senju Changsheng asked aloud, if we come back in the past few months, several years may have passed here, are you sure? Of course I'm sure, as long as I'm with the master. Tsunade said, blushing inexplicably appeared on her delicate pretty face. Senju Changsheng pretended not to see it, suppressed the strange feeling in his heart, nodded and said, you are sure, and besides, I don't know how long it will pass, so I have to be psychologically prepared. If more than 10 years have passed since I came back, everything will be different. In the past, the main purpose is not to take you to play, but to investigate a person. I can't protect you at all times. In the event of an emergency, how far do you have to run and stay away from the battle site, understand? His face was solemn, and there must be no slack on this point. The existence of Uchiha Dream is very mysterious and powerful. If you arrogantly despise the other party, you will definitely suffer. Understand? Tsunade nodded obediently, as if she had changed back to the obedient little loli once again. Senju Changsheng laughed blankly and let Tsunade clean up. He also has a lot of things to deal with, first of all the promise he made to Obito. Before going to Pirate World, you have to help Obito resurrect Lin, otherwise Obito has to turn on Infinite Tsukuyomi again, which will be troublesome. Senju Changsheng first found Uchiha Itachi and other senior Konoha leaders and announced his departure. Then he found the cemetery where Lin Yaoyuan's body was buried, released the resurrection magic, and resurrected him on the spot. Since she was only a teenager when she died, she is also only a teenager now. After being resurrected, Lin was a little dazed, until she saw the tearful Obito and Kakashi, which eased slightly. Senju Changsheng didn't stay too much, and left here directly. He was in a hurry. Go back home and board the 10,000 Realms chat group, notify Limru, and then click on the teleport function. The familiar purple-black channel opened, Tsunade was full of excitement, and finally she could go to other worlds to play again, and she eagerly walked in first. Senju Changsheng followed closely, and the picture before him changed. The fishy smell of seawater came out, and the sound of splashing water was crisp and sweet. A large group of strong men of different heights lined up in a team. Whitebeard's tall body stood in the most center position and stepped towards Senju Changsheng and others. Hulla, my sons, welcome to Mr. Immortal. Whitebeard said with a loud voice and laughed. Welcome Mr. Immortal. The crowd bowed in unison, with undiminished respect and sincerity in their eyes. They all still remember that in the battle 2 years ago, Senju Changsheng's performance was amazing. Now Marine still has his reward order hanging over there, which is 8 billion berry. One person swept 3 admiral, freely from the 10,000 soldiers, and rescued the Fire Fist Ace. The Bone King's supernatural magic and resurrection magic have subverted the world's understanding of life and death. This feat directly pushed Senju Changsheng and Bone King to the level of 4 emperors. But since the war at the top, Senju Changsheng and the Bone King disappeared from the sea without any news. Neither Marine nor the pirates have seen the two of them. Apart from Ace and Whitebeard, no one knows where they have gone. Welcome to you, Mr. Immortal. Ace walked up with a smile and hugged Senju Changsheng. Although the members of the group respect him as Mr. Immortal, for the group members, Senju always treats each other as friends. Welcome to Limru and the disciples of Mr. Immortal. Ace did not forget Limru, a member of the group, and Tsunade, who came with Senju Changsheng. Limru chuckled, and after a few small words, he began to look around curiously. A fleet of huge ships, Haki crisscrossing the sea, is quite magnificent. Senju Changsheng and Tsunade chatted with Whitebeard and other crew members and gradually got acquainted. At night, a group of people held a luxurious feast on the sea. The boats are connected together, and the movable area is extremely wide, just like a small moving island. On the sea, wine is naturally indispensable. Even though neither Senju Changsheng nor Tsunade has the habit of drinking, they still drink a little. To Senju Changsheng's surprise, Tsunade drank only one drink, and drunk lying on the fence, vomiting. There seems to be a big gap between this and Tsunade in the original work. Or, Tsunade's drink volume is very poor, but the original book drinks a lot, so it's a little better. Vomit. In a quiet corner beside the ship, Tsunade was lying on the fence, with a pretty face and a soft face. Drink some tea, look at your drinking capacity, don't learn from others to drink if you don't. With a wry smile, Senju held a cup of sober tea and handed it to Tsunade. Just as she was about to take it, Yusho accidentally bumped into the cup. Almost half of the sober tea splashed out and fell into the sea. Also, I didn't drink it just to give you face to master. How can you blame me? Tsunade seemed to be completely drunk, and even put away his respect, and raised his jade hand to shoot at Senju Changsheng. But the alcohol on her head made her shake her body and fell into Senju Changsheng's arms within 2 steps. Sniffing the familiar breath, Tsunade chuckled, his jade hand wrapped around the master's request. If you weren't my master. How good would it be? After all, Tsunade fell asleep directly. Senju Changsheng held the sleeping Tsunade and stood there for a long time. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 205. Dream. In the endless darkness, a crisp voice came from all directions. Master. Senju Changsheng stood there in shock, and Tsunade, who was only a few years old, ran towards him. He naturally opened his arms to lift Tsunade up. But the picture in front of him changed in vain. The adult Tsunade turned his back to him and slowly turned his head. Allure smiled on her delicate face. Master, are you really going to be my enemy? Enemy with you? What are you talking about? Senju said in a daze. But we are now in a hostile state. Tsunade smiled sweetly, and the surrounding pictures seemed to be torn in space, and the cracking sound made the space distorted at this moment. Tsunade with long golden hair suddenly turned black. Tsunade's face also turned into an unfamiliar face. She smiled at him. Master, have you forgotten it? She is obviously a stranger, but Senju Changsheng feels very familiar. Master, the call came again. He opened his mouth, just as he was about to ask. Wow, the surrounding sounds and sights suddenly disappeared. Senju Changsheng opened his eyes, and Tsunade's familiar face came into view. Master, what's the matter with you? His complexion looks a little bad, and he obviously didn't do anything to me last night, so why is it imaginary? In the second half of Tsunade's sentence, he muttered in a low voice, with a hint of unnoticeable disappointment in his eyes. Senju Changsheng was covered with black lines, and then he realized that everything just now was just a dream. Wrong. He paused slightly and immediately realized the problem. Now that Senju Changsheng has been cultivated in ancient times, since he cultivated immortality, he has not known how long he has not dreamed. Even if you sleep, you will automatically devote yourself to cultivation. Without distracting thoughts, it is impossible to have any dreams. Could it be a premonition, or trace fragments of the future? Senju murmured. Those with strong cultivation bases are able to capture traces of the future. Even going through the past, the present and the future is not a problem. Foreseeing the future is actually not a strange thing. But this dream is too weird, without the front and back Rocky, it is unpredictable, as if it was just a weird dream. Who is the strange woman in the dream, and why is Tsunade involved? Was it because he slept with Tsunade all night last night? Each question filled his mind, which made Senju feel very uncomfortable. Since Uchiha dream appeared, he felt his pressure doubled. System sign in. Senju Changsheng sighed, and the familiar mechanical voice rang in his mind again, which finally made him awake a bit. Open black lens bracket ding. Dahai has successfully signed in. Congratulations on getting a box of 100% contraceptive condoms. Close black lens bracket. What a mess. Hearing the content of the reward, the brain that was somewhat awake at first suddenly got a headache again. These weird sign-in rewards are of no use at all. Senju Changsheng took a deep breath, and after tidying up the messy clothes, he got up and walked outside. Although he was very honest last night, he didn't do anything to Tsunade. But Tsunade sleeps very dishonestly, always picking up his clothes. Facing Tsunade's words last night, Senju Changsheng thought a lot in his heart. He understood what Tsunade meant to him, and knew what he was avoiding, but he couldn't cross that hurdle. I can only go one step at a time. Out of the room, the pirates got up very early, and most of them were practicing hard. The heavy dumbbells went up and down very smoothly, and the pirates could not see the tiredness, and they kept doing repetitive movements. They practiced very seriously at all times, and did not relax at all. Even if Senju was born for a long time, he still failed to stop them. Every powerful pirate has paid unimaginable hardships behind his back. Senju Changsheng walked in the direction of Ace, Whitebeard and others, and accidentally glanced at a newspaper with information about the new Marine Admiral taking office. It was nothing, but his eyes were locked on the photo in vain. One of them, Marine Admiral, is the strange woman he dreamed of last night. This. Senju Changsheng grabbed the newspaper abruptly and looked at the photo with the name, Uchiha Dream, written on it. Many things flashed in his mind. Last night's dream, could it be the ghost of Uchiha's dream? No, she doesn't know my existence. Last night's dream should be the mark of the future, but why is it related to Tsunade? He frowned and fell into thinking. Before I knew it, I had already reached the side of Whitebeard and Ace. Mr. Immortal, we got the latest disappearance. The Jinfeng admiral you are investigating seems to be on a mission and went to Dressrosa. Ace will report the collected information. Do you need us to go with you? No, we can go there by ourselves. Senju Changsheng refused on the spot. They are useless in the past. If Ace and them can pass, then Senju will not have to come over. Well, we have prepared a boat for you. Ace had expected this a long time ago. He nodded to the pirate behind him. Soon, Ace and others made a slightly smaller ship. Senju Changsheng took Tsunade and Limru on board the ship at the same time. Limru, you are here to control this ship. Senju Changsheng left a word and went straight back to the cabin to practice. Limru is a very versatile existence, and his small sailing skills can't be difficult for him. It always feels like I was called to be a boatman. Limru laughed bitterly, but did not refuse, driving the boat towards the permanent pointer. Ace not only prepared permanent pointers for them, but also had food for several months, enough for them to reach Dressrosa directly. New world, Dressrosa. This is a tropical island with a holiday style. Known as the land of love, passion and toys, there are a lot of mushroom-shaped rocks on the nearby coast. Also a member of 7 warlords of the sea, the base of Don Quixote Doflamingo. He set up a factory to manufacture artificial zone devil fruit, smile, here, and ruled the entire kingdom. At this moment, Dressrosa is full of fireworks, and a revolutionary war breaks out. At the same time, there was an undercurrent surging, and many forces gathered here. The Straw Hat Pirates teamed up with the villains to start a war. The Doflamingo family turned a large number of pirates and residents into toys, but they were disturbed by the Straw Hat Pirates. These toys became human again and began to retaliate against the entire country. Dressrosa is in chaos at the moment. Besides, there are Marine, World Government, and Revolutionary Army in it. They are all carrying out their own secret missions. It can be described as a mixed bag. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 206 First Meeting in Dressrosa. In the fringe of Dressrosa, fierce fighting is erupting. Boom. The captain of the Red Heart Pirates, Trafalgar Law, flew out, his body covered with scars and bloodline. There was a look of horror in his eyes, and he shouted, "Room." A barrier shrouded 100 li, and his body shape disappeared in an instant, replacing it with a piece of gravel. As this going, it's really boring. At this time, a crisp and sweet female voice rushed out from the black mist. A beautiful-looking woman, dressed in a snow-white palace dress, walked away from her slender thighs and walked out of the smoke. She smiled and looked at Doflamingo with a playful look in her beautiful eyes. Why, don't you run away? Faced with such a fierce attack, Doflamingo did not take the opportunity to escape. Should you say that you have confidence, or is there a problem with your brain? I'm Shichibukai, I'm from Marine, why should I escape? Doflamingo grinned, speaking calmly. But the sweat stains on his forehead had already betrayed his nervous heart. Doflamingo knows very well that this person is an unscrupulous lunatic. Shichibukai. Ha ha ha. The woman seemed to have heard the most ridiculous joke in the world, and smiled in a flashy smile. The moment Chingchung's face smiled, it was like 1,000 flowers blooming, making the surroundings gloomy. What does Jinfeng Admiral mean? Is it possible that you are going to do something to me, Shichibukai? Doflamingo's forehead was blue, and his eyes under the sunglasses were full of fear. The stunning woman in front of me is Marine's new admiral, Uchiha Dream. Sorry, Shichibukai has no meaning. It is a wrong thing to plunder openly. Uchiha Dream sneered. No more nonsense, his figure flickers with thunder in vain. In an instant, she and Doflamingo both moved. Boom. The explosion sounded into pieces, the two figures pierced through, and several small islands exploded into powder on the spot. In just a few breaths, they fought for hundreds of rounds. Doflamingo's body flew again and again, bleeding all over. Kang. At this moment, a sword light flashed, slashing between Uchiha Dream and Doflamingo in vain. Wow. The purple aperture flew past, and the powerful gravity pressed an abyss in the center of the two. Fujitora, aren't you also against Shichibukai? Why? Do you want to stop me? Uchiha Mengchao's face was covered with frost. If Fujitora can't give her a satisfactory explanation, she doesn't mind killing the new Marine Admiral. Uchiha Dream, your approach is too extreme. Although I don't like Shichibukai, this kind of direct killing is meaningless. Fujitora smiled while holding a long knife, slightly opened her pure white eyes, and said lightly. To abolish the Shichibukai system, what is needed is a fundamental solution, not Shichibukai. What is the use of Doflamingo after killing it? Will other Shichibukai be born? Huh, do you think the world government will agree? It's better to kill it directly, and the one in charge will kill one until the world government doesn't dare to set up any Shichibukai again. Uchiha Meng sneered. She is going to fight against the world government. If the world government wants to get rid of her, then she will wipe out the entire world government. While the two were talking, Doflamingo had stood up again. This time he was really beaten and fled into Dressrosa without looking back. Since you insist on stopping me, then I have to cut you off. As Uchiha's dream voice fell, thunder dragons bloomed from her body, and the sound of dragons resounded through the sky. Fujitora's face was dignified, and the fruit of gravity went straight into the sky, falling down with meteorites. Boom 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 boom. The roar sounded again, golden thunder and lightning fell from the sky, and the violent elemental energy turned this place into a purgatory on earth. It's terrible. At the same time, Senju Changsheng and others were watching from a distance, and Limru couldn't help exclaiming. Thunder Fruit. Senju's face was dumbfounded. Judging from the opponent's ability, it should be Thunder Fruit's ability. But isn't Thunder Fruit in Enel's hands? Is Enel dead? In addition, he also saw many abilities from Uchiha dreams, such as Ninjutsu, Zanpakuto, breathing techniques, etc. There were even some abilities that overlapped with Senju's longevity, which completely made him determine the Uchiha dream, possessing the ability to travel through other worlds. Mr. Immortal, when shall we go out? Limru asked aloud. Look again, this Uchiha dream didn't use her full strength, she was just playing with each other. Senju Changsheng's face was plain, and the evil king's true eyes opened, capturing the flow of power in Uchiha's dream. Very vast, comparable to him. Huh, Tsunade-chan, what's wrong with you? Suddenly, Senju Changsheng found that Tsunade seemed a little abnormal. She was staring at Uchiha dream, as if possessed. Tsunade. Senju Changsheng gave a soft drink, and put his palm on Tsunade's shoulder. In an instant, a strange wave rippled out of Tsunade's body, glowing with a dark golden color. The dream of Uchiha, who was crushing Fujitora, suddenly had a meal at this moment. She suddenly turned her head to look in the direction of Senju Changsheng and others, and smiled. In the blink of an eye, he came to Tsunade and reached out to touch it. Naturally, it is impossible for Senju Changsheng to let her succeed. Although she doesn't understand what the other party is going to do, it must be weird. Boom. The two fists touched each other, exploding a powerful shock wave. Limru immediately released the stunned Tsunade bound by the universal silk, and the space magic was activated instantly and disappeared from the spot. Boom. The thunder exploded between Senju Changsheng and Uchiha Meng, both of them backed up at the same time, reoperating the energy in the body. Who are you? A look of surprise appeared on Uchiha Meng's face, and her beautiful eyes sternly looked at the handsome young man in front of her. When did such a character appear in One Piece? The power that the opponent had exploded just now did not seem to have used his full strength. You are not from Pirate World. Her eyes changed, and she smiled. You are not the same. Senju Changsheng responded calmly. Who can't pretend to be deep, just say half of the words, and the momentum will naturally come up. This is the first time he and Uchiha have met in a dream, and they seem to be communicating in harmony, but in fact they are all exploring each other's weaknesses. Uchiha Meng looked at Senju Changsheng a few times, and suddenly realized, the prohibition I left some time ago was touched by someone. Is that person you? Unexpectedly, besides me, there are other traversers, but our meeting does not seem to be friendly. Uchiha Meng suddenly put away his momentum, raised his delicate chin, and said leisurely, if I'm not mistaken, you should be the one who interfered with the war before. No wonder Ace is still alive. From beginning to end, Senju Changsheng did not say a word, but Uchiha Dream guessed everything. This caused Senju's brows to frown slightly. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 207 Fighting Beyond the Plane. Uchiha Dream analyzed a lot of information about Senju Changsheng, but he was not without gain. From what Uchiha Meng said just now, the time when the opponent came to the pirate world should have been during the 2-year training period of the Straw Hat Pirates. On top of the war, Uchiha Dream only has understanding, but not much. What's the matter? I'm here to investigate you. It was just an accident. Senju Changsheng said, glancing at the direction of Tsunade and Limru, thousands of miles away. The accident he was talking about was naturally the weird light erupting from Tsunade. What are you going to do just now? He asked Uchiha Meng sharply, his tone too strong for rejection. If you don't figure out what Uchiha dreams about Tsunade, he will probably be awake all night. I don't know, she feels very attractive, as if I can become one with her. Uchiha Mengyu touched his face with his hands, a morbidly reddish glow appeared on his face, and he smiled unabated. Do you want to know too? Let her merge with me, is she your girlfriend? But she looks familiar, isn't it Tsunade? Her voice gradually increased, and the light in her beautiful eyes flickered. But in the Hokage world I have been too, Tsunade is not so beautiful. Sure enough, in a different Hokage world, will the appearance of people change? Seeing the strange Uchiha dream, Senju Changsheng had to re-examine this person. Now he has thoroughly recognized the character of Uchiha Dream, she is a complete lunatic. Wow. Suddenly, a wave of air emanated from Uchiha Dream, and his aura gradually skyrocketed. The snow-white long skirt swayed in the wind, looking like a fairy walking out of a scroll. Immediately, she rushed in the direction of Tsunade at a speed that could not cover her ears. Senju Changsheng immediately rushed to intercept. The primordial cultivation base burst out unreservedly, his body size also enlarged in an instant. The law of heaven and earth. Facing Uchiha Dream, he did not make any reservations. It has been successfully judged by the evil king's true eyes that this person's cultivation is definitely not weaker than his primordial ancient. The tall figure attracted the attention of the entire Dressrosa. Senju Changsheng punched out, and the terrifying force swept the power of heaven and earth. The sea was surging in an instant, turning into a tornado of waves and rushing out. Boom! The surging waves swept out, and the corners of Uchiha Meng's mouth rose slightly, not afraid. She also punched out the 4 god-tier beast visions of Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Suzaku, and Xuanwu. Roar! The 4 elephant beasts roared in unison, rolling up the fluctuations of the 4 attributes, flushing away the sea water and spiritual energy in front of them, turning them into droplets of water. Slap! Lightning burst out of Uchiha's dream, the space was torn apart at this moment, and the purple void cracks gradually spread. Uchiha Meng was surrounded by golden lightning and turned into a golden phoenix 10,000 feet tall, with golden flames spitting out of her mouth. The slight incitement of the wings can trigger a turbulent tsunami. Huh! The phoenix's sharp chirping sounded through the sky, and the sound waves spread. The entire Dressrosa covered their ears in pain, bleeding in their noses and mouths. As this Jinfeng's power, where did Marine find the monster? The injured Fujitora used the gravity fruit ability to resist the sonic attack with difficulty. His heart was shocked to the extreme, and he couldn't figure out where the 2 men came from. Even if there are hidden masters, they should not be so strong. This kind of strength is even more terrifying than the 4 emperors. Is this sea going to change? Huh, this person's appearance. Suddenly, Fujitora noticed Senju's appearance. Isn't this one of the mysterious powerhouses who rescued Ace in the top war? No wonder it was so terrifying, and why he would fight Jinfeng. Judging from the attitude of the 2 just now, they seemed like old friends. It's actually the law of heaven and earth, it seems that you have been to a lot of worlds. Uchiha's dreamy voice came from Jinfeng's mouth. Jinfeng incited her wings to fly, drawing a bright starry sky scene. Boom! Senju Changsheng collided with the golden phoenix, fighting on the sea, and set off a terrible wave. Golden flame thunder and lightning spewed out from Uchiha's dream mouth. This sea area instantly turned into a thunder pond, and golden flames were burning on the sea. Senju Changsheng resisted with the golden light curse, and the 6-path samsara fist punched 6 abyssal black holes in the air, devouring thunder and fire. The fighting between the 2 was very fierce. There was still a fight in Dressrosa, but because of the coercion of the vast energy, at this moment, they were lying on the ground collectively, unable to move. Whether it is a pirate or a marine, or a strong man in the revolutionary army and the world government. Everyone was so crushed that it was difficult to get up, and they could only stare at the 2 tall figures in horror, fighting like gods. Both Senju Changsheng and Uchiha Dream gradually revealed their cards, exploding with power far beyond the pirate world. The sky and the earth are sometimes dimmed and sometimes bright. The vast aura is like a wave, destroying a lot of buildings. Many people were smashed to death by buildings, and some were submerged by the rushing tsunami. The gods suffer from fights with mortals. These pirate powerhouses did not expect to die. The day they died, they would be so aggrieved. Fortunately, the battle between Senju and Changsheng gradually moved away from Dressrosa, and they were slightly relieved. But the turbulent air can still clearly feel that the battle over there is particularly terrifying. When the big bell rang suddenly, Uchiha dreamed of offering a magic weapon, the voice shook. The blood in Senju Changsheng's body surged, as if to burst out of his body, uncontrollable. He hurriedly sacrificed the chaotic green lotus, the buzzing sound made the surroundings fall into silence, and the faint chaotic ripples spread, covering the whole body. At the moment when the Chaos Qinglian appeared, the influence brought by the Uchiha Dream Clock was alleviated. This big clock is dark, and the black fog oscillates slightly. Every time it echoes, some civilians in Dressrosa can explode into blood fog on the spot. What magic weapon is this? Senju Changsheng was a little surprised, and Chaos Qinglian flew out from his palm and blasted towards the opponent. Regardless of his magic weapon, can it still be against the Chaos Supreme Treasure? Once the Chaos Treasure comes out, any magic weapon must be pulled aside. Chaotic Qinglian. How could it be possible? Uchiha Meng was surprised in his heart, and said in amazement, have you ever been to the original prehistoric world? Feeling the power of Chaos Qinglian, Uchiha Meng finally showed shock on his face and immediately dodged. When the Chaos Qinglian flew, 20 petals floated out and turned into sharp swords. Call out, call out, call out. The sharp sword made a sound of breaking through the air, and a space crack appeared in the position where it passed. Uchiha Meng controlled the big clock to block in front of him, and the blade collided with the big clock, making a loud noise. Puff! Uchiha vomited blood in a dream, and her body flew out suddenly. The battle between the 2 was the first to win. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 208 Interception Mission. Uchiha Mengjiao's body flew out and set off a huge wave on the sea. The golden phoenix on his body changed from a physical to a phantom, a little hazy. Flying swords followed closely. Uchiha Meng once again resisted with the big clock, and under a series of shocks, she was shocked to the point of bleeding from the corners of her mouth. Bang! The dull sound exploded, and her big clock was directly penetrated by a flying sword made of green lotus petals. Damn it, my chaotic clock. There was a colic in Uchiha's dream, and it turned out that the chaos treasure is the chaos treasure. As the innate treasure, the chaos clock is totally unstoppable. Puff! Suddenly, as the chaos clock exploded, a sharp sword pierced into her body, and the chi of chaos ran wildly in her body. Cough. Uchiha Dream called his body's spiritual energy to suppress chaos, and accompanied by a mouthful of blood, finally relieved the raging in the body. Isn't it just touching your wife? As for the heavy hand, I am not a lesbian. Uchiha Mangyu wiped the bloodline at the corner of his mouth, and a black line appeared on his white forehead. The bloodline on her body quickly stopped, and the wound healed quickly at this moment. In less than half a breath, it will be back to the original. Feeling the aura fluctuations in Uchiha's dream, Senju raised his brows immediately. Immortality and longevity. Who are you? Why do you even have immortality and longevity? The opponent has too many abilities to overlap with him, and even has the power of immortality and longevity. At the moment Uchiha Dream released the undead longevity technique to repair his body, he finally felt the cultivation of Uchiha Dream. Taiku. The same immortal cultivation base as him. I don't know, I was born into the Uchiha family, but I know the plot trend of major works, and I am also exploring the reasons. Uchiha dreamed of a long scent, and Yusho gently lifted her black hair, smiling intoxicatingly. Are you not a traverser? Senju was taken aback when he heard this. Passer. Ha ha ha. Maybe, but I don't have the memory of my previous life. Maybe it was a failure to cross. Uchiha Meng licked the corner of his mouth, and beautiful eyes locked in Tsunade's direction again. She feels that all the answers she wants are in Tsunade. No matter how much the price is paid, it is absolutely necessary to figure out all this. Huh, no matter if you say it is true or not, I won't let you touch Tsunade. Senju Changsheng didn't dare to let the other person touch Tsunade before he didn't understand what value would happen. Who knows what will happen to the contact between the two? He always feels that once Uchiha Dream touches Tsunade, something unimaginable will happen. You can't help me if you don't believe me, but I must know the truth. I hope you can understand me. Uchiha Meng gave a faint smile, and his primordial cultivation base exploded. Boom. The chi and blood condensed into a golden idol, and the breath was exactly the same as that of the idol's prison guard. She was so fast that she dragged out the afterimage, and flew towards Tsunade. The sharp sword transformed by Chaos Qinglian shot out, Uchiha Dream quickly dodged, offering a sword of red flame. Ding ding ding. Crisp sounds and flames suddenly appeared, and the strong impact made Uchiha's dream figure regress. She adjusted her direction and used the force of the impact to accelerate towards Tsunade. Senju Changsheng informs Limru in the 10,000 Worlds chat group, let him take Tsunade directly across. It's useless, no matter where you travel, I can follow your traces. Uchiha Meng Yinling laughed, scared Limru hurriedly started teleportation. But just as he was about to bring Tsunade into the transmission channel, the Qian Great Sword swept away the Haoyu Sword energy. Boom. The red sword energy smashed into the transmission channel, blowing up strips of purple-black light, and the sky and the sea were trembling. Limru immediately released the space magic and retreated again with Tsunade. Uchiha Dream chased him, and behind him, Senju was approaching quickly. 24 flying swords flew in the air, cyan ripples drifting, tearing the space apart. Puff puff puff. The piercing flying sword scratched Uchiha Meng's body with bleeding marks, she ignored it, still chasing. She did not challenge Senju Changsheng, only dodge and block. Possess the immortal cultivation base, and the cultivation technique is the immortality longevity technique. Uchiha Dream is fearless, although Senju will be injured by long life, but it is not fatal. This is also the main reason why she dares to be so reckless. In order to be able to touch Tsunade, it can be said that everything is done. Ding. The group owner releases an interception mission. Single quote. Quest content. Intercept Uchiha Dream and help the absent Tsunade evacuate. Single quote. Limited number. 7. Single quote. Reward points. Unknown. Single quote. Fixed personnel. Kakarot, Monkey King, Yi Fan, Gojo Go, Saitama, Ains Gong, Shigeo Kageyama. Single quote. This task is a fixed candidate mode. If you agree, you can click the confirm button. Single quote. During the mission, the perspectives of the participating members will be presented in a live broadcast throughout the whole process. Single quote. A sudden task caused the group to explode in an instant. Not only is the mission sudden, but also because the strength of the fixed personnel is particularly terrifying. Although they don't know the strength of Kakarot and Shigeo Kageyama, the strength of the others is the top existence in the group. What kind of powerful enemy has the group owner encountered, and he wants to dispatch all the powerful in the group? Senju Changsheng. Come here when you have time to help intercept one person. The other person's ability is a bit strong. You can do what you can. Ains Christine. I didn't expect someone to be able to force Mr. Immortal to ask for help. How sacred is the other party? Let's go now. Kageyama Shigeo. Huh, why is there still me? I don't want to use abilities. Monkey King. I will come to my grandson. Kakarot. Is there a strong opponent? It's really exciting. Saitama. It's a familiar line. It feels like I've seen it somewhere. Doriyashi. Actually, there is no me. Portgas D-Ace. Mr. Immortal, are you in trouble over there? Let's go to support you too, right? Senju Changsheng. No, if the people in the mission can't stop, you won't be able to stop even more. The enemy is very strong, and all the combatants have paid attention to me. Gojo Satoru. Ah, it seems that I have to be more careful. I am a little scared when I say that. Yi Fan. Master, wait for me. Limru Turn Pest. Don't relax, this guy is a bit scary, and my magic can't do any harm to her. While retreating, Limru also turned around to release all kinds of destructive magic, but they were all smashed by Uchiha Yumi. The magical energy was all broken into light spots and spilled into the sea. You really can run like a rabbit, you are Limru, right? I happen to have a countermeasure. Boom. Uchiha Mengjiao's body was knocked into the air by Senju Changsei, but the smile on her face did not diminish as if she was sick, and she didn't even pay attention to the injuries on her body. A magical array suddenly appeared in her hand, and the light shot straight into the sky. A prismatic barrier suddenly formed in the sky, enveloping the entire radius. Holy purification enchantment. Uchiha Meng let out a soft cry. At the moment when the magic enchantment was formed, the reminder of the great sage also sounded in Limru's mind. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 209. Information has been bound by the wide area magic. The space intervention skills leading to the outside of the enchantment cannot be used, and the space transfer cannot be activated. Close black lens bracket. Tell me that I am bound by another wide area magic and cannot use skills in the enchantment. Close black lens bracket. The cold voice of the great sage sounded in Limru's mind. Ah, what the hell is this, resistance? Limru's mouth twitched slightly, and he hurriedly gave a soft drink. Boom. There seemed to be thunder in his mind, and the reminder of resistance failure made Limru's heart sink to the bottom. Wow. The Qian great sword whizzed down, swept down along with the hot energy. Senju Changsheng's Six Paths reincarnation punch also followed, punching Uchiha Mengji Bairoyu on the back. Boom. A white smoke rose, and Uchiha's dream figure disappeared in vain. Body replacement technique. When he reappeared, he was in front of Limru and Tsunade and reached out to Tsunade. You were looking for death. Senju Changsheng was furious, and the terrifying aura made the sky and the earth dim, and the sea sent a tsunami of hundreds of meters in an instant. Boom. Suddenly, 7 figures walked out of the void. Kakarot was the first to stand in front of Uchiha's dream, with golden light all over his body, and a violent sound of punches. The vast power fluctuations made all the members of the group who came to be disgraced, and the live broadcast of the 10,000 Realms chat group was also started. Tony Stark. Good guy, is this guy Kakarot or Shigeo Kageyama? Shajircho Shiyu. It's so amazing in the first place. Zhang Jiwei. This kind of strength is not weaker than Sun Dasheng. Hehe, I didn't expect that besides the group leader, there is such a powerful person. Monkey King smiled. With Kakarot's punch down, Uchiha Dream was directly shocked and flew out. After several consecutive somersaults, he stabilized his figure again. She looked at the 7 figures that suddenly appeared in front of her with beautiful eyes, and suddenly there were new memories in her mind. But whenever she wanted to think about it, there seemed to be an invisible force that blocked everything, causing her to have a splitting headache. I don't seem to be able to use magic, which is a bit embarrassing. Ains Ul Christine's voice was embarrassing. Fortunately, the space ring can still be used. He took out 2 world-class swords from it and held them firmly in his hands. Melee Mage, invincible, what a powerful force, I really want to fight with you now. Saitama, who has hair, looked at Kakarot and said sternly. I suddenly want to go back, I feel like I shouldn't have come. Shigeo Kageyama, a short man, scratched his face and said helplessly. He didn't plan to order it, but when he thought of the existence of other worlds, he especially wanted to come over and take a look. As a result, this click was directly transmitted. Seeing Kakarot's punch, Kageyama Shigeo was a little shocked. What kind of people are these? Too scary. Monster, take my grandson a stick. Without waiting for everyone's reaction, Monkey King, rushed out first, intercepting missions or something, he wouldn't think about it. As long as you kill the person you want to intercept, you no longer need to intercept. Smelly monkey, get out. Uchiha's Dream is not a vegetarian either. Seeing someone dared to come and ruin her good deeds, it can be said to be a suffocation. The vast cultivation base poured out, punching out the phantom of the 4 elephants and beasts. The 4 brilliant rays of light exuded the breath of divine beasts, and their strength was not weaker than Senju's 6 Paths Samsara fist. The shock caused the pirate plane to tremble slightly. Boom. Uchiha dreamed of shaking Wukong's golden cudgel with his fists, and while not letting the wind fall, he actually shook the Monkey King back on the spot. Shit. The Qian great sword reappeared, and the raging fire burned on the sword, and the sword swept across the sky, making the sky crimson. Monkey King Monkey was knocked into the air by this sword, the golden hair on his chest turned black, and there was a smell of meat. Primordial cultivation base, can the great sanctuary be shaken? Kageyama Shigeo used his superpowers to stabilize the figure of Monkey King, with a look of worry in his eyes. The other four rushed out at the same time, launching a shower attack on Uchiha Yumi. Kageyama Shigeo uses superpowers to form entities on the surface of the water for everyone to settle down. Boom. Saitama gathered his whole body strength and punched with all his strength, and the atmosphere scrolled in an instant. A huge boxing shadow appeared behind him, as if a blue dragon was awakening. Fuck off, you who have grown hair are weaker. Uchiha Meng yelled coldly, punched out, and the four elephant beasts rushed past Saitama. An indescribable force crushed on Saitama, his face suddenly changed, and his body flew out uncontrollably. Gojo Satoru took off the blindfold directly, and the boundless space of the domain expanded. But just as the realm was about to submerge Uchiha's dream, her pupils turned into a bright jasper color at this moment. Infinite void. Uchiha's dream gesture sets seal, and there is a realm exactly like Gojo Go. Boom. Two boundless spaces collide and cancel each other out. Uchiha Dream flicked his finger, and the mighty power of heaven and earth suppressed it. With an ordinary sound, Gojo Satoru plunged into the sea on the spot. Kageyama Shigeo hurriedly used his abilities again to get Gojo Satoru also up. The Bone King slashed out a mighty wave of air with a big knife in his hand, raging and fearless. Call. Yi Fan's Sendai cultivation base also exploded, and the 9 secrets revolved, and his whole body bloomed with brilliance, shaking the world. Void cracks spread in the space, like a vast starry sky. However, the two of them just rushed to Uchiha Dream, but they were directly swept over by Senju Changsheng with aura. These people are mentally ill. Didn't they see that Saitama and Gojo Go were stunned? They still have no brains. Senju Changsheng was full of black lines, only then did he feel that the strength of the group members was too weak. So strong, is this guy a monster? Saitama and others showed solemn colors at the same time. They felt that they were not facing a beautiful girl, but an immortal god. This sense of powerlessness seems to be facing Senju Changsheng. It's suffocating. At this moment, all members of the 10,000 Realms chat group finally realized that this task was not as easy as before. No wonder Mr. Immortal will post a mission and call so many people over. A group of people rushed up, only to be confused by the other side, like a chicken. Limru, take Tsunade across the world. Senju Changsheng yelled softly and stood in front of everyone. Kakarot and I will fight the enemy together, and the others are ready to intercept Uchiha Dreams at any time. Everyone looked terrified, except for Kakarot, collectively retreated, protecting Limru and Tsunade behind them. The purple-black passage is opened again. This is the passage to the Dragon Ball world. Senju Changsheng knows that Uchiha Dream also has the power to travel through the world, and he is not sure that Uchiha Dream will not chase it. Therefore, it is better to take Tsunade to travel to a higher level world. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 210 Memory Link. The duel of two primordial powerhouses will definitely explode the space of Pirate World. Only Westward Journey World and Dragon Ball World can withstand the impact of the two. Journey to the west is naturally impossible. There are still many immortals and Buddhas staring at them, and they may stabbing knives in the back at any time. So I have to go to the Dragon Ball world. Limru dragged Tsunade, who was still dazed, into the passage directly, and the picture in front of him changed accordingly. Uchiha Dream once again incarnates as a golden phoenix, and his strength has been raised several levels. Senju Changsheng's bloodline of the ancient sacrament shook, transforming into a chaotic vision, and greeted him head-on. Rumble. The two wrestled again, thunder and flames shook, and the golden idols collided arbitrarily. The whole pirate world is shaking, countless strong men are panicked and feel the oppression of unparalleled power. Boom. Kakarot was full of golden light, his hair turned from black to golden, and from golden to blue. Super Saiyan Blue, also known as the god of Super Saiyan. He rushed up with blue light all over his body, joined the collision, and exploded the terrifying air wave. After hundreds of rounds of collision, Uchiha Dream fell into the bottom of the sea. The aftermath of the impact blasted all the Sea Kings in this sea into blood mist. Senju Changsheng and Kakarot also chased down to the bottom of the sea, and the fist imprints turned into Haumenos Grande shadows blasted out, like a blow from a god, shaking the sea. The combined force of the two made Uchiha Meng have no power to fight back. Just before Uchiha Meng's delicate body fell to the bottom of the sea, it enveloped the whole body with a layer of spiritual energy, blocking the immersion of the seawater. She is a thunder fruit capable person, but seawater cannot be her natural enemy. Uchiha Dream swims fast in the sea, like a flexible fish, as fast as lightning. Naturally, you have to escape if you can't beat them. Knowing that it's still reckless if you can't beat it, it's no-brainer. And her most important goal now is to find Tsunade, not to fight these two monsters here. A Senju Changsheng is ridiculously strong, and as a result, a Kakarot is added, which is simply killing her. Call out. In the sea, golden Qigong waves shot out from Kakarot's hands. Uchiha dreamed of circling his whole body with Qi, kicking all these Qigong waves away while retreating, and the Sea Kings in the ocean were injured by him. She followed the traces left by the opening of the transmission channel. Mangekyo Sharingan turned, and a space channel suddenly opened in the seabed. Uchiha Dream's Mangekyo Sharingan ability, the left eye is an infinite space, and the right eye is a space torn. Originally, her right eye ability was only used as a spatial cutting ability. But on a certain day, she suddenly discovered that the space of the entire world seemed to have changed, as if it had split into two worlds. So she pursued the traces of space, and finally found a crack, which she cut through with the power of Mangekyo. So far, Uchiha Dream has opened a journey to other worlds. She traveled through thousands of worlds, relying on the memory of the original work in her mind that came from nowhere, and searched for all kinds of secrets of exercises. I thought that I was the daughter of destiny, and from then on, she crossed the world and lived forever. As a result, today I met Senju Changsheng and so many characters in the original book. For the first time, Uchiha Meng began to suspect that the daughter of destiny that she was acting was actually just a joke. This also made her even more eager to know where the memory in her mind came from. Uchiha Dream stepped into the transmission channel, and Senju Changsheng and Kakarot also rushed in. The battle of the three people descended from the world of pirates to the world of Dragon Ball. Seeing Uchiha Dream chasing, Limuru immediately released magic. In the Dragon Ball world, there is no barrier that prohibits magic. Boom. The splendid and radiant magical arrays are formed one by one. The magic array rose rapidly under the feet of Uchiha Dream, forming the mighty power of destroying the world and exploding in an instant. 1,000-foot mushroom cloud suddenly rose up, and it was raised to the ground by this explosion for thousands of miles. Fortunately, this is not the Earth, but on a barren planet, otherwise it will inevitably result in charcoal. That's it. Magic is really ridiculous. Call. Sword chi swept out of the thick smoke, blowing up the wind and blowing away the clouds. The moment Uchiha's dreamy cold voice fell, people had already flashed in front of Limuru. Mangekyo Sharingan turned into a green color, as bright as emerald. Boundless space. The power of the domain expanded and covered Limuru in an instant, and there was no chance to even exclaim. Even if Limuru has a great sage, he can analyze and crack it. But this short siege time is enough to make Uchiha Dream do a lot of things. This is Limuru's only weakness. When facing unknown abilities, it takes time to analyze. Come on, let me see how we exist. You are looking forward to it too, right? Uchiha Meng smiled, the surrounding light dimmed a bit. The moment her jade hand was pressed on Tsunade's shoulder, Senju Changsheng teleported out in vain, reaching out to pull Tsunade into his arms. Suddenly, Uchiha Yumi and Senju Changsheng's arms were placed on Tsunade's left and right shoulders at the same time. A weird wave spreads out from between the three. Time seems to freeze at this moment, sound and light seem to become silent and dim. Kakarot and others who had just arrived here all stopped in the air. Even the transmission channel that was about to be closed stagnated, and time seemed to fall into eternity. The twinkling stars no longer refract their brilliance, and the blowing breeze no longer flutters. However, the three of Senju Changsheng still retained consciousness, but their bodies could not move halfway, and their palms seemed to be sucked on Tsunade. A large number of memories flooded into the three people's minds at the same time, which caused headaches. The memories of Tsunade's life poured into Senju Changsheng's mind from his arms. At the same time, all his memories were transmitted to Tsunade, including everything from his previous life. This also means that Tsunade will know that she is actually a character in a work. The same goes for Uchiha Dream. Her memory also poured into Tsunade's mind. At the same time, Tsunade's memories were also known to her one by one. But after Uchiha Meng read Tsunade's memory, he became more and more confused. She didn't find what she wanted at all. The so-called knowing everything didn't happen at all. All she saw was everything that Tsunade had experienced from birth to now. Anything about Uchiha's dreams does not exist. What's going on? Uchiha Meng's heart collapsed. Boom. The three exploded at the same time, and they fell to the ground by the shock. The picture of the world was restored, and Kakarot and others regained the ability to act. Looking at the three people who fell to the ground, they all looked blank. What happened just now? Originally, he looked like he was preparing for a battle, but the picture suddenly changed, and the three of them fell to the ground at the same time. Could it be that it was attacked by a mysterious strong man? Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 211 The Loser of the Eternal Avenue. Everyone present was a little dazed and at a loss. Tsunade, who had been in a daze, finally recovered at this moment. She acquired the memories of Senju Changsheng and Uchiha Dream at the same time, knew that the master was a traverser, and guessed the origin of Uchiha Dream. I see. Tsunade murmured. There was loss and joy in his eyes, and his heart was mixed, and he didn't know what kind of expression to make for a while. At this moment, Tsunade began to emit golden light spots, drifting in the direction of Uchiha's dream. Even Uchiha Yumi's body opened up and became gradually transparent and illusory. She looked at her delicate body in disbelief, and said in a daze, "The power of the plane. What is going on? The world plane is expelling her and bringing her back to her own world." The plane is repairing itself. This is the will of the Tao to bring all the wrong factors back to the right path. Just like Zoro accidentally travels to the Hokage world and will be automatically brought back to the pirate world. The passage of Uchiha's dream can't be supported by the power of the system. Her crossing was based on her own Mangekyo ability and the rift in the world, so she sneaked over. She could have been smuggling without being discovered by Dadao Will. But since she traced the traces of the transmission channel of the 10,000 Realms chat group and came to the Dragon Ball world, she was naturally noticed by the Dao Will. Because the spatial transmission of the 10,000 Realms chat group is a formal channel formed by the blessing of the system. You, a stowaway who enters the world through the front gate, will naturally be noticed by Dadao Will. How can it be? I haven't figured out everything yet, I can't go back. Uchiha Meng's complexion was earthy, and he whispered in a crisp voice. She looked at Tsunade with beautiful eyes. You know if everything is right, you have my memory, tell me, what the hell is going on? Since she didn't get the information she wanted, it must be that the information has been known to the other party. Just ask Tsunade, and she will know everything about her origin. There are more and more light spots on Tsunade, as if it will disappear in the next second, and a large number of golden particles float in the direction of Uchiha's dream. Senju Changsheng rushed to the side of Tsunade and hugged him, making no secret of the worry in his eyes. Tsunade-chan, what's the matter with the light spots on your body? His voice trembled a little, because Tsunade had learned of his memory. I don't know how Tsunade would treat him as a master. Master. Tsunade smiled, and his jade hand touched Senju Changsheng's face. I'm fine, don't worry, we will meet again, just leave temporarily. What are you talking about? Is it because Uchiha dream affected you? I will kill her now. Senju said harshly. At the same time, the primordial cultivation base broke out, and the green lotus of good fortune turned into a huge sword that shocked the world, and directly cut off the Uchiha dream. But Tsunade suddenly held his hand, shook his head and smiled. If you want to kill her, you really can't see me. Having said that, her bright forehead lightly touched Senju Changsheng's forehead, and through her divine consciousness, everything she knew was passed into Senju Changsheng's mind. The memories of Uchiha dreams were all heard by Tsunade, and Senju Changsheng felt a lot of things in his mind. From the moment Uchiha dream was born, he had a lot of exercises in his mind, as well as the stories of major works. She became a strong one step by step, and even awakened the unique Mangekyo Sharingan. Until one day, the Hokage world had a crack in vein, as if it was caused by some force. As a result, Uchiha dream began to smuggle into thousands of worlds, collecting various exercises and secrets. Seeing this, Senju Changsheng has already understood the rifts in the world. The hard steel was caused by his collision in the Marvel world. That collision did not break the parallel universe of the Marvel world, but broke the parallel universe of thousands of worlds. Even if Uchiha's dream is in the thousands of worlds, it is impossible to meet Senju Changsheng and others even if he has the ability to travel through. If she travels to the pirate world, she will also go to the pirate world in the original book, not the pirate world that has been disturbed by the 10,000 Realms chat group. The Uchiha dream appeared because of the disorder of the parallel universes of thousands of worlds. She came to the wrong place. Without the collision of Marvel, Senju Changsheng and Uchiha Meng could only meet after becoming eternal. However, this seems to have nothing to do with the state of Tsunade in front of him. From beginning to end, Uchiha's dream experience did not overlap with Tsunade. Master, I am a loser on the Eternal Avenue. Tsunade leaned in Senju's arms and whispered. She has turned half of her body into a spot of light, pouring into Uchiha's dream body. As soon as he said this, Senju Changsheng was taken aback, and he understood what Tsunade meant. Eternal. This is the last realm of the immortal longevity Kungfu. Reaching eternity means immortality, immortality, and immortality. But a person who can really reach the eternal state needs various factors such as chance, understanding, opportunity, talent and so on. Among them, the talent column restricts almost everyone in the world. Tsunade is naturally one of them. She may have a talent for cultivation, but it can be said that reaching the eternal realm is completely impossible. So after countless years, Tsunade will inevitably die at the end of his life. You mean, Uchiha dream is the next life you? Senju Changsheng was stunned, and he felt incredible at this moment after being reincarnated. No wonder Uchiha dream has so many original works, as well as exercises such as the immortal longevity Kungfu and the immortality restoring prison force. It turns out that all of this comes from the memory of Senju Changsheng. Tsunade acquired the memory of Senju's longevity. With this memory and inheritance, she was reborn into the parallel world of Hokage at the end of her life. When the previous life and the next life meet, both are living people. This violates the law of the world, and one of them must disappear. There cannot be two people in the world, but they are the same soul body. This involves the past, the present and the future, breaking the world order. Originally, the two should compete, but one survives in the end. But Tsunade knew that he did not have the potential to follow the eternal avenue, so he actively chose to give up and integrate himself into Uchiha's dream. Why are you so stupid? With me, how could you not be able to reach eternity? Senju Changsheng yelled out angrily. I don't know, but her birth proves that the future me has failed on the eternal avenue, maybe. As Tsunade spoke, his body turned into a light spot, and only a clear voice remained. On the eternal avenue, there are any special restrictions? Looking at Tsunade, whose hands were scattered into light spots, Senju Changsheng suddenly turned back to look at Uchiha Dream. I saw that the other party was completely illusory and became extremely transparent. Finally, with Tsunade's light spot, they disappeared from this world together. She returned to her parallel world. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 212 Unlimited Potential. Both Tsunade and Uchiha Dream disappeared in front of everyone. Senju Changsheng stared at the empty hands in a daze. His heart was shaking violently, and a large number of cracks began to appear on this barren planet affected by mood swings. As if in the next second, this planet will explode. Everyone in the 10,000 Worlds chat group fell silent, leaving only the chat group's prompts. Mission failed. No reward for all members. After 10 seconds, the teleportation channel will be opened and all members will return to their respective worlds. Single quote. For the first time in the history of the 10,000 Realms chat group, the mission failed. The live broadcast screen is also automatically closed after 10 seconds. Except for Kakarot, who was a native of the world and did not leave, everyone else left here silently. They are very heavy and don't know what to say. Instead of forcibly speaking to increase embarrassment, it is better to remain silent and let Mr. Immortal be quiet. Mr. Immortal, do you want to come for a fight? Kakarot said with a bewildered expression on his strong wrist. Kakarot can see that Senju's longevity state is very broken at this moment, so he needs to vent. He doesn't know how to comfort others, but it is still possible to accompany each other to discuss and vent. Boom. Suddenly, this barren planet was blown to pieces on the spot. Senju Changsheng burst into a terrifying aura, and the planets exploded one after another, like fireworks in the universe, beautiful and terrifying. Kakarot dodged in shock, staring at the shattered universe around him in shock. The mere release of gas in the body created such a terrifying formation. Kakarot suddenly realized that the battle between Senju Changsheng and Uchiha Dream might be more powerful than he had imagined. The scope of spreading power is completely different from the damage and sight caused by concentrating power on a single target. With Senju's longevity immortal cultivation base, the scene created by the spreading power of the range is the scene of the planet explosion just now. When he fought Uchiha Yumi, all his power was concentrated on the opponent. The bursting power is all taken advantage of by the opponent, and the energy is not overflowing, and the destruction of the surrounding things will naturally decrease. The environment he destroyed during the battle with Uchiha Dream was nothing more than the slight energy overflowed from the collision of the two. Most of the energy was poured into the opponent's body, and standing there for another person, he was beaten into blood mist long ago. This is the reason why those who can explode the planet do not let the planet explode when fighting. Because their power has been all taken up by their opponents, or resolved. In Senju's longevity levitation universe, he didn't go to a showdown with Kakarot, which didn't fit his style. But to say that it is not uncomfortable on the inside, that is false. Senju Changsheng grew up watching Tsunade, and has been by her side since she was a few years old. Now that Tsunade disappeared, his heart was empty, as if he was parting from life and death. Is Tsunade dead? No, it's not dead. She assimilated herself to Uchiha Dream, which is her second life status. At the moment Uchiha's dream appeared, Tsunade actually ceased to exist long ago, and it was destined that Tsunade would live a second life. Uchiha Dream is Tsunade, but it is Tsunade's second life. The future Tsunade will pass away in the avenue. As for why it failed to achieve eternity, Senju Changsheng was very puzzled. With the ability to sign in, wouldn't he still be able to help a disciple achieve eternity? Or does it mean that there are really special restrictions on the eternal avenue, which makes Tsunade unable to achieve eternity? Senju Changsheng sighed. Thinking so much is of no use, Tsunade said that she will meet again, which means she is still alive. Uchiha Meng returned to his own world, and he couldn't find it at all. Without the group members in it, there would be no world coordinates at all. If you want to find the Uchiha Dream, only he can achieve eternity so that he can freely cross the plane world and find it again. I don't know who will take the lead after Tsunade and Uchiha Dream assimilation. Also, after assimilation of Tsunade, will it be Tsunade himself? The more I think about it, the more irritable. I don't want to think so much anymore. System sign in. Ding. Dragon Ball World sign in is successful. Congratulations on getting the potential of Super Saiyan. Close black lens bracket. Unlimited potential. Senju's reward for signing in is not to become a Super Saiyan, but to gain the unlimited potential of Super Saiyan. This reward can only be regarded as an auxiliary ability, but it is of great value. Countless Tianzhou are stuck on potential. Once they have unlimited potential, they represent the infinite broad road for the future. Senju's longevity potential breaks through the ceiling at this moment. As long as he keeps practicing, he can always become stronger and even become an existence beyond eternity. Ains ul Christine. Mr. Immortal, we apologize for the disappearance of your disciple. It is because our strength is too weak that led to the situation today. Tony Stark. Oh, Yi Fan. Master, sorry. The great sage Kishin scratched his head irritably. It was my old grandson's fault, and I was not strong enough. Limru turned pest. I am all to blame. I was too weak for failing to protect you from coming. BB Dong. Well, don't blame yourself anymore. Zhang Jiwei. Oh, the old man felt sorry for this, but Mr. Immortal's disciple should not have died yet. Yun Yun. God said it was right, Tsunade Sauce also said before, and we will meet again. Senju Changsheng. No need to comfort me, I have adjusted my mentality. Sha Zichiyu Shiyu. Although Mr. Immortal said so, we are still a little worried. Who can adjust his mentality so quickly? But Senju Changsheng suppressed the sadness in his heart and transferred more energy to cultivation. If you want to see Tsunade as soon as possible, you can only become stronger quickly and become eternal. Rin Tosaka. Well, since Ms. Tsunade is not dead, don't everyone be so sad, and with the power of Mr. Immortal, life and death are under control. Rin Tosaka. If Miss Tsunade really died, it would be fine if Mr. Immortal was resurrected again. Although she didn't understand the causal relationship, Rin Tosaka's words did make sense. With the ability of Mr. Immortal, how can he be stumped by life and death? If you really want to share the worries for the group owner, you should work harder to become stronger, and strive to be able to contribute to the group owner on the road in the future. True Coco. What Ms. Tosaka Rin said is right, so let's not guess randomly. Izumi Sagiri. Come on, Mr. Immortal. Tanjiro Chiamon. Harm. Mon Yashi. Everyone, let's discuss some passionate topics. Was. Does anyone want to come to our world? There is a bit of trouble here. Although it is a bit outdated, we need the help of Mr. Immortal and everyone. Chiaman Tanjiro. Ah, the permission to cross is in the hands of Mr. Immortal, and his consent is needed. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 213. Senju Changsheng. What's the trouble? I'll go there directly. In order to be able to become stronger, even if he signs into Kamen Rider World, he may not get any good things, but he still wants to try. Only by signing in can he become stronger faster. Was. Thank you, Mr. Immortal, for the great kindness, then I will make a long story short. When the Devil King travels through time, he wants to kill Chongpan Zhuanggo. What? Seeing Waz's message, Senju Changsheng suddenly felt stunned. His original sadness and disappointment also faded a bit. In the world of Kamen Rider, kings of every devil have different identities. There is a theatrical version that Takiwa Zhuanggo is just a puppet, not a real king of the devil. But in online dramas, the king of every devil is indeed Takiwa Shogo himself. Anyway, the parallel world of Kamen Rider is very chaotic, and Senju Jengsei can't determine which plot line this Takiwa Shogo is on. Isn't the future king of every demonic time, not Takiwa Zhuanggo? But even if Changpan Zhuanggo is really a puppet, why would the king personally cross over to kill Changpan Zhuanggo in every demonic time? Senju Changsheng. Let me go over now. He turned his head and said to Kakarot in the distance, I'll go to help first, and I will come to me later if I have something to do. Okay. Welcome Mr. Immortal to visit often. Kakarot smiled and waved, then teleported away. Senju Changsheng also walked into the teleportation channel leading to the world of Shiwang. Time King World. There were fireworks everywhere, civilians fled, various urban buildings collapsed, and some people and things were floating in the air. A golden and black figure walked slowly across the ground, his arms waving rhythmically like a concert. The whole world is spinning and fluttering with his movements. Destroy this world. The king of every devil, like a middle two boy, laughed loudly, and the roaring sound seemed to be responding to his answer. Takiwa Shogo, thank you for the night watch you collected. I will continue to be the king of this world. The king slowly walked towards Changpanzhuang and said every devil. Waz and Menyushi are also standing here, beside them, it is Takiwa Shogo and Gates. The four of them have become Kamen Riders, but they are seriously injured and hard to beat. Mon Yashi has become the Kamen Rider Immortal, but he is still lost to the King of Demon. It's not how strong the King of every devil is, but the King of every devil in front of you is completely different from the original. Waz, what the hell is going on, aren't you under the devil? Gates asked impatiently. Waz straightened his waist and said solemnly, I don't know. There is no record of this in history. He is not the Demon King I know. The King of every devil, gather all the power of Heisei Kamen Rider, and become the King of Time. But this one in front of him was not the King of the Devil who had assembled the power of the Heisei Kamen Rider. It is the Super Devil who has gathered all the power of the Kamen Riders of the three eras of Xiaohei, Heisei, and Reiwa to implement the three eras. The power of the King of the Devil has far surpassed the King of the Devil in history. Such a big change happened here, but the King of every devil in history did not come over. I am afraid there is only one reason, that is, the King of the Demon Time in history has been killed by the King of the Demon Time in front of him. In the web drama of Shiwang and Diki, there are 7 Shiwang. It's not surprising that there is a king of every devil. My strength will never be given to you, I am the one who wants to be the king. Takiwa Shogo turned his watch, and the power of 20 Kamen Riders merged into his body, transforming himself into the emperor. The phantoms of Kamen Rider merged into his body, emitting dazzling light. Boom! Emperor Chong rushed forward and greeted the king of the evil times frontally, pressing his fingers on his body many times, and the names of all the Kamen Riders sounded. Drink. Several Kamen Riders flew out of the void, collectively launching a night kick against the king of devil. What a stupid resistance. The king sneered at the time of the devil, and with a wave of his arm, a purple magic array was formed in the air in vain. All the knight's flying kicks shattered in an instant. Takiwa Zhuanggo, who turned into a Chongwang, was shocked and flew out on the spot, flashing thunder and lightning on his body. With a bang, he changed from the Kamen Rider form back to a human. There were many wounds on his body, and half of his shirt was stained with blood. Your Majesty the Devil, Zhuang Wu. Waz and Gates ran to Takiwa Shogo at the same time, very worried. Okay. No need to fight, Mr. Immortal is coming over, let's retreat a little bit. Men Yashi calmly changed back to a human, and even the driver was put away. The arrival of Mr. Immortal means the end of all events. His calm behavior made Gates startled. What nonsense are you talking about, Mr. Immortal, are you going to abandon this world? Gates suddenly grabbed Menyashi by the neckline and yelled. Let go, wait and see, it's over. Men Yashi grinned and pushed the excited Gates hard. At this moment, the purple-black space channel suddenly opened. Except for Waz and Menyashi, everyone was surprised. Even the king of every devil was stunned. Senju Changsheng paced out of the passage, and saw the surrounding fireworks, without the slightest ripples. He has seen a lot on the battlefield, and has long looked down on life and death. Just after signing in, 24 hours have not passed. I have to stay here for a day. All these 4 weeks have been so broken, which is really troublesome. Senju Changsheng was in a bad mood, but when he saw that there was not even a good place to stay here, he was suddenly even more upset. His arrival attracted everyone's attention. This person. Who? Gates and Takiwa Zhuanggo looked dumbfounded. This person who appeared suddenly, calm demeanor and strange words, made people puzzled. Hey, who did you think it was? It turned out to be just an ordinary person with the ability to traverse. When the Demon King sneered, and immediately waved his hand, the black power of the demon swept out with energy. Facing this kind of ant, he can destroy it with a single blow. Boom. The vast power swept out. Gates and Takiwa Zhuanggo screamed, enduring the pain and rushing, but it was too late. Boom. All the power of every demon acted on Senju Changsheng's body, exploding a layer of aura of fire. But Senju Changsheng remained expressionless, standing still and did not move more than half a minute. He turned his head to look at the king of every devil, and the other party was startled, but he still had time to react in the future. In the blink of an eye, Senju Changsheng had appeared in front of him, his face was cold, and his eyes were full of murderous intentions. He made a buzzing sound with a punch, which was so fast that the space in front of him was almost squeezed, tearing open at this moment. Boom. The king of Feng Moshi only felt that there was an indescribable force in front of him, as if he wanted to tear it to pieces in an instant. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 214 The Power of Fusion. Boom. The moment Senju Changsheng punched, the king of the devil flew out on the spot, smashing several buildings, and the broken rocks rotted into dust in the air. How is it possible? Who is this guy? Without the power of a knight, how could such a terrifying power erupt? While flying backwards, many thoughts flashed through the king of every devil's mind. Immediately after a shadow dangled in front of his eyes, the king did not dare to hesitate during the time of the devil, and the power of the demon broke out completely. The whole world stagnated in an instant, as if someone had pressed the pause button. The power of time turned into a big net and spread, and Senju Changsheng's feet were blocked by the big net, flashing purple-black lightning. Noisy. The violent lightning swept across, and purple and black light flashed continuously in the freeze-frame picture. Accompanied by a loud noise, Senju Changsheng's face was flat, but his aura was like a tiger descending the mountain, breaking through the web of time with 1 foot. Rumble. When the king of every devil was stepped on the ground by him, the concrete floor was lifted up in an instant, and there was still a purple fire glowing under the soil. Buildings within a radius of tens of miles collapsed in the shaking and turned into dust. This scene completely stunned Takiwa Zhuanggo and Gates. Who is he? Gates said with a frown. Is this guy also a Kamen Rider? Takiwa Shogo glanced at Waz and then at the king of the devil who was stepped on, with an exaggerated expression on his face. No, he is not a Kamen Rider, we should respect him as Mr. Immortal. Men Yashi smiled crookedly, his eyes seemed to see through everything. Congratulations. The invincible immortal gods across the thousands of worlds have come to the world of Kamen Rider for the first time and suppressed the king of the devil in the 3 eras. Waz cheered loudly with a look of excitement, and his excitement was even greater than the birth of His Majesty the Demon King. Takiwa Sogo and Gates twitched their mouths at the same time, feeling very speechless. When the smoke dissipated, the king was struggling with thunder and lightning on his body during the devilish period. The king of every devil, who has integrated the 3 eras, is powerful enough to instantly destroy all parallel worlds. But instead of destroying it directly, he chose playful destruction, as if he was enjoying a concert. In this world, no one will be his opponent. As long as Takiwa Zhuanggo is killed, no more kings of the devil will be born, and he will be the only king of the devil in the future. As a result, his enjoyment process led to the arrival of Senju's longevity. Invincible in the world of knights, he was directly knocked to the ground with a punch and kick, making it difficult to move. The power of every demon was destroyed by the opponent, and life was fast passing by. You, who are you? The king of every devil said in disbelief. Could it be that there is still a power beyond Kamen Rider in the world that doesn't even need to be transformed? This fuck is outrageous. He has assembled the power of all Kamen Riders in the 3 eras. Why does the power seem so fragile, and he doesn't even have the power to resist? You don't need to know. Senju Changsheng's indifferent voice sounded. At this moment, he was in a very bad mood, and he had no intention of having fun at all. Boom. The ground sank again at this moment, and the king's armor was stepped into it at every devilish hour, making a crackling sound, as if the armor was shattered. No. The king roared loudly at the time of the devil, but to no avail. Flames emerged from him, and magic arrays appeared in the sky, and there was still time to explode in the future. At the time of evil, Akoku was stepped on by Senju Changsheng and exploded into light, and exploded into fireworks in pain. The king of devil, who possessed the power to destroy the world, was immediately given the second by Senju Changsheng. The ghosts and mechanical soldiers raging around disappeared with the death of the king of the devil. Takiwa Shoinus also lifted the Kamen Rider state and walked towards Senju Jangsang. It's so strong, how did you do it? Ah. Introduce yourself, my name is Takiwa Shogo. Zhuang Wu smiled and stretched out his palm naturally. Senju Changsheng did not refuse, instead of squeezing it gently. My name is Senju Changsheng, a friend of Waz and Menyushi. I need to stay here for 1 day. I hope you can arrange a place for me. Senju Changsheng's tone was flat and didn't say much. No problem, very welcome. Takiwa Zhuanggo was very hospitable and smiled extremely happily. Gate's attitude was relatively cold, and he carefully looked at Senju Changsheng from the side. Thank you Mr. Immortal for your help. There is nothing valuable in our world. If there is any need, we are always waiting. Waz said respectfully. Mr. Immortal, who is a person, things in the world of Kamen Riders can't enter his eyes at all. Therefore, neither Waz nor Menyushi can get the rewards, so they can only treat each other with sincerity. What can be done? Absolutely go all out. Arrange a place for me and get something delicious. Senju Changsheng nodded slightly to the two of them. He didn't even think about asking for a reward. The only thing before in Kamen Rider was the power of Kamen Rider. This thing is of no use to him. Thanks to Mr. Immortal for your understanding. The arrogant Yashi also bowed his head at this moment, stunned Zhuangwu and Gates. Yashi is so respectful to this person. It's incredible. Under the leadership of Takiwa Zhuanggo, everyone came to the watch shop of Uncle Zhuanggo. Senju Changsheng was in a bad mood, so after a casual greeting with Uncle Zhuangwu, he went back to the room to practice alone. It wasn't until 24 hours later that Senju Changsheng woke up from his practice and meditated on signing in inwardly. Open black lens bracket ding. Shiwang world signed in successfully. Congratulations on getting the power of fusion. Close black lens bracket. The power of fusion can fuse everything together. It's like the king of every devil has merged all the Kamen Rider powers together, bursting out power that surpasses all the knights. The reward of the power of fusion is a perfect match for Senju Changsheng. He has too many abilities in his body, although all the grandmasters, but not all of them can be used in battle. Some of the abilities can no longer keep up with Senju's longevity, and almost all of them are in waste. A series of abilities such as Ninjutsu, Sage Art, Breathing Method, Haki, etc., after a battle, almost all rely on the physical body and aura. The power of fusion at the moment just allows him to use the discarded abilities again. If all the abilities gained by signing in for so many years are integrated together, it will be enough to form a huge energy, allowing him to break through to the next realm in one fell swoop. The power of fusion. Senju Changsheng sits cross-legged to meditate, extracts the power of fusion, and starts to merge and sign in to gain all the abilities. Tens of thousands of ninjutsu knowledge began to merge with each other, and the breathing method was activated simultaneously, forming a resonance frequency. Gorgeous brilliance radiated in its golden sea of bitterness, and the chaotic mist made the world within the body look like a fairyland, with clouds and smoke curling up. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 215 Dominate the Universe, the creatures bow down. The world of chaos is undergoing earth-shaking changes in Senju's body. A chaotic world is shrinking at an astonishing speed. Or in other words, the space in his body is being enlarged, so big that it looks like an endless starry sky. One piece after another piece of seemingly the same, but different new world, was born in this universe. Thousands of worlds are arranged and opened, forming a big round ball, like a dazzling starry sky, the stars twinkling, vast expanse. The chaotic world in Senju Changsheng's body has evolved into a chaotic universe. If he pulls a person into his body, it is equivalent to living in thousands of worlds. Rumble. The thousands of worlds formed, under the impact of the energy formed by the power of fusion, began to evolve, giving birth to a complex scene. There is a fairyland with fairy mists, a hell with lava spewing, and a forest oasis full of flowers. The vast energy exploded inside Senju Changsheng, making the whole world of Shiwang tremble. The order and laws of this world are too fragile, and Senju does not dare to stay forever. While sitting cross-legged, his body floated into the transmission channel and reached the Dragon Ball world. He is floating in the universe, absorbing the vast cosmic energy. The primordial realm of immortal longevity Gong began to loosen. At the same time, the power systems that cover the world have also begun to merge with each other. The 5 secrets of the human body: Lunhai, Dao Palace, Quadrupole, Hualong, and Sendai. The 5 realms are united in one, deep to perfection, and the law of the Holy Way is sublimated to the supreme law. A avenue spreads out in front of Senju Changsheng, and inside is conceived the Emperor's law, like a vast starry sky spreading out, leading to the road of the Emperor. Rumble. As Senju's longevity power expanded, the void began to collapse and shatter. Vaguely visible in the void, there are thousands of feet of thunder and lightning, like a wild beast rushing. The Great Thunder Tribulation. The 5 secret realms of Senju Changsheng are united. Jump over Zhundi from Sendai and head straight for the Great Realm. Chaotic Qinglian. Go. He slightly raised his hand, and the chaotic green lotus lingering in the chaotic aura flew out of his body. Qinglian hovered over his head to form a defensive formation, and the black and white yin and yang fish slowly rotated under him. 12 lotus leaves and 24 lotus flowers bloom at the same time, and the lotus seeds exude the light of the 5 elements. Rumble. Thunder surged from the void, and all kinds of strange lights shone on Senju Changsheng at the same time. It looks like light, but in reality it is thunder. The loud roar echoed in the universe, shaking the powerhouse of the entire 7th universe. The god of destruction, Bilis, looked here in disbelief, cold sweat on his forehead. What's the situation? Is it possible that someone wants to destroy Universe 7? Beerus twitched his mouth slightly and asked the angel of the gods, Weiss. It's a strong man, dealing with thunder. Weiss's face was solemn, and the scepter knocked on the ground. Senju Changsheng's tribulation scene suddenly appeared, but within less than a second, the power of Weiss was torn apart by thunder on the spot. Weiss and Beerus were startled at the same time, frowning. It seems necessary to report to the God-tier officer and Quan Wang. On Senju Changsheng's side, under the protection of Chaos Qinglian, he was suffering from the thunder of the Great Emperor. Facing this lightning strike that seemed to destroy the world, Senju Changsheng chose to ignore it, and there was still thunder bombarding Chaos Qinglian. He personally attacked the undead longevity Kung with all his strength, and wanted to make a breakthrough in one fell swoop. Such a bold act, he is the only one in the world who dares to act like this. Boom. Loud noises reverberated in the universe, the sound became louder and louder, and the light was so strong that it illuminated the dark universe. The next realm of Taiku is called domination. There are 2 ways to dominate. A kind of recognition that requires the will of the world. The universe can form a starry sky in the body, and it can have up to 1.08 million worlds. The other is that it does not require any world's approval. Because this kind of existence does not require any recognition of world consciousness has no right to recognize it. Achieve the master with your own strength, create an invincible road by yourself, and achieve the strongest. What Senju wants to take for longevity is naturally the strongest way to dominate. The terrifying energy formed by the power of fusion still surged in his body, bursting out loud, like the roar of a big bell, echoing in the universe. Signing in for 100 years, traveling through thousands of worlds, and accumulating everything that makes him soar into the sky today. The thunder continued for an unknown amount of time, until the moment the thunder dissipated. Unprecedented fluctuations erupted in Senju Changsheng's body, shocking the universe. The holy light fell from the void, and the feedback after the thunder catastrophe made Senju Changsheng successfully assault to the realm of dominance. The Great Dominate. Break through the 2 major training systems at the same time. An unparalleled coercion radiated from Senju Changsheng, covering the entire 7th universe. The Emperor descends, dominates the universe, and the creatures bow down. Whether it's humans or wild beasts, or ants and gods. Under this coercion, all creatures could not resist, including the god of destruction Beerus and the angel Weiss. All the creatures in the 7th universe knelt and bowed their heads in the direction of Senju Changsheng in an instant. They don't know what's wrong with them, but awe inexplicably rises in their hearts, and their bodies can't help but bow to the invisible shadow. As long as a trace of resistance arises, the heart will fall into endless fear, and the body will be wet with sweat. What the hell is going on, Weiss? Bilis kept knocking his head, shouting in horror. The dignified generation of saboteurs was so scared that he kowtows to others at this moment, which has almost subverted his own 3 views. I don't know either. Weiss's complexion was extremely ugly, and he himself was also kowtow to Senju Changsheng, unable to make any resistance. Even Master King, there is no such coercion. Weiss' heart collapsed, feeling that the universe is about to change. This breath is Mr. Immortal, too powerful, he really is an immortal god. Kakarot smiled very happily as he bowed to Senju Changsheng. Kakarot, are you crazy? Why are we out of control? Vegeta sweats on his forehead. As a Saiyan prince, it is a shame that he is kowtow to others at this moment. What annoyed him the most was that his good friend Kakarot was still smiling, muttering something immortal, and the other party's brain was really sick. Wow. Suddenly, Senju Changsheng regained all his aura, and everything seemed to return to the ordinary. If it were not for him to still stand in the universe, I am afraid he would only be regarded as immortal. No one can think of the man in front of him who looks handsome but has no outstanding points. It will be the master of the creatures who let the creatures of the universe kneel and kowtow. At the same time as his aura recovered, all the creatures in the seventh universe finally recovered their ability to act at this moment. The creatures in the entire universe have recovered from the scene just now. Was it the power of the gods? Someone murmured, telling the inner thoughts of all creatures. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 216 Diga's out of power. Ding, Kakarot uploaded a video. Single quote. Limru turn pest. Huh, Kakarot actually uploaded a video. What kind of video will it be? Let me see. Ace Day. Difficult. Is it a small movie? Tony Stark. Huh, how do you know the little movie? Could it be that you downloaded the computer that I uploaded? Seeds. Is there anything weird? Your computer is worthless, shouldn't you have one? Kamen Tanjiro. What is a small movie? Gojo Satoru. A thing that affects the speed of men. Beatrice. Please, can you guys not drive all day? Wu Luki. Little movie. Ah, this. Kira Jing. Let's see what Kakarot uploaded. Yun Yun. Harm. This group members are really difficult to bring. The group members laughed, but they all clicked on the video uploaded by Kakarot. When they opened the video, everyone was stunned. I saw a group of creatures kneeling in one direction, and faintly visible there was a stalwart figure in the direction, standing like a god, exuding invincible brilliance. Kakarot was also a member of the bow, but he seemed a little excited. Polygonum cuspidatum. What's the situation? Kageyama Shigeo. Everyone is kneeling and kowtow. Limru turn pest. What's the situation? Who are they worshipping? Jin Muyan. Knocking at the figure looks familiar. Yi Fan. Master. Shajircho Shiu. Mr. Immortal. Tony Stark. This. Kakarot. Yes, it is Mr. Immortal. His strength is really too strong. All of us knelt and kowtow uncontrollably. Kakarot. It's so exciting. I really want to fight against Mr. Immortal. It's a pity that his breath has disappeared. He should be gone. Saitama. Listening to what you said, I couldn't help but ignite again. Yun Yun. Good guy. BB Dong. Mr. Immortal, is this another breakthrough? Yi Fan. It should be. Master generally does not exude such coercion to frighten creatures. Ains Ul Christine. As expected of Mr. Immortal. Levi Ackerman. Excuse me, I need support. May I ask Mr. Immortal to help release a support mission? Yi Fan. Didn't Tiga go to your place, why do you need support? Zhang Jiwei. Did you encounter an opponent that is difficult to contend with? You can't even beat the little friend Dagu. Zhen Zhao Dagu. Kiki. That's it. My light energy is insufficient, but the number of opponents is a bit too large. Dagu's message was full of embarrassment, and his lack of energy often put him in a dilemma. I really hope that this task can be completed sooner, and then get the golden light charm to recharge myself. From then on, Mother no longer has to worry that he will run out of power. Ding. The group owner releases a support mission. Single quote. Task content. Go to the giant world to support Levi Ackerman and Truehorn Dagu. Single quote. Limited number. 1. Single quote. Reward points. Unknown. Single quote. This task is a campaign mode. Candidates, please click the confirm button. Single quote. During the mission, the perspectives of the participating members will be presented in a live broadcast throughout the whole process. Single quote. Senju Changsheng, who opened the crossing channel and returned to the Hokage world, did not chat in the group, but directly posted the task campaign. Although his cultivation base broke through, his mood did not feel happy because of it. After returning to the world of Hokage, I don't know how long it has been here. Hokage Iwakami has an extra person's head Uchiha Obito. 6th Hokage Uchiha Obito has succeeded in taking the post in accordance with the requirements stated by Senju Changsheng. Both 5th generation and 6th generation are Uchiha families, making the Uchiha family now the strongest family in Konoha. Fugaku is extremely proud of his wise choice. Master, you are finally back. Senju Changsheng returned home. Hinata ran in small steps, her beautiful eyes full of surprises. Hinata is now fully opened, with a curvaceous figure, and a face that was once immature with a bit more mature charm. Senju Changsheng nodded slightly, his voice choked a little and said, yes, I'm back. He didn't know how to continue. The Tsunade thing was really too complicated and it was troublesome to explain. But if you don't explain it, Hinata is not easy to explain. Where is the elder sister? Didn't she go with you? Hinata asked with a smile. Sure enough, it's still here. Senju Changsheng took a deep breath, took a slight pause, and said, whether she is playing in other worlds, the flow rate over there is relatively slow. How long have we been away? In the end, he chose to lie, not daring to tell Hinata the fact, for fear of her thinking. After all, the reincarnation is extremely absurd no matter how you hear it, like a lie to a child. In order not to make Hinata think too much, that's the only way. Sure enough, senior sister is really playful. It's been 6 years since master left. Many people in the ninja world say that you are already. Hinata stopped talking, feeling that it was unlucky, so she didn't say any more. Senju Changsheng can be considered to understand, the original people in the shinobi world thought he was old and dead. But it's quite normal, no one can live so long. Even if he looks young, in the eyes of others, Senju Changsheng is just using some ninjutsu. He already dominated the cultivation base, and he didn't care about these remarks at all. Pursuing the eternal avenue is his end. Ninja world, it doesn't matter anymore. He looked at Hinata, he already possessed the realm of heaven and humanity, and he deserved to be the lady of heaven. The talent for cultivation was really amazing. Hinata-chan, I'm leaving the ninja world. I'm back this time to say goodbye to you. Senju Changsheng and Hinata sat down in the tea room with free and easy smiles. Of course, I will take you to other worlds in a while to find a better cultivation environment. During this time, remember to help me look forward to Konoha. He paused in his voice, and looked at everything around him in his eyes with dismay. After all, I still have to face all of this, but what I didn't expect is that it will come so fast. Originally, he thought that he would live longer in Konoha, cultivate immortality leisurely, and achieve the highest level with the ability of the sign-in system. After eternity, go to a higher plane and take Hinata and Tsunade to travel through thousands of worlds. However, he never expected that Tsunade would fall in the middle of the years and live his second life. The most terrible thing is that the dream of Uchiha in the second life even appeared in his world. It was not until the moment Tsunade left that Senju Changsheng finally realized what position Tsunade was in his heart. That is a relationship and affection that surpasses the master and apprentice. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 217 Kamen Rider Superman. Giant World. Among the two super large giants ye stand, one has become a tattered corpse, and the other is full of fighting spirit and launched a fierce attack on Tiga. Facing a monster with human intelligence and no longer standing and being beaten, Tiga finally realized his problem. He only has strong power, but he doesn't have any fighting skills. But the super giant has a strong fighting ability. Although it can't resist Tiga's attack head-on, it can choose to dodge. The super large giant in the eyes of humans is very slow, but for Tiga of the same size, it is not slow. While the speed is not slow, it also has strong fighting skills. For a while, Tiga felt that he was not facing a giant, but an Ultraman stronger than himself. After dozens of rounds, the super giant was finally killed. As a result, the opponent jumped out of the neck and became the second super giant again. In the original book, after Berthold Hoover became a super giant, he was exhausted and had no energy to make a second one. But now something has changed. Berthold Hoover directly summoned the second super giant, and Tiga ran out of battery power. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. The color timer flashed red, and with the ding dong sound, Tiga changed back to Dagu. Levi Ackerman drives a three-dimensional mobile device to bring Dagu to his partner. Several figures suddenly appeared behind the super giant, one after another, explosives ejected and pierced the giant's neck. Boom. After undergoing 2 transformations, Berthold Hoover, although he defeated the Giant of Light, was exhausted himself. Facing the siege of members of the investigative corps, he was quickly arrested alive. Berthold. Damn it. The Giant of Armor. Lena Brown's face fell into the soil, and he charged forward, his huge body shook the ground and made a rumbling noise. Ding. Congratulations on the success of the mission. The person involved in this mission is Sakamoto. Single quote. At the same time, the 10,000 Realms chat group sounded a reminder. When I saw the selected person, it was Sakamoto. The chat group was quiet, and then various exclamations erupted. Seeds. Isn't Sakamoto a researcher? He really can play. Tony Stark. It should be okay. After all, there are Emperor ride drives. Polygonum cuspidatum. Well, I think it's better not to go for Sakamoto. The enemy is a giant. Shall we let Mr. Immortal draw again? Hearing this, Mon Yashi immediately dissatisfied and said, are you underestimating the power of Kamen Rider? Limru Turnpest reminded. My copy is perfect, but there are even immortal cards in the drive. Was. A perfect copy. I think I can download a Diki driver and experience it. Dor Yashi. Sakamoto. Everyone who is okay, I have no problem at all. In the everyday world, Sakamoto pushed down his glasses, walked alone into the empty alley, and opened the transmission channel. As everyone knows, there are 3 students from the same school in the rear, who have been scared to roll at this moment. Sakamoto, whom they had been targeting, went into a black hole and disappeared. I saw Sakamoto disappear. Am I dazzled? No, I also saw him disappear. Could it be that Sakamoto is an alien? Go tell the teacher. The 3 young men ran away yelling and were treated as neurotic by a group of passers-by. As soon as the picture turned, Sakamoto had already come to the giant world. The surrounding abandoned houses are in dilapidated condition, some areas have been trampled into ruins, and several sounds are floating in the air. There is also a giant wearing armor all over, rushing towards a super large crimson giant. The live broadcast of the Wanji chat group is officially launched. This is the giant, my opponent in this mission. Sakamoto pushed down his glasses, and there was no ripple on his handsome face. Suddenly, he took out the Golden Emperor ride driver from an unknown place and placed it on his waist. An Emperor riding card appeared in his hand, gently inserted into the driver, pushed with both hands, a mechanical sound rang out in the void. Kamen Ride. Decade. Kamen Rider Emperor Kamen, formed on Sokka itself, looks exactly the same as Kamo Yashi's transformation. The corner of Menyashi's mouth twitched slightly. Although my Emperor cavalry is very powerful, not everyone can change it. He actually got the approval of Kamen Rider's power, how is this possible? BB Dong. What I mean by both of you is that if Sakamoto was not recognized, wouldn't he be looking for death in the past? Yi Fan. Isn't this a pitfall? Limru turn pest. Ah ha ha ha. Don't worry, the drive I copied is magically modified, no need to recognize it, you can do it with your hands. Saitama. Amazing. Wu Luki. I really want to try the power of this transformation. Dor Yashi. Fuck. Thank you Mr. Limru for your help. Sakamoto said lightly, and he also saw the chat group information. Immediately he took out a card from his waist, and the character imprinted on it was Saitama in the bald period. In the face of giants, I think Mr. Saitama's power is most suitable. As the voice fell, the Saitama card was thrown into the driver casually by Sakamoto, pushing the driver again with a handsome posture. I don't know if this is a traditional custom, whether it is Kadushi or Sakamoto. Obviously, the first time he transformed himself, he inserted the knight card into the drive in a serious manner. But from the second one, it became a casual throw, as much as you want. Kamen Ride. Superman. Kamen Rider Superman. At the same time as the sound of the machinery sounded, a pattern of cards passed through the Emperor's body, forming a white cloak, which fluttered with the wind. The color of Emperor Chi also changed from red and black to yellow and white. The most unique thing is that the entire head is pure white, with nothing on top of it, just like a bald head. Sakamoto didn't care about this, he stamped the sole of his foot and turned into a flash of lightning and rushed out. Boom, boom, boom. Reiner Brown, the giant of armor, rushed to the super giant, throwing out the rubble in his hand, like a meteorite falling, making a sound of breaking through the air. Several members of the investigative corps died in an instant, blood and residual limbs flew down, and the scene was bloody. The gravel in the hands of giants, in front of humans, is a huge rock. If you hit one of them, you will lose your life. Shit. The members of the investigating corps used a three-dimensional mobile device to dodge one after another, and there was a flash of panic in their eyes. At this moment, Sakamoto quickly came to the side of the giant armor. Bounced to the height of the head of the giant of armor, the Kamen Rider armor burst out with a strong light, condensing the majestic momentum, and punching it out. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 218 One Punch Sakamoto. Boom. The Kamen Rider, who was only 1 meter tall, punched the 15-meter-high giant of armor. A blow that condensed the energy and spirit of the whole body produced a mighty circular wave of air, and all the power was applied to the face of the giant of Kai. Blast in an instant. Reiner Brown, the giant of armor, only felt that his left cheek was suddenly hammered by the giant. The strong force made his tall body tilt suddenly. Immediately, like an offline kite, it flies out at a speed that is hard to catch with the naked eye. Boom. Where his body flew past, the air wave rolled up a 10-foot wide mud pit and gully, and the building was shattered and collapsed in an instant. Finally, he hit a big hole in the wall and finally stopped. The giant of flying armor with one punch. Sakamoto's performance stunned everyone in the investigation team. Everyone stared at the scene with stunned eyes, and forgot to make up the knife. Guru. Someone swallowed and said intermittently, is this a lie? That man in strange clothes just flew Lena away. Who is this guy and how he did it? He is so handsome. The girl Sasha couldn't help exclaiming. Wow. The cloak behind Kamen Rider Superman slammed, and he landed vigorously, once again drew out the card and threw it into the drive. Form Ride. Decade. Cards lined up in the air, and Sakamoto and the cards lifted into the air at the same time, and his whole body changed again. Like a awakened Kanglong, his eyes were locked on the giant of armor. In an instant, as Sakamoto punched out, his body passed through the phantom shadows of cards, and the light on his fist became stronger and brighter. His fist fell on the giant of armor, and his flesh and blood burst into flames. Boom. Under the loud noise, the blood rain was scattered all over the sky, and the giant's corpses splashed all over the wall. Lena screamed and lifted into the air, crashing heavily into the wall. Half of his body was blown to bloody flesh, white smoke slowly rising from his wound. Humans with the power of giants are not so easy to die, and can be reborn with severed limbs at any time. Mission completed. Sakamoto took back the power of the night and pushed down his glasses calmly. The twilight orange light shines through the pothole and showers on him, making his whole person look so dazzling. No matter where he is, Sakamoto maintains his handsomeness all the time, and absolutely does not allow any ugliness to exist. Everyone, I'm leaving first, and this person will be handed over to you. After all, Sakamoto clicked on the task completion button of the chat group, and the transmission channel appeared again. After Sakamoto left, the investigators of the Corps reacted and flew towards Rainer with the three-dimensional mobile devices. Sakamoto came fast, walked fast, and the battle ended sooner. Everyone finally had a clear sense of the power of Kamen Rider. No wonder Menyushi said that the power of the Emperor would be so proud. I really can't see it in the usual battles, but now the picture of the giant being knocked down with a punch is really desirable. Tanjiro Kaoman. This is the fastest task in history, right? Kasumagao Kashiba. The power of the Kamen Rider is indeed a good thing. Tony Stark. I have now loaded the Emperor riding belt into my armor. When I finish it, it will be a cross-age product. Levi Ackerman. Thank you Sakamoto for your help. Jen Zhao Daji. Thank you very much. I am really exhausted. I feel that I should download some fighting skills first. Tony Stark. Fighting skills are really needed, and brute force alone is not enough. Saitama. It's really not good to have power alone. Fighting skills are very important. When I fought with Mr. Immortal, I lost in fighting skills. Beatrice. No, don't you think too much, maybe Mr. Immortal didn't use his best in the first place. Saitama. Well, maybe, but now Mr. Immortal is really getting stronger and stronger. Limru Turnpest. Ah, is Mr. Immortal here? Senju Changsheng. What's wrong? Did you also have a problem? Limru Turnpest smiled awkwardly, looking at the enemy standing in front of him and the surrounding enchantment, and his heart felt bitter. Holy Purification Enchantment. When Uchiha Dream trapped Limru, the barrier used was the barrier of Holy Purification. I thought this was an extremely heaven-defying method, but I didn't expect that the enemy in front of me would actually. Limru was trapped in the barrier again, unable to use any power. Limru Turnpest. I'm trapped, now I can't use magic, I need support. Ains Gong. Is it the kind of enchantment last time? I'm afraid I can't help. I need a physical master in the group. Senju Changsheng was speechless. Okay, I will send another task. This had just finished the quest on the giant world, and finally it was Limru's turn to be trapped. Ding. The group owner releases a rescue mission. Single quote. Task content. Rescue Limru Turnpest. Single quote. Limited number. 1. Single quote. Reward points. Unknown. Single quote. This task is a campaign mode. Candidates, please click the confirm button. Single quote. During the mission, the perspectives of the participating members will be presented in a live broadcast throughout the whole process. Single quote. Rin Tosaka. There are missions again, so frequent. Izumi Sagiri. Before you came, there were very few tasks, and it may happen that there have been a lot of things recently. Yun. I feel that I can participate in this mission. Limru Turnpest. Just to remind you, the opponent doesn't seem to be weak. Yun. Forget it, I still don't participate. Tanjiro Chiaman. Ha, I won't be involved anymore, leave it to you. Gojo Satoru. I think I can grab it. BB Dong. Even Limru will be stumped, the strength should be really terrifying. Yi Fan. I have achieved the sacrament and have great luck. This task is definitely me. Ding. Congratulations on the success of the mission. The personnel involved in this mission is Yi Fan. Single quote. Polygonum cuspidatum Yohito. Ah, I really have luck. Yi Fan. Of course, I took this task. Limru, I will go to your side now. Limru Turnpest. Ah, Brother Yi is here, welcome. Hyuga Sakaguchi. I really come from the same world as you, but reincarnated as a slime. If you insist on being an enemy of me, then you can't blame my brother Yi for being rude. When he knew that the supporter was actually Yi Fan, Limru's tone of voice grew a bit stronger. Hyuga Sakaguchi held a short sword with a calm face. It really is a monster who knows how to disguise himself, and has no meaning for conversation. Suddenly, Hyuga Sakaguchi's speed sword and short sword made a sharp sound in the air, colliding with Limru's short sword into starlight fire. Limru retreated in the collision, and his souls marked a distance of 1 meter on the grass. At the same time, behind him, a purple-black transmission channel suddenly appeared. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 219. Yi Fan walked out of the passage, the great sage breath swept the audience. His arrival made the sky dim, the earth shook, and the space barrier appeared cracks in an instant. The sound of the avenue came from the sky, as if to welcome the coming of the great sage. Yi Fan stepped out in one step, and the whole world was trembling, and the holy purification enchantment was instantly torn apart. He had a flat face, didn't say a word, and raised his hand slightly. The mighty divine power swept the audience, forming a big hand in the sky, flooding the sky with sunlight. Rumble. When the earth-shattering might suppressed, Limru hurriedly shouted, Brother Yi is merciful, she is not a deadly enemy. Boom. The big palm fell, forming a large handprint on the ground. At the moment of falling, Yi Fan stopped in time. Only the air was suppressed, and only a layer of air pressure caused Hyuga Sakaguchi to vomit blood and lay directly on the ground. The short sword in his hand was under this palm, crushing to dust. It seems a bit weak. Yi Fan was stunned, guarding Hyuga Sakaguchi with divine power, resisting the remaining air pressure, and finally saving the other's life. I thought it would be a strong opponent, but turned out to be so vulnerable. The members of the chat group were also stunned. Because of Limru's strength, they were preconceived and thought that their opponents should be very strong. Ahahaha. I didn't expect it either. The main reason is that I can't release my magic, and I feel that the other party is really strong. Limru touched his head awkwardly, his misinformation made a big oolong, so shy. Zhang Jiwei. Harm, the fastest mission speed that Xiaoyu Sakamoto just set was broken so quickly. Polygonum cuspidatum Yoran. Brother Yi Fan is really strong. Kakarot. It made me want to fight Yi Fan too. Yasuo. Yi Fan had just challenged the Emperor not long ago, and the scene was amazing. Saitama. Oh, speaking of this, I also watched it at the time, it was amazing. Shiyu Shajircho. Damn it, why don't you open the live broadcast? Saitama. Sorry, I was so excited at that time, I forgot. Edward Newgate. Hula lala, it's a pity that I didn't witness that wonderful battle. After Yi Fan's task was completed, Senju Changsheng withdrew from the chat group, too lazy to watch the live broadcast and group information. Master is leaving. Hearing what Senju Changsheng had just said, Hinata suddenly became anxious. How come you have to go to other worlds, isn't it the same to stay in Konoha? Ninja world is not without aura, the aura here is also very rich. Yes, I will be away for a while, and I will be back to pick you up at that time. During my absence, Konoha will give it to you and Itachi. Senju Changsheng smiled and nodded, and reached out to touch Hinata's hair for comfort. I want to go with Master too. Hinata said a little bit sadly. Be obedient, it's not that I won't take you there in the future, but now I urgently need to improve my strength, so I can't take you there. Senju Changsheng's voice became a little serious, and he said in the taste of the master, when my business is over, I will take you there. After stepping into dominance, if you want to go further, you must feel the eternal avenue. Only when you have a sufficient understanding of the rules of the avenue, can you capture the traces of the eternal avenue. Senju Changsheng must go to the westward journey world in order to understand the rules of the avenue more easily. The rules of the avenue there are more complete than those in the Hokage world. Hinata looked at his master several times, but he actually had some guesses in his heart, but he didn't dare to say it. She felt something wrong with Senju Changsheng, and there seemed to be a hint of eagerness in her eyes. I am afraid that only senior sister Tsunade can make master anxious. Could it be that something happened to senior sister? Hinata said inwardly, without saying it. I have to say that her mind is really very delicate, and at the same time she knows what to ask and what not to ask. Okay, I'll wait for master and sister to come back together, and take me to find the fairyland. Hinata raised her delicate little head and said seriously. Senju Changsheng smiled and touched Hinata's hair again. I'm leaving first, and I'll be back to take you away then. After all, he glanced at Konoha one last time, waved goodbye to Hinata, smiled and walked into the teleportation tunnel. In Journey to the West. Senju Changsheng found a blessed place in the heavens, and the aura was so strong that the air became a little sticky and moist, which was very suitable for spiritual practice. The time flow of Journey to the West is faster than that of the ninja world. 6 years have passed since the ninja world, but 100 years have passed since the Journey to the West. It's a very suitable place to improve your strength. Retreat here will get twice the result with half the effort. However, before the retreat, it is better to talk to the group members, so as not to make a sudden situation and fail to help each other. Senju Changsheng. I am preparing for a deep retreat, and I have temporarily opened up the freedom to pass through. Senju Changsheng. During this period of time, I have to make an appointment with myself, and I want to travel by myself, but let me remember a little. Senju Changsheng. You must not want to destroy the local situation and affect the cause and effect of the other party's world, understand? Shajircho Shiyu. Self, free travel. Wu Luki. Wow, is there such a great thing? Monkey King. Hey, understand, with my old grandson's 72 changes, you can definitely not be found in any venue. Limru Turnpest. Thank you so much, Mr. Immortal, we must abide by the rules. Saitama. At Ka Luote, I want to discuss with you in the past, I wonder if you can. Kakarot. Of course you can. Come over. There are people in the group who want to learn from me. They can come over. I like fighting the most. Yi Fan. I'll go too. Izumi Sagiri. I want to ask Miss Beatrice to teach me magic. Beatrice. Sagiri-chan is very welcome. Edward Newgate. Whoops. I'm tired of this sea for a long time, and I can finally go to other worlds. What I have more points is that I want to take my sons to other worlds together. Portgas D. Ace. Congratulations daddy. Senju Changsheng. One more thing, I open up the permissions so that if you encounter problems during my retreat, you can help each other, although there is no point reward. Ains ul Christine. Don't worry, Mr. Immortal, the members of the group are all friends. We don't need points, and we are willing to help each other. Mon Yashi. I want to take pictures of every world. Rin Tosaka. Ah, please wait a moment, Mr. Immortal. It won't be long before I am here. I want to start a battle. I hope to find a few members of the group to come and cheer. Scramble. It's the Holy Grail War, right? Senju Changsheng smiled. It's really a little clever ghost. With the help of a group of members, isn't this Holy Grail handheld? It just so happens that he is in a good mood now, so he can take advantage of Tosaka Rin. By the way, group members can also earn points. After all, he will be offline for a long time. Moreover, the group is really scarce. Many people are as poor as ghosts, so they can be treated as welfare. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 220. Dominating Zochin. Ding. The group owner releases a helping task. Single quote. Task content. Help Rin Tosaka win the championship in the battle. Single quote. Limited number. 2. Single quote. Reward points. Unknown. Single quote. This task is a campaign mode. Candidates, please click the confirm button. Single quote. Senju Changsheng chose 2 people, no matter which 2 in the group, they can definitely push Tosaka Rin's moon world. The task this time is completely a welfare task, and it is the same for nothing. Ding. Congratulations on the success of the mission. The people involved in this mission are Kageyama Shigeo and Wuluki. Single quote. Kageyama Shigeo. I actually got it. Kageyama Shigeo was very pleased. Although he didn't like fighting with abilities, there were 2 combatants. He can serve as a support, specializing in protecting Rin Tosaka, just as the strongest shield. As for the attack, it is naturally handed over to another person. Wuluki. Okay, I got it too, please take care of it, Shigeo Kageyama. Kageyama Shigeo. Okay. Tony Stark. Congratulations to the 2 newcomers, this mission was actually snatched by 2 newcomers. Shiu Kasumagaoka. I find that newcomers are especially easy to grab tasks when they come in. Sakamoto in front is also a newcomer. Yun. Cough cough. Perhaps it is a benefit for newcomers, which is really enviable. Zhang Jiwei. Ha. The old man felt that it should be just a coincidence. Levi Ackerman. My task here is also over, but there are bigger problems. True Horn. I don't care. If you still need someone to do a long-term mission, let Mr. Immortal repost it. I can't wait to practice the Golden Light Curse now. Yasuo. Giant. I'm interested. Do you need me to go there? Levi Ackerman. Harm. This time I won't bother Mr. Immortal and everyone, we can solve it. Levi Ackerman. Of course, if any of you are interested in coming to see the giant, I welcome it. Shajurcho Shiu. Want to help with prostitution. But this lady is so kind, this time I will bring a new Gundam to help you. Waz. I feel that this temporary permission to pass through has allowed many people to let themselves go. Ains ul Christine. Just release your nature, Mr. Immortal retreats, just like without a parent. BB Dong. During this time, I will look at you. Yi Fan. I will look at them too. Yun. Haha, supervise each other, don't mess around. Gojo Satoru. That's right. The chat group laughed and laughed. Senju Changsheng then withdrew from the group chat, meditated cross-legged, and went into practice with all his heart. Time flies by. Senju Changsheng devoted himself to the practice, and he didn't hear the affairs of the group. I don't know how long it has passed, and the aura in Dongtianfudi has gradually become thinner from a viscous state. Senju Changsheng could faintly feel that there was a vague avenue calling out to him on the far shore. Domination of Zochin is complete. He breathed a long sigh of relief and pinched his fingers. It was a full 200 years before the retreat. 200 years of cultivating in the journey to the west, Hokage should have passed more than 10 or 20 years. Senju Changsheng meditates here every day, and keeps signing in every day, accumulating with various rewards. But even so, it took 200 years from the beginning to dominate the Zochin. You know, it took him only 100 years to go from condensing chi to dominating. It is conceivable how far the road to dominate the realm is. Fortunately, Senju Changsheng has already felt the existence of the Eternal Avenue. Although it is vague, he can roughly judge the direction. Are you in the void of 10,000 realms? Senju spent a long time living with a body he hadn't moved in 200 years, and boarded the 10,000 realms chat group. See if there have been any major incidents in the group during his absence. As soon as I boarded the 10,000 realms chat group, a large amount of information popped up, and I couldn't find it at all. Senju Changsheng can only look at recent events. The members of the group have a lot of things to learn from each other, and there is more travel and play. As for the mobs and so on, they have not been sorted out. This is all thanks to the mutual supervision of the group members, especially BB Dong and Yi Fan, who have done their due diligence. It is very likely that these 2 people are both puppets and are loyal to Senju Changsheng and should not be sloppy. Would you like to take both Monkey Kings as my puppets? Said to be a puppet, but in fact, it can also be said to be his disciple. Senju Changsheng turned them into puppets, not only to prevent them from betraying themselves, but also to summon them directly when they are in trouble. But judging from the current situation, Senju is already invincible in the world. If you really encounter a powerful enemy, it's useless to call the group members, just like the last time you encountered Uchiha Dream. The power of the group members is not strong. It can be said that after Bibi Dong and Yi Fan became the puppets of Senju's longevity, not only did they not work, but they also prostituted a lot of exercise secrets for nothing. It's not bad to get them under the sect. If I can achieve eternity, it will be fun to cultivate a powerful force. Endless life is desirable, but it will inevitably be boring as time goes by. Life needs fun to be happier. Senju Changsheng. Long time no see, everyone. Gojo Satoru. Mr. Immortal's retreat is over. Ains Ul Christine. Long time no see, Mr. Immortal, we all abide by the rules, please rest assured. Portgas D. Ace. Ha ha ha, long time no see. Yi Fan. Hello, Master. Monkey King. He, Mr. Immortal, have you finally finished your retreat? My grandson has something to look for you. Senju Changsheng. Oh, in trouble, wouldn't it be so coincidental? Monkey King. Harm. It's not that I'm in trouble, but I'm asking for something, he. Senju Changsheng. But it doesn't matter. Kishin Great Sage said with some embarrassment. Yes, there are not many exercises in the group. Monkey King. My grandson's points are all spent, but there are many exercises that I haven't changed, so. That's it. Senju Changsheng understood, this monkey wants to use prostitution for nothing. Senju Changsheng smiled knowingly, and when he was really dozing off, someone gave a pillow. Senju Changsheng. You can do the exercises if you want. I can even teach you all the things I know for free. Upon hearing this, the group members all pricked their ears, knowing that there must be something to be said. Yi Fan. That is to donate blood and blood to Master, and become a disciple of Master. Before Senju Changsheng could reply, Yi Fan was the first to add. Such an assist made Senju Changsheng silently like. This kind of word said by him is completely different from Yi Fan's words. If Senju Changsheng said it, it would definitely arouse the alert of some cautious people. But if someone else speaks it out, people will subconsciously let go of their guard. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 221 Tang San bullies Bibi Dong. I heard that if you donate your blood and become a disciple of Mr. Immortal, you will be able to prostitute all the techniques for nothing. For a time, many people in the group were ready to move. Monkey King. It's just a drop of blood. My grandson gave it. In which world Mr. Immortal is in, I'll go to you now. Senju Changsheng. I am in your world, located in a blessed land 50,000 miles southwest of Shulian Cave. Monkey King. Okay, my grandson will pass now. Kakarot. I also want to worship Mr. Immortal as a teacher. Does your apprentice have any requirements? Good guy, another one for nothing. Just wanting to catch these two fishes, as a result, there is no need to put bait at all, and the other party directly jumped into his big net. Senju Changsheng smiled and responded. Those with strong physical strength, or those with talents that reach my heart's desire, are fine. Senju Changsheng. But at present, apart from those who have become my disciples, only you, Kakarot, meets the requirements. Are you sure you want to worship me as a teacher? Kakarot was overjoyed. Of course, I will worship you as a teacher now. Ains Ul Christine. It's really enviable. I knew I had chosen a warrior profession. Beatrice. What kind of fighter? Are you not a magician, can you change it? Ains Ul Christine. Nothing. Wu Luki. I am so envious, I also want to learn art from a teacher. Rin Tosaka. Envy. Senju Changsheng. Okay, everyone, go back to your own world, the temporary crossing rite will be closed. After all, the members of the group love to sigh, and the wonderful freedom of the world is over. Everyone returned to their worlds one after another. Senju Changsheng also closed the transmission channel, and only Kakarot opened the transmission. He passed through the teleportation channel and was the first to reach Senju Changsheng. Immediately afterwards, the Monkey King, descended from the sky with colorful auspicious clouds, and came to Mary. Come to apprentice to learn art. One last reminder, the essence and blood were refined by me, and they entered my door. From now on, I will never betray you, Senju Changsheng reminded them at last. The two nodded at the same time, their eyes full of expectation, completely unaware that Senju's last sentence contained a lot of things. Call. The power of heaven and earth rolled up, an aura was poured into the two Monkey Kings, extracting 2 drops of essence and blood suspended in the air. 2 golden spirit rings rose from under Senju Changsheng's feet. After such a long time, both Bibi Dong and Yi Fan changed from red spirit rings to golden ones. The golden color represents the 110,000 years, and it is also the representative of the gods. In an instant, the cave mansion was enveloped by a powerful aura. The 2 invisible puppets opened their mouths and swallowed the blood of the 2 Monkey Kings on the spot. Senju Changsheng sat cross-legged again, and while refining the essence and blood, his body was further improved. After a while, 2 more golden spirit rings rose up from Senju's longevity body. A total of 4 golden spirit rings hovered above the head, exuding a bright light like a divine aperture. The inner voices of Kakarot and the monkey were also fully heard by Senju. But what makes him full of black lines is that Kakarot's mind seems to have nothing but becoming stronger. But in Monkey King's mind, there are too many messes to count, and the things you think about in the first second and the next second are completely unmatched. For example, last second, I was still thinking about what is the spirit ring behind Senju's longevity. The next second will jump to if the flat peach is golden, will it taste better? Well, starting today, you too will be one of my disciples. I will teach you here for a while. Senju Chongsheng took back his spirit ring and said lightly, as soon as the time is over, I will go busy with my affairs. I don't know when the next time I teach. So you must listen carefully, I won't repeat it again. The two nodded at the same time, rare serious expressions on their faces. They emptied their brains, ready to listen carefully. At this time, Monkey King, turned his eyes and suddenly asked, by the way, Master, what is the name of our master? Teacher's name. Senju Chongsheng was taken aback for a moment, and then smiled. Well, I didn't think about it, just call it. The Immortal Great Tao Sect of 10,000 Realms, what do you think? Yes, this name is good. Monkey-san didn't understand at all, anyway, he just blew up together. Kakarot touched his head and laughed and said, it's okay, I don't care. In the next few months, Senju Chongsheng taught them all that he could teach and what they were interested in. Immortal Longevity Kungfu, 6 Paths Wheel Revolving Heaven Kungfu, Shenxiang Prison Power, 8-9 Profound Kungfu, and the Heavenly Emperor Sutra uploaded by Yifan, etc., are all taught. The savvy of the two is very high, the strength can be described as rapid improvement, and they are outrageously powerful. Originally, Senju Chongsheng planned to teach for a while, but in the chat group, Bibi Dong asked for help, and he had to stop the idea of teaching. Tang-san, who inherited the 2 god tiers of Poseidon and Asura, launched a swift assault on Bibi Dong. Not long ago, Bibi Dong obtained the inheritance of the gods, became the god of Rakshasa, and cut off Tang-san's life. But the dead Tang-san was resurrected. At the same time, Tang-san also controlled 2 god tier powers. Bibi Dong couldn't stand it, so he had to ask Senju Chongsheng for help. Duluo World. Wuhun Hall. Tang-san took Xiao Wu, who turned into a Shira sword, into the Wuhun Hall. The title Duluo was just a casual ant in front of him. Half of the spirit hall was stained with the blood of the soul master, a whole building collapsed, and the power of the gods crushed everything. Bibi Dong and Tang-san fought fiercely in the air, no one could approach the battlefield between the gods, and all the humans within a radius of 100 li retreated. Whatever stayed, all became corpses lying on the ground. Shit. Tang-san. Bibi Dong, who was wearing a purple god armor, was shot by Tang-san's Shira sword. On her beautiful face, there was a murderous look, and her beautiful eyes were burning with anger. The evil purple aura is permeated, and the 9 Ruksha magic sickles instantly merge into one, condensing into a huge purple sickle with a length of hundreds of meters. Give up, you absolutely can't win, I and Xiao Wu's strength are one, no one can match. Tang-san sneered, holding the blood-red Shira sword in his right hand, and the golden pattern on the sword was extremely gorgeous. Holding the Poseidon trident in his left hand, azure ripples rippled, as if it could calm everything in the world. The human and the sword are one, the soul is one. Boom. 2 vast divine powers surged out of his body, alternating between red and blue, forming 2 domains covering the audience. Poseidon domain and Shira domain, one dominates and the other attacks. Bibi Dong and Tang-san collided again, bursting out the force of destruction, pushing everything horizontally. But under the combined attack of Tang-san's dual power, Bibi Dong, who had only one god, couldn't stand the opponent's attack at all. Boom. Bibi Dong's delicate body suddenly slammed into the hall, the buildings and objects were torn apart in an instant, and the mighty energy made people feel extremely desperate. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 222. Only 7 monsters in the Martial Soul Palace from now on. Everything is over, Bibi Dong. Tang-san's face was indifferent, and the balance of victory was already tilted towards him. The opponent's defeat has become doomed. With the dual gods of Shira god and Sea god, even if he is promoted to the god realm, he is still one of the best. At this time, Bibi Dong, who was leaning on the ruins, suddenly laughed, with a silver bell-like laughter that was crisp and sweet. Tang-san, haven't you thought about how the hidden weapon in the spirit hall came from? Bibi Dong sneered. Tang-san frowned. Regarding the hidden weapon, when he first went to Soto City, he was indeed scared. The Tang sect hidden weapon was something from his previous life, but he didn't expect that this world also had it, and it was a complete set. But no matter how Tang-san pursued the source of the hidden weapon in the end all pointed to the Soul Palace Pope Bibi Dong. If Bibi Dong didn't say anything, he really forgot about it. Now that the other party took the initiative to bring it up, Tang-san's inner doubts once again surfaced. Say quickly if you have something, otherwise you won't have a chance. Wow. Tang-san's Shira sword pointed directly at Bibi Dong, and the killing aura permeated the audience. He has a bad premonition and always feels like something is going to happen. If it weren't for the curiosity in his heart, he would have killed the opponent. If Bibi Dong continued to delay, Tang San would choose to give up knowing the origin of the hidden weapon and directly kill this uncertain factor. Are you aware of it? It's a pity that everything is too late. Is it true that there is no one behind my Wuhun Hall? Bibi Dong smiled, and the Rakshasa god outfit and the sickle were put away at the same time, as if giving up resistance. A little god who dares to move my people and mess up my situation. A young man's voice came from the void, and a purple-black transmission channel suddenly appeared beside Bibi Dong. The aura of the dominance of heaven and earth enveloped the Duluo continent, and all of them knelt on the ground in an instant, their bodies trembling. Even Tang San, who had the dual gods of sea god and asura god, was oppressed to fall from the sky at this moment. What happened? Tang San's expression changed drastically. He only felt that an unmatched force was suppressing it from the top of his head. It was like an invisible mountain range of thousands of miles, oppressing him. There was a muffled bang. Tang San's body turned into a black line and fell. The terrifying force pressed him so hard that he could not move, blood seeped through his skin, his bones rattled under this pressure, and his ribs continued to crumble. Boom! The two god-tier forces exploded at the same time, resisting this invisible force, exploding waves of air and sweeping. Senju Chongsheng stepped out slowly and stood beside Bibi Dong, reaching out to help her up. With a light smile on his face, he didn't even look at Tang San, as if it was not him who suppressed Tang San. Mr. Immortal, thank you. Bibi Dong looked like a shy girl, blushing on her delicate face. If someone else is here, you will definitely be surprised. As a female Raksha, she has acted as such a young daughter at this moment. Yes. Senju Chongsheng responded with a smile, and immediately looked at Tang San lying on the ground. No matter how great his divine power is, he is still lying on the ground and unable to move. Tang San even summoned the clear sky hammer. 9 black and red spirit rings lighted up at the same time, and the pure power gain made his power reach the terrifying ultimate. The space was broken and opened at this moment, and the powerful force made the surrounding field extremely heavy. Boom! 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 The ground sank with the muffled noise, and Tang San's strength rose steadily. Except for the sinking of the ground, he couldn't even get up, so he could only move slightly on the ground. How is this possible? What kind of power is this? The combined divine power of my two gods cannot break free from the shackles. Even the God King can't do this kind of power, right? Tang San was horrified inwardly, and with difficulty he raised his head to look at Senju Chongsheng, and glanced at the opponent's indifferent eyes, unconsciously awe in his heart. Who is God in the end? There is such a monster behind the Wuhun temple. Why haven't you heard of it before? If he knew this guy was there, he must have brought all the Shrek 7 devils over. Who are you? Tang San's voice was hoarse, and he was forced to spit out a mouthful of blood. Senju Chongsheng did not speak, but calmly looked at Tang San, who was embarrassed. Bibi Dong put away his little daughter's posture on the side, and the evil Raksha purple aura once again filled his body. The Pope's Majesty and Haki once again appeared. She stepped on her graceful steps. Lianbu walked away, and stopped in front of Tang San. Boom! Bibi Dong's lavender high-heeled shoes slammed on Tang San's body, breaking a blood hole. Tang San's face was twisted. He had been treated like this once before. He doesn't have any special hobbies, and this feeling is a total torture and punishment for him. But the strength of Senju's longevity was too strong, and Tang San tried his best and couldn't get rid of it. Puff! Bibi Dong raised his foot again and kicked Tang San away directly, and the anger in his heart dissipated a lot. Senju was speechless for a long while watching her retaliatory behavior. Is this really the Pope Bibi Dong he knew? Why isn't Haki glamorous at all? She looked like a little girl. After being bullied, she asked her parents to support her, and then the fox stepped forward to retaliate against her. Senju Chongsheng didn't think too much, but instead thought about how to deal with Tang San. Is it better to kill, or to control the opponent with ability? If Tang San was killed, then the 7 Shrek monsters would come together for revenge. Therefore, if you want to kill Tang San, you have to kill all the 7 Shrek monsters, so as to save follow-up troubles. But the 7 Shrek monsters involved too many light and dark forces behind them, and they couldn't kill them at all. In order to save follow-up trouble, Senju Chongsheng feels that controlling the other party is the best way. It seems that because of the spirit ring, he gradually fell in love with the feeling of controlling the other party. Let the great Tianzhou become their own pawns, and use thousands of worlds as the chess game. A lot of fun. 6 infinite gems flew out of the system space suddenly, and Senju Chongsheng boarded the 10,000 Realms chat group at the same time, asking Tony for an infinite glove. Although he did not ask Tony to make infinite gloves in advance, based on his knowledge of Tony, this guy would definitely make a glove as a collection and store it in his own home. Sure enough, after questioning, Tony really had a glove as a collectible in his house, which happened to be ready to use. Tony agreed very readily to Senju's request for longevity. His world has been saved twice by Senju Chongsheng, and he has been saved as many as 3 times. A glove is not a problem at all. Ding! Start with infinite gloves, with 6 gems inlaid at the same time. From now on, there will be no more Shrek 7 devils in the Duluo world. but only the 7 devils of the Spirit Hall. Senju Chongsheng grinned. A crisp sound of "da" echoed across the sky and the earth. Hum. The white light suddenly spread, covering the entire Duluo continent. The power of infinite gems runs through the audience. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 223 Black Goku. The power of infinite gems enveloped the entire Duluo world, and Senju's longevity master cultivation base shielded all perceptions of the god realm here. None of the gods in this world could react, and the Duluo world had been tampered with by Senju Chongsheng in various ways. No matter the memory of people, the architecture of the mainland, the structure of the ground, etc., all have been tampered with by Senju. History books began to change. Everyone in Starrk Academy was merged into the Wuhun Hall, and the teachers of the academy became the honorary elders of the Wuhun Hall. The 7 Starrk monsters became the 7 monsters of Wuhun Palace. The hatred of the dead wives of Tang San and his son had changed from being killed by the Spirit Hall to being killed by an evil force named Starrk. Now that the big feud has been reported, the Starrk forces have all been annihilated and the mainland has restored peace. Various mainland histories have undergone various magical changes under the snap of Senju Chongsheng's fingers. As for the history of unifying the mainland, Senju did not change it. After all, there are too many things to be tampered with, and bug is prone to appear. Once a bug appears, it will be noticed sooner or later. Therefore, this snap of Senju Chongsheng's changes were mainly aimed at the 7 Starrk monsters and some details. The burst of light from the infinite gems gradually dissipated, and the Wuhun temple, which was turned into ruins, had now recondensed into a splendid building. The 3 of Senju Chongsheng stood in the hall at the same time. Tang San's eyes were a little confused, and the injuries on his body were still there. He has regained his mobility, but he can't remember what happened before. He stood up and looked around in a daze. Finally, his gaze was locked on Senju Chongsheng, and his expression immediately became extremely respectful. "See, Mr. Immortal, may I ask? I know you have any doubts, you only need to know that there was an attack from a foreign enemy just now, but the matter has been resolved." Senju Chongsheng slightly raised his hand to interrupt Tang San. "The opponent's abilities are a bit special, so you have forgotten everything just now. That's how your injury came from. Go back and recover. It turns out that it was Mr. Immortal who saved me. Thank you for your great kindness." Tang San took a deep breath, with a blue light glowing from his body, repairing his injuries. After a few steps back, he turned and left. Bibi Dong was stunned by the weird scene. "Mr. Immortal, what's the situation? This scene is too confusing to watch." Bibi Dong was at a loss. As the Pope, she couldn't understand everything in front of her. "I have tampered with a lot of things. Go and read the books for the specific situation. There are records there." Senju Chongsheng smiled and took off the rotten infinity gloves, and he took all the 6 infinity gems back into the system space. "I'm leaving now. From now on, the full name of the Starrk 7 devils will be called the 7 devils of Wuhun Palace. Go and erect an honor statue for them and pass on the honor." Senju Chongsheng waved his hand and activated the teleport function. After returning to Journey to the West, Senju Chongsheng continued to teach 2 Monkey Kings. Kakarot returned to his own world a month later, leaving only Senju Chongsheng and Sun Monkey to continue his practice here. Time flies. Monkey King, under the long-term guidance of Senju Chongsheng, breaks through and advances again. The first time he broke through, he rushed to heaven. He once made trouble in the heavenly palace, he wants to do it again. Senju Chongsheng smiled bitterly and shook his head, and watched Monkey King fly to the heaven to start earth-shattering battle. The so-called road of learning has already begun. It's just that it is no longer Monkey King who escorted Tang Sanzang, but a 6-eared macaque. Senju Chongsheng didn't pay too much attention to the matter of learning, but only viewed the world from the perspective of a bystander. "Kakarot. I'm sorry, Master, I really can't beat you, I'm embarrassed." Limru Pest. What's wrong with Kakarot? Zhang Jue. Even Kakarot couldn't beat him. What kind of enemy did he encounter? Could it be that Uchiha's dream failed? Kasumigo Gashiba. Surprised expression. Monkey King. "Hey, Kakarot can't do it. My old grandson has broken through now and is tyrannizing the heavenly palace. You have to do more." Senju Chongsheng. "What the hell? If you don't give a reasonable explanation, I will expel you from the teacher's door." Didn't he teach a bunch of things to this Kakarot? He actually asked for help? Could it be that the power of the universe cannot beat Jillian? Or, Black Goku. "Kakarot, I'm sorry, I was ashamed of my teacher, but we really tried our best." Kakarot. "The opponent is Zama's from other time and space. His strength is too strong, we can't stand it. The world of Dragon Ball, the future time and space." Rumble. On the earth covered by black clouds, Kakarot and Vegeta are fighting fiercely with their opponents. All kinds of Qigong waves ran through the world, exploding to pieces, and ruins into pieces. The earth of Dragon Ball time can be said to be the strongest of all planets. Facing the terrifying Qigong bombardment of Zama's, it has not been bombed yet, it is rotten, quite magical. There were 2 people who fought with them, one of them looked exactly like Kakarot. It is the Black Goku that Senju Chongsheng guessed. This is the 10th universe king god Zamasu who used the Super Dragon Ball to make a wish and exchanged bodies with Monkey King 1 year later in that time and space, and was born. The Black Goku in front of him is Zamasu himself. His strength is very powerful, powerful enough to kill all the gods in this time and space. And standing next to him was Zamasu in the third time and space. Under the combined efforts of the two, Kakarot and Vegeta were seriously injured, and their bodies were pierced through several blood holes by the other's Qigong waves. Boom! Boom! Kakarot fell from the sky, and Vegeta happened to fall beside him. No way! Let's retreat quickly and find a way, Vegeta said with a pained expression. But Kakarot grinned. No need, my master is coming. Your master? That immortal turtle? He can do wool? Vegeta twitched the corner of her mouth slightly, completely confirming that there was something wrong with Monkey King's mind. Ha ha ha. It's the master of my other world. He is a strong man who rules the world. There will be no problem. Monkey King did not explain too much. As the words fell, the Black Wukong and Zamasu raised their hands at the same time, condensing a huge Qigong cannon. The pink Qi energy runs through the world, like a planet falling. Terrifying energy swept the audience, and the sky and the earth moved. The restless energy makes the space in the Dragon Ball world show signs of shattering. Rumble. The vast Qigong artillery smashed down, set off a monstrous wave and swept across the sky, and the rocks under the two of them instantly turned into dust. Oops. Vegeta's heart was cold, and her severely injured body couldn't use the Qi in her body. Kakarot was fearless and even smiled triumphantly. At this moment, a purple-black spatial channel suddenly appeared in front of him. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 224 Fierce Battle. Joint Gas Bomb. The super-large energy ball smashed down from the sky, the earth shattered every inch, and the rumbling sound was like the scream of the earth, and the earth was trembling violently. No matter what, under the bombardment of this energy ball, everything was wiped out. Rumble. The indescribable vastness flooded the audience, and the corners of Hei Wukong's and Zama's mouths rose slightly, and the smiles on their faces never faded. But so, with such a powerful body, it's really disappointing that you have cultivated so badly. Hei Wukong stood with his hand in his hand and sneered. We are invincible, no one in this world can beat us. Zamasu also stood up against his hand and responded with a faint smile. The two were like gods, despising everything, as if nothing can enter their eyes. Boom! The joint gas bomb fell and exploded, and it was destroyed in an instant for thousands of miles. At the moment when the light disappeared, 100-jong circular deep pit appeared in the field of vision of the two of them. The pupils of the two suddenly shrank, and they saw Monkey King and Vegeta lying there unscathed. In the middle of them stood a calm youth. A casual and clean dress looks like a young man from a house in a peaceful era, and looks out of tune with the nearby barren ruins. Here's another one. It actually blocked our combined gas bomb. It seems that it has some strength. Hei Wukong's mouth raised, and he returned to the calmness he was just now. No matter who comes over, it can't be his opponent. Even God is not his opponent, what else is there to fear? Master. You are finally here. Monkey King grinned awkwardly, touching the back of his head. He is your master? Vegeta looked at the master of Monkey King in a daze. Why has he never seen or heard of it? After I go back, I will redouble my practice. I can't even beat this kind of stuff. It's really embarrassing to me. Senju Chongsheng said with his back to the two of them. Feng Qingyun said calmly. Yes, I will definitely work harder in the future, Monkey King laughed. The Black Wukong and Zamasu in the sky curled their lips at the same time and said, this kind of stuff? It seems that you still don't understand the power of killing gods. Boom. The Qi burst out of Hei Wukong's whole body, and the pink energy bloomed, shaking the space to tear. His hair turned into pink at this moment, and the energy ray turned this area into a glamorous pink. Super Saiyan Rosé. Hei Wukong rushed to Senju Chongsheng first. He knew that the opponent was not afraid of Qigong cannons, so he didn't try to use energy bombs anymore. With his full burst, Hei Wukong instantly approached Senju Chongsheng. As soon as he hit his first punch, he simulated all the opponent's punching routines in his mind. Prejudged, the second punch came one after another. Hei Wukong's understanding of martial arts has reached the ultimate realm, reaching the pinnacle. Boom! The moment the two collided, the afterimages of the fists rushed towards them, fist after fist, and exploded a strong shockwave. In less than a blink of an eye, Hei Wukong had already punched hundreds of punches. Senju Chongsheng responded with one hand. No matter how fast the opponent is or how fierce the opponent is, he can take it all easily. Suddenly, Senju's longevity speed rose in vain, reached out his hand to the opponent's forehead and flicked his finger. Boom! Hei Wukong suddenly raised his head and flew upside down, flying out 100 miles away, and the gust of wind flying across, swirling the cyclone that tears the space. That Zamasu will be handed over to you. I'll get Black Goku. Senju Chongsheng spoke to Monkey and Vegeta behind him. Immediately, his figure flashed, and he instantly came to the top of Hei Wukong, and he stepped on it as if an idol trampled on him. Boom! With a dull loud noise, dust was flying in all directions. He Wukong, who was smashed into the ground, stared, and two air currents shot out, turning into light to penetrate the sky. Senju Chongsheng slightly raised his head to evade, his fists were dyed with golden flames, like artillery fire one after another. Boom 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 boom. The earth collapsed, and He Wukong was enveloped in pink gas. He was bombarded by Senju Chongsheng's punch, and his body continued to sink. Oh, not bad, it's okay to be able to withstand so many punches. Senju grinned, and the aura on his body began to call parts. With a punch, the space was torn apart with a harsh sound. He Wukong also felt the difficulty of this punch, his complexion changed drastically, and he hurriedly released a yellow-black gas bullet. Boom! In an instant, the center of the two of them exploded, covered with light, and the dust dissipated. The center of the two people exploded a huge pit, which looked like a black abyss, especially terrible. Turtle Qigong. The buzzing sounded again, and all the qi between heaven and earth converged between He Wukong's palms, and the color of this world changed several times as the qi condensed. Drink! As he screamed, the pink, big and thick, turtle Qigong shot out. No matter who you are, under my tortoise school Qigong, you will all be destroyed. He Wukong roared loudly, and the tortoise-style Qigong shot suddenly became even bigger. As if his output came from howling. Boom! Energy enough to destroy the planet shot towards Senju Changsheng, and the surrounding air was restless and hot. Senju Changsheng's face was still plain, and his aura gathered at his fingertips and flicked. Boom! The Gipai Qigong that had just flown in front of him suddenly changed its direction at 90 degrees and flew into the vast universe. A few seconds later, I could hear it vaguely, and there was a loud bang in the universe. I don't know which hapless planet was destroyed by this blow. How is it possible? He Wukong's pupils shrank again, feeling extremely horrified in his heart. Zama's. He shouted at Zama's on the other side. But the other party was attacked by Monkey King and Vegeta, and there was no time to pay attention to it. Damn it! Where did this guy pop up? I have destroyed so many universes, and I have never seen him. He Wukong's face was like dirt, gritted his teeth. Without Zama's working together to fight the enemy, He Wukong felt that he couldn't beat the monster in front of him. Yes, it is a monster. A monster that didn't know where it came from, a powerful batch. If he knew that such a monster existed, he would definitely not choose Monkey King when he made a wish. This fuck is too strong. He has been tempered constantly on the edge of life and death, and he has only forged the power that he is now so powerful that even a god can easily kill him. But even so, he was violently beaten by the opponent. There is no resistance at all. If he could come back, he would definitely not choose any Monkey King. And from the other side's demeanor, under the terrifying battle just now, it seems that he hasn't used all his strength. Thinking of this, a drop of sweat was left on Black Goku's forehead, and he kept simulating the battle scene just now in his mind, trying to find out Senju's weakness. But no matter how you look at it, the opponent seems to have weaknesses all over, but he just can't beat. This is outrageous. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 225 Pursuit of Eternity. Zama's. He Wukong tightened his brows and shouted again. But there was a loud noise behind him. When he looked back, he saw that Zama's was screamed in agony by the joint efforts of Monkey King and Vegeta to launch a Qigong wave. If Zama's hadn't made a wish for the immortality, he would have died at this moment with no scum left. Useless waste. He Wukong scolded secretly, forgetting that Zama's was himself. As soon as he turned his head, he saw Senju Changsheng appearing in front of him, less than 1 meter away. He Wukong's heart suddenly shuddered, and he was about to retreat. Senju Changsheng had already laughed and punched out. I'm still distracted during the fight, so my mentality is really good. Boom. The tearing force acted on He Wukong's body, forming a whirlpool attack, shattering his clothes and chest. A fist pierced his body, a lot of blood overflowed, and the blood on his chest was blurred. He Wukong rolled a few times on the ground, and the qi in his body broke out again and flew towards Zama's at an astonishing speed. But how can Senju live as he wants? The opponent wanted to merge with Zama's, and then fight again. Although Senju is not afraid of the other party's fit, he is too lazy to continue to consume it if he finishes things early and leaves early. The feeling of Eternal Avenue is getting stronger and stronger, it's time to set off. Call. The big golden hand covering the sky and the sun suddenly appeared, a fan out, shattering the void. Dense purple void cracks spread like a spider web, and the breath of the void penetrated in. The sky and the earth changed in an instant, and the sky covered with dark clouds spread out under this spiritual energy and shock, revealing the vast starry sky. Boom. The mighty power that penetrates the heavens and the earth exploded, and He Wukong was directly shot by this palm during the flight and flew from the earth to space. Boom. 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 After hitting 3 stars in a row, He Wukong was covered in blood, and his body spun upside down uncontrollably. He only felt dizzy, and the fainting sensation made him no longer find his direction and center of gravity. There seemed to be a bright starry sky in front of me, so beautiful and so dazzling. Wrong. This is so in the universe. He was slapped into space by the opponent. What is it, so fierce? He Wukong's complexion alternated between blue and red, forbearing fainting in pain, just about to manipulate the chi in his body, when he was about to fight back. Senju came to him with a scream and pointed out, shaking the starry sky. Rumble. The stars in a radius of thousands of miles shook violently under the whistling of this spiritual energy. A huge phantom was suppressed by this finger, like a blow from a giant spirit god, to destroy this universe. Goodbye, hey Goku. No, it's Zama's. Senju Changsheng gave a faint smile, and the phantom of his giant finger fell, and a dazzling light suddenly appeared in the universe. Hum. The explosion sound reverberated in the universe, the entire solar system was trembling, and the huge sound made Wukong and others in the earth fall into tinnitus at this moment. Ah, who are you? Hey Wukong was burned by this terrifying power, and quickly turned into powder in the screams, and in the end he couldn't even leave the dust. The crush of the power of the Great Avenue, no matter how powerful He Wukong is, he will be obliterated by it. Standing in the universe, Senju Changsheng looked back suddenly, and an aura ejected to the earth, pointing directly to the half-remaining Zamas in the earth. Vegeta and Monkey King stepped back at the same time, turning into a muddy Zamas, and was hit by Senju Changsheng's aura. The rumbling sound and the firelight appeared at the same time, just like the thunder of God's bombardment. Zamas, who had an immortal body, also dissipated in an instant, and his soul and body were wiped out by the avenue. The matter has been resolved. I am leaving, you will handle the follow-up by yourself. Senju Changsheng's voice spread from the distant starry sky to the earth, and immediately stepped out without looking back. The space channel shattered under his foot. This is not a spatial channel opened by the chat group, but a spatial channel shattered by Senju Changsheng's cultivation base to dominate Zochan. It leads to the void of 10,000 realms. This is a place that does not belong to any plane world, but belongs to the gap between planes. Said it is a gap, in fact it is as vast as the vast starry sky. Senju Changsheng came after his understanding of the Eternal Avenue. He never returned to journey to the west, nor did he return to the Hokage world. He chose to find the Eternal Avenue first. After eternity, he went back to pick Hinata to journey to the west, and then went to another world alone to find Tsunade. Passing through the passage, what you see is a splendid Milky Way spreading out in the universe. From a distance, it is like a long river of stars, with dazzling brilliance, which is intoxicating. There is no sound around, and there is no breath of life, as if entering a piece of nothingness, but there are many stars and planets. Senju Changsheng chased his breath and walked Luffy, so fast that he surpassed the speed of light. The vast aura protects the body and avoids being separated from the body by this speed beyond the limit. Call out. His body shuttled in this endless universe, the aura of the Eternal Avenue became more and more intense, and the dominance realm in his body also loosened at this moment. I can clearly feel that as long as you step on the eternal road, you can achieve eternity, control thousands of worlds, and eternity will last forever. That's. Suddenly, in the vast starry sky, Senju Changsheng saw an avenue of blue stars exuding a strong eternal atmosphere. This piece of emptiness is created by this eternal aura. A avenue creates a world, isolated from thousands of worlds. No, it's not one eternal road, it's two. But these two eternal avenues have merged into one. Senju Changsheng was stunned. In the silent starry sky, holy sounds of the avenue began to appear. He seemed to see the Taoist of Shanfeng Dao Bone holding an immortal sword with his back facing all sentient beings. The big Buddha sits cross-legged and recites the sound of the Buddha, universally speaking. The God King stands tall in the starry sky, blasting the universe with one punch. The demon swallows all things, and with a single blow, it will be charcoal. The blood demon slept for a long time, and there was a demonic air in his breath, and the group of demons danced wildly. On the eternal road, all immortals, Buddhas, gods, demons can set foot on it. A avenue can become a fairy and a devil. But when Senju Changsheng approached this avenue, various messages about the eternal avenue began to sound in his mind. An eternal avenue, only one person is allowed to walk. There is only one eternal person in the world. I understand. I finally understand. Senju murmured, his eyes a little lost. He finally knew why Tsunade would be the loser of Eternal Avenue. It's not that his sign in ability can't help Tsunade achieve eternity, but that there is only one way to eternity. Tsunade gave up his eternity and fulfilled Senju's longevity. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 226 Dream Dao Longevity. Senju Changsheng's complexion suddenly became a little hard to look. If he achieves eternity, even if he finds Tsunade, what's the use? Tsunade also wants to be the loser on the eternal road, even in the second life. Seeing the two eternal roads merged into one, Senju felt even more uncomfortable in his heart. Where do the two eternal avenues come from? Naturally, one comes from the world of Senju Changsheng, and the other comes from the world of Uchiha's dream. The original Tsunade too, Uchiha dream. She is in 1,000 different worlds, with inheritance and memory, she can embark on the eternal road and achieve eternity. Then break the plane again and come to reunite with Senju forever. But because of the rift in the thousands of worlds, the two parallel worlds are connected. The two eternal avenues merged together and became one. This fuck is really bad. Tsunade was finally reborn in a parallel world, and had the opportunity to achieve eternity, but it was gone. For a while, Senju Changsheng felt a little mad at the same time, but also became extremely irritable. Dao Xin, which has not been shaken for countless years, started to shake at this moment. The two eternal roads are unified to achieve the strongest eternal achievement. Is this good or bad? At this moment, a clear and sweet female voice came from the other side of Eternal Avenue. Senju Changsheng suddenly raised his head, his eyes locked on the other side of the avenue instantly. Uchiha Dreams also stood in the starry sky, with long dark hair without wind, and her graceful figure in the snow-white palace dress, as if it was about to explode in the next moment. She has a cold face, and her eyes are as clear as water, like a cold and frosty fairy, walking out of the scroll, with an elegant and beautiful posture. The two stared across the Eternal Avenue, with complicated expressions in their eyes. Senju Changsheng didn't ask if it was Uchiha Dream or Tsunade, because he had already sensed it in his eyes. She is Tsunade, not Tsunade. To be precise, she is Uchiha Dream. I know what you are thinking, I am Uchiha Dream, Tsunade's will can't affect me. Uchiha Dream said in a cold voice. In fact, Tsunade's will has always affected her, and now she is just stiff-mouthed. Of course, the will of Uchiha's Dream is still dominant, but it is sometimes affected. Senju Changsheng's eyes are a little lonely. Did Tsunade just leave? He felt a colic in his heart, and Dao Xin began to shake violently, as if he had lost the most precious thing. Once Tsunade was still there, he didn't face up to his feelings, but now he regrets losing it. Senju Changsheng really wants to slap himself. The two sides fell into a brief silence, just staring at each other like this. A lot of thoughts flashed in their hearts. Sorry, since you are not my Tsunade, Eternal Avenue, let me set foot on it. Suddenly, Senju seemed to let go of everything, his eyes sharp. The strongest Eternal Avenue. Maybe, there is still a chance. His faith became more and more firm. Tsunade hasn't completely disappeared. From Uchiha Mang's eyes, it can be seen that her emotions are rippling with something. As long as the achievement is eternal, there may be a way to resurrect Tsunade. Boom. Senju Changsheng stopped narrating too much, and stepped forward in one step, stepping on the Eternal Avenue, with holy voices lingering in his ears. The eternal aura fills the whole body, dominating the cultivation base level by level, straight into the eternal realm in the legend. All kinds of avenues such as immortals, demons, gods, demons, and Buddhas spread before his eyes. Just choose an avenue to achieve eternity. HMPH, sorry, I can't let the road of eternity. Uchiha Meng snorted coldly, and his jade feet stepped on the avenue as well. Suddenly, a repulsive force spread from between the two. Only one person can set foot on the Eternal Avenue. Boom. Senju Changsheng and Uchiha Meng were shocked to fly onto a pure white avenue at the same time, with no end in sight or starting point. Only the murderous air turned into the wind to pass by. This is the field for the contenders of Eternal Avenue to kill each other. Only one person can be eternal. This pure white road is the land of killing, and it will only be stained red with blood in the future. Perhaps eternity has not yet been born in the world, so this road is still pure white, or it may be due to other reasons. But the blood of Senju Changsheng and Uchiha Yumi will be the first drop of blood to be dyed here. Boom. In an instant, both of them burst out at the same time, the cultivation base that dominates Zochin. The ground of the Eternal Avenue is very solid. Even if they burst out with power that could shatter the planet, they could not shake the avenue half a minute. The chaotic world turned into a cosmic starry sky, blooming out of Senju's longevity body, turning into a vision and crushing away. Uchiha Mongyu's foot stepped on gravity, and a willow tree vision appeared behind him. The breeze swept through, and the willow branches swept across and drawn sharp sword air. Swish. Thousands of Zhong Janshi swept across, and together with the chaotic vision, burst into a splendid starry sky. One by one formed in the avenue, and the slight flicker seemed to respond to the battle. Senju Longevity summons chaotic green lotus, petals, lotus leaves, lotus seeds, etc. all merge together to form a green lotus sword. The white mist of chaos wafted over the sword, as if it had the power to open up the world and create everything in the world. Chaos Qinglian. In order to deal with you, I also looked for the Chaos Supreme Treasure. Uchiha dreamed of an unconvinced snort, and a white jade-like disc flew out of her palm, with a Tai Chi yin-yang figure spinning in the air in the center of the disc. The chaotic atmosphere permeated the audience, and the huge shadow of Tai Chi formed an absolute defense. Good luck, Jade Dish. Two great chaos treasures were sacrificed at the same time, colliding in the void, exploding a strong spatial shock. The roar is deafening, the law ripples out, and the air of chaos is intertwined to form a picture of Hongmeng. There are mountains and long rivers, forests and plains, and herds of animals. When the chaotic fairy sword pierced on the jade disc of good fortune, rippling with a harsh and sharp sound. In this silent starry sky, only the two fighting voices constantly echoed. Bang, bang, bang. The two approached each other in an instant, using all the means, and the blood stains on their bodies gradually increased. The golden flames burned on the avenue, drawing several brilliant lines of fire, and the place shining on was like the avenue of stars. The fierce sword aura swept through, the power of thunder turned into a thunder dragon roar, and the void was shattered and filled in an instant. The two men fist bombarded with muffled noise and shock, and the vision fell and broke up the chaotic avenue, and then regrouped and formed. The collision of the treasures of chaos created a scene of mountains and rivers, and the sun and the moon reversed. I won't lose, don't want to affect me. Uchiha's dreamy voice sounded. An unyielding color appeared on her delicate face, and she formed golden phoenix wings behind her back. Just now, Tsunade's will in the body began to hinder her again, persuading her to give up. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 227 Eternity, Second Life, Remodeling End. Uchiha Dream is Tsunade, and Tsunade is Uchiha Dream. But because of the different experiences of the two, they unintentionally merged together. Both parties do not agree with each other's ideas. Uchiha's dream is more extreme and irritable, which is more in line with the Tsunade in the original book. Tsunade, who was trained by Senju Changsheng, knows how to restrain his irritability and looks gentle and virtuous. Although he is still a violent maniac inside, he is more sensible than Tsunade in the original book. The different concepts of the two have caused the two to fail to blend together so far. The reason why Uchiha Dream is obsessed with achieving eternity is not for endless life, but only to obliterate the existence of Tsunade. She just wants to be herself and doesn't want to be influenced by anyone. The golden phoenix phantom flying out from Uchiha Meng, a hugely tall golden phoenix, rushed towards Senju Changsheng. Senju Changsheng snorted coldly, and the golden curse turned into a sphere. If you observe carefully, you will find that these spheres are actually composed of galaxies. He kept compressing, and recompressing the gas meteor formed by the golden light curse. In the end, the galaxies are rotating outside the body, and the galaxies are arranged in one piece, and they are combined into a star field and smashed out. Boom, boom, boom. Jin Feng spread out its huge wings and was pierced by the impact of the star field, and was gradually overwhelmed by the star field in the tearing cry. Uchiha Meng's face changed when he played with Senju Changsheng, and he hurriedly resisted with Truth-Seeking Ball. However, at this level of battle, how could Truth-Seeking Ball be able to block the bombardment of the star field? Uchiha Dream has exhausted all the means, and the Good Fortune Jade Disc is again resisting the attack of the Chaos Sword. Her means have all been restricted by Senju's longevity. The only thing that can be turned into defense is the Truth-Seeking Ball. Boom. The star field instantly penetrated the shield of the Truth-Seeking Ball, and fell like a meteor shower, marking a Martian rainbow. Boom 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 boom. Star territory hit Uchiha Meng's body, many wounds opened and blood was splashed. Senju Changsheng seized the opportunity, and the whole body's blood and spiritual energy resonated with the sound of the road. With a punch, the power is enough to shake the world and form a phantom of the great emperor, like a blow from the gods, shaking the starry sky every inch. Even the eternal avenue exploded in an instant, and the white eternal fragments were intertwined and reorganized in the starry sky. Boom. Uchiha Dream suffered an unparalleled attack, and his body was thrown out of the eternal avenue uncontrollably. No, she was unwilling, and was about to use her means to fly back to the eternal avenue, but at this moment, Tsunade's voice and will reappeared in his mind, although it only affected an instant. But at this moment, it was enough for her to completely fly out of the avenue. The battle for the eternal avenue, Uchiha's dream ended in failure. As the Uchiha Dream flew out, the eternal avenue suddenly radiated brilliantly, emitting brilliant golden light, and merged with this pure white avenue. A strong eternal breath surged into Senju Changsheng's body, and an indescribable force radiated from his body. It is as if thousands of worlds are constantly being born, as if chaos is beginning to open. Dominate the world and live forever. The eternal origin and meaning, transformed into regular runes, floats in and out of Senju's body. Unconsciously, he was already sitting cross-legged on the eternal avenue, and the holy voice resonated inside and outside the body. Thousands of worlds seemed to respond to his birth, and the ceiling of the realm was shaking violently. Boom. Accompanied by a violent roar, it resounded through thousands of worlds. Whether it is Tony in the Marvel world, Monkey King in the Journey to the West, or Sha Zichiushiu in the everyday world and so on. Everyone heard this loud noise, like a holy voice falling in the world. The eternal breath is overwhelming, mortals feel unprecedented comfort and their bodies become healthier. The immortal cultivators collectively break through a realm, feeling the eternal breath of coverage. A group of immortals bowed to the endless void at the same time, thanking the eternal Lord for the gift. Although they didn't know who the other party was, they didn't understand what happened. But a message popped up automatically in my mind, that is eternal birth. Thousands of worlds, the first eternal god, was born. Uchiha Dream stood outside the eternal avenue, despair on his bright face. The endless avenue of eternity is quickly integrating into Senju's longevity, casting the strongest eternity in history. Those are two eternal roads. Even if eternity is born in other parallel worlds in the future, it will be nothing more than an eternal path. It can be said that the moment when Senju eternal life becomes eternal, it is the strongest eternal, and no one can surpass it. White light erupted from his body, and thousands of worlds fell into his hands, like an endless wide chessboard, for him to use at will. As long as Senju wants to live forever, thousands of worlds can be destroyed in an instant. The law of Tao fell into his mind, and Senju was caught in an epiphany for a while. In a single thought, I transcended time and space, crossed parallel planes, and shuttled through the various worlds. Tao begets one, one life two, two begets three begets everything. The two eternal avenues are not the strongest eternal. Only when the three eternal avenues are integrated can everything be born. An eternal avenue can have an endless lifespan. The two eternal avenues can arbitrarily tamper with time and space. Three eternal roads can create everything in the world. I don't know how long it took. Senju Changsheng opened his eyes suddenly, and the time and space in front of him flowed back in an instant. He not only wants to achieve the strongest eternity, but also allows this world to give birth to an infinite eternal road, so that more people can embark on this road. Among them, his disciples are also included. Since there is only one eternal avenue in the world, let him create the eternal avenue. Boom. As if a flash of lightning flashed across the starry sky, time and space flowed back in an instant. The picture in front of Senju Changsheng's eyes was like a tile falling off, and then a new pattern was put together again. With the cultivation base of two eternal avenues, he goes against the current time and space. Hokage world, Senju family. Senju Changsheng looked at his own hands, which were a pair of baby palms. When he crossed over, it was the day Konoha was founded when Senju was 30 years old. Now he is going against time and space and restarting his second life, but he has come to the moment he was just born. Are you going to walk the entire life again? Maybe this is the complete road. Senju Changsheng said inwardly. Time flies. The Senju family and the Uchiha family fought endlessly. Eventually, under the influence of Hashirama and Madara, Konoha Village was founded. Madara, what do you think should be a name for the village? Outside a simple village, Senju Hashirama in armor asked Uchiha Madara. Konoha, Madara said with a grim face. As long as there is a place where leaves fly, there will be a fire. The shadow of the fire shines on the village, and new leaves take root and sprout. Konoha, what a good name. Hashirama smiled and nodded, eyes full of expectation. Senju Changsheng stood quietly behind the two of them without saying a word. The activation sound of the sign in system rang in my mind. For 30 years, he was invisible, without being noticed by anyone, just like a transparent person. This is the influence of Eternal Avenue, invisible. In this life, he has never communicated with anyone, and he is only looking at everything in the ninja world from the perspective of a god observing the world. But when a tragedy happened, he would also help. Senju Changsheng directly obliterated the existence of Black Zetsu with the aura of the avenue, and destroyed the stone steel of the Uchiha family that recorded the lies of infinite Tsukuyomi. Therefore, the Battle of End Valley did not break out. But the strong Konoha still met the jealousy of other villages. 10 years after Konoha was founded, the first ninja war broke out. Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara swept the ninja world and beat other ninja villages to mourn bitterly. On the day of the signing of the peace agreement, Goldenhorn and Silverhorn made another move, but they were strongly suppressed by Hashirama and Madara. Seeing this scene, Senju couldn't help but shook his head and smiled bitterly. Human desires are often feared by war. Go ahead to dangers. Even if they knew Konoha's strength, they still wanted to get a piece of the pie from here. Konoha Sanin was also born this year. To Senju Changsheng's surprise, Tsunade is no longer blonde, but black hair, inheriting his grandpa's hair color. The Konoha calendar is 30 years old. The Second Ninja World War came again, and Konoha Sanin was famous in the ninja world. The future fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato was born. Senju Changsheng was guarding Konoha, without any intention to act, and no one even noticed his existence. He seemed to be in a different dimensional space, watching the movements of the shinobi world, yet he was able to intervene in everything. Konoha calendar for 40 years. Soon after the Second Ninja World War ended, the Third Ninja World War broke out. Namikaze Minato took Kakashi and other disciples to fight in the battlefield. In the Battle of Shenwu-kun, Senju, who had been hiding in Konoha, helped once again. Turned over at will, annihilated all the enemies in ambush. Obito and others all escaped from the hunting area, and Nohara Lin also returned safely to Konoha. Konoha calendar for 50 years. Senju Changsheng signed in and won the 10,000 Worlds chat group. The familiar group of partners still speak the same way. The only difference is that Senju's mentality has become completely different. There is peace in Konoha, and Naruto was born successfully. Without Black Zetsu, the black hand behind the scenes contributed to the flames, and many messy things did not happen. Senju Changsheng also officially opened the journey of thousands of worlds. He went to the Marvel world and took away 6 infinite gems with eternal power. In the world of pirates, the Thunderbolt was too fast to conceal the ears and brought Ace, who was on top of the war, directly to the side of Whitebeard, bewildering everyone present. He went to the Ghoul world again, reshaping the world there with eternal force. He also went to the world of Acids, shuffled the empire with great strength, and cut off all corrupt officials. Constructed a brand new empire, brainwashed the seeds into a chess piece, specifically to execute all kinds of corrupt officials and corruption. When it was Kira's turn, Senju Jangseng tampered with Kira's habit with the power of infinite gems, and persuaded him not to return to his own world. Only then did Senju Changsheng realize it. It turns out that after the collision in the Marvel world, the exchange with Kira Jing in the 10,000 Worlds chat group was not the second Senju longevity. It's the second life of Senju Changsheng, who is now. Uchiha Dream is the second life, and I am also the second life, doesn't it mean? Senju, sitting on the street of Konoha Village, was taken aback, if he was right. Uchiha Dream should also be in this world. Hey, who are you and why can't they see you? At this moment, a clear and sweet voice came from the side. Senju Changsheng was taken aback for a moment, then turned to look at the opponent. I saw a little blonde loli, looking at him curiously. Senju has an eternal aura permeating longevity. He has been a transparent person in ninja for so many years, but now he was discovered by a little girl. It's ridiculous. Because they ignored me. Senju Changsheng smiled and said, by the way, what's your name? The blonde loli tilted her head and blinked her eyes. After confirming that the person in front of him is not a bad person, his voice clearly said, my name is Uchiha Dream. Hearing this, Senju couldn't help but smile. Are you going to be my disciple? You will become a very powerful fairy in the future. His words seemed to be tricking little Loli's strange stuff, but the other party actually took this set. Okay. Uchiha Mengjiao agreed. At the moment Uchiha Dreams promised, time seemed to be pressed down the accelerator button. Everything seemed to be in the middle of a fast play, and sections of memories poured into Senju Changsheng's mind, no different from personal experience. He knew that in his second life, he finally found the key point. That is Uchiha Dream. In his memory, he took Uchiha and wandered through the world. He saved the future Pope Bibi Dong, released the monkey grandson under the Five Elements Mountain, and helped Kakarot defeat Black Goku. In the end, he and Uchiha dreamed of them, stepped into the void of 10,000 realms, and came to the Eternal Avenue. Suddenly, Senju Changsheng opened his eyes. I found myself sitting cross-legged on the Eternal Avenue, as if everything had never happened. He couldn't tell what happened just now, whether it was a dream or really past the second life. It seems that I have spent 2 lives in a single thought. In a single thought, eternity is achieved. 3 eternal avenues. Senju Changsheng looked at himself inwardly, and found that 3 eternal roads appeared in his body, which have now become 1. 3 births. The 10,000 here does not mean 10,000, but infinite. Things here do not refer to simple objects, but anything that exists in the world. It can be a dead thing or a living thing. Senju can create anything within a single thought of eternal life, including the Eternal Avenue. The 3 eternal avenues cast the strongest avenue, and countless eternal avenues have also evolved. Wow. With a wave of his hand, countless eternal avenues spread out in the void of the 10,000 realms, and the bright golden light covered the stars. The dark void turned dark blue, and the light of the stars was shining. The white avenues of stars spread out in the vast starry sky, forming a beautiful picture. Senju Changsheng waved his arm again. Thousands of worlds are interconnected to form eternal channels. Between the world, as long as you have permission, you can travel freely. The members of the 10,000 Worlds chat group have become the owners of thousands of world channels, and they control the opening and closing of the channels. Commonly known as Wanji Administrator. Senju Changsheng stood up, and there was a beautiful figure floating in the air outside the avenue, with his back facing him. A long golden hair was scattered around his waist, the snow-white dress swayed without wind, and the eternal breath radiated from his body. The woman looked back and smiled, her face full of beauty, like a peony blossom, stunning the world. For containing golden willow, for Fanglanji, for Yuxianti. Those beautiful eyes that fascinated the heart, blinked at Senju Changsheng, the crisp voice was like a natural sound. Master, are you going to be my enemy? Hearing this, Senju Changsheng lowered his head and smiled, slowly drifting to the woman, holding it into her arms. The fragrance is tangy, and the beauty is in her arms, as if there is no bones. Senju Changsheng closed his eyes and lightly kissed the woman's red lips. This moment is eternity. After a long time, the two of them split their lips. Senju Changsheng looked down at the beauty in his arms and said softly, welcome back, my Tsunade sauce. Hey, I am called Uchiha Meng in this life, you want to call me Meng Meng? The woman smiled. Yes, the allure woman in front of her is the Uchiha dream that has awakened Tsunade's will. No, I still like to call you Tsunade sauce. Senju Changsheng smiled and hugged the other person into his arms again, loving him.